What's going on, Internet? The Black Okage here, aka TBH. And to be honest, I'd like to welcome you all back to the Gaming Illuminati podcast. We are the Enlightened Gamers, and you're now tuned in to episode 161. Now, if you're watching the video version of the show at youtube.com/GIupdates, know this show is available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and all other major podcast platforms. Just be sure to rate the show 5 stars on Apple and Spotify because we need that 5-star rating to move up the charts and bring in new listeners. Also, follow the podcast on social media. We drop daily content. We're available on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and our handle on every platform is at GI Updates. And if you want to join the Discord, our Discord is discord.gg/GI Updates. We've been playing with a lot of viewers on that Marvel Rivals, which we'll be talking about later. Links to all our social media platforms will be in the description box below if you're watching the YouTube version at youtube.com/GI Updates. Now, allow me to introduce you to my co-host. The first of, I cannot talk today because I am tired. The first of which is upset because his parlay and the Detroit Lions didn't hit today. Ethos, say what up to the people.
What's up, everybody? I just want to give a shout out to the Bills. Shout out to them. They beat us. I'm not mad at it because they're a great team and a great franchise, and we both understand each other. So shout out to them. It was a well-earned victory. It was a great game. It was a great watch. Super Bowl preview.
Hey, at least you guys still got the Pistons, right?
No.
And the Red Wings.
We have the no.
Y'all got the Tigers. Y'all got the Tigers.
If you're lucky, you can get the Malice in the Palace part 2.
I hope we do.
And my second co-host tends to get lost walking her own path, but we're glad she could find some time today to join us to talk about Path of Exile 2. This 5,000 watts. Say what up to the people.
Hello, very happy to be here. I took a break today. It was my first day off since the game came out, so you know, I'm here to take a little bit of a break.
And last, but certainly not least, is the man that likes to crack jokes that I only watch Marvel movies, but I think it's time we put him on trial because, to be honest, I've only really seen you play Marvel games recently. I mean, Marvel Rivals, Marvel Snap. I mean, have you beaten anything else, JG?
Excuse me?
That's all I see you play. Oh, Marvel Snap is having a crossover with Marvel Rivals. Oh, sweet. I'm pushing a new agenda.
So I'm taking over your role, huh? I'm taking over your role.
You're the new Marvel guy.
All right. Anyways, welcome. This is probably the happiest I've been in a very long time. We're definitely going to talk about it, but as a gamer, man, we are eating, man. It's about to be lovely, but we have a lot to talk about, and let's get to it.
All right, opening conversation. We are talking about some Path of Exile 2. It's a new dungeon crawler that just recently entered early access, and from my understanding, once it leaves early access, whenever that is, it'll be free to everybody else, but it is paid early access. Am I correct on that, Watts?
Correct.
Yes, ma'am. You
$30
were that. $30. You were the expert here because you were the only one that actually got to play this one. And I'm not gonna lie, from the eye test, I've been watching people. It's actually been very big on Twitch. I think it was the biggest game, even past Marvel Rivals. A lot of people were excited about it. I'm not gonna lie, this one kind of flew under my radar. And from the eye test, I really can't tell what's the difference between this and Diablo. So I think you said before we started recording, you had like over 9,000 hours. Break it down for us. What's special about Path of Exile 2?
Yeah, so it was actually, I think it was at 1.2 million viewers on Twitch at the peak, which is pretty crazy. And that's just Twitch, not YouTube and anything else. But the difference between Path of Exile 2, obviously there is a Path of Exile 1. That game is from like freaking a decade ago. But this one, when you're playing it, when you're going through the campaign, it's going to feel, and a lot of people made fun of reviewers for this, it's going to feel like an ARPG and a little Soulsy. A little Soulsy, which Diablo doesn't at all. Diablo very much feels like an ARPG, like the whole way. So what I mean by that is like everyone has a dodge roll now, so you are dodge rolling in combat. It's very important to do that. You have to be a little bit more methodical about what you're doing when you're doing it, how you go against bosses. It's also pretty difficult for a lot of people when you're going through the campaign. And I think that's where a lot of the difference comes in terms of just like the moment-to-moment gameplay. But the thing with Path of Exile that people always see is the skill tree, because it's kind of a skill forest. And anytime you open it, people are like, oh my God, what is that? Because it's just like a whole screen of different paths going all over the place to different skills and different stats and stuff like that. So that the build variety and what you can do is definitely much, much deeper than Diablo. And I gotta say, I think the boss fights are significantly better than Diablo. I generally tend to fall off of ARPGs pretty quickly just because I get a little bit tired of the combat when you're just, pressing one button and deleting the entire screen. You don't have to really be that engaged with the game to play it after you got the build, of course. But this one, yeah, it's keeping my attention. I've got 60 hours at the moment, which is on the lesser side according to Twitch chat. But yeah, 60 hours. I'm really enjoying it. I'm playing a Poison Ranger, and currently there's only 6 classes in the game with 2 advanced classes per class. But when it goes into full release, there's going to be 3 advanced classes per class and 6 more classes. So there's going to be a lot of stuff. And already there's a ton of content in the game. The devs ended up stopping creating the rest of the campaign. Because right now there's campaign act 1 through 3. And then you redo 1 through 3 on a harder difficulty. And then you do endgame. When the game's out, it's going to be acts 1 through 6. And then you do endgame. But they stopped working on acts 4, 5, and 6 to really focus on the endgame so that people can experience the endgame in early access and start giving feedback on that.
I'm a little bit curious to hear you speak more on the difficulty part. You said that it was harder.
Yeah.
In what specific way do you feel like it makes it harder than Diablo?
The bosses are very much so you have to pay attention to what they're doing. In Diablo, I think there was maybe one boss where I felt like I had to pay attention to what they're doing. There's a boss fight at the beginning of Act 1, which is kind of where a lot of people ended up getting stuck. And they have a section where they freeze most of the arena except a really small part. And during that section, you've got little wolves coming and attacking you. And every now and then the boss will come and drive through. And you're kind of managing staying in this area so you don't get frozen. You're managing all of the little wolves coming at you. You're managing the big wolf. And then it's going to another phase of the fight. So phases in fights, there's probably 4 or 5 different phases that the fight goes through. Not that there's 5 health bars, but it's a bunch of things that you're managing. And it kind of keeps adding on top of that. So you might start with the boss is calling down something from the sky. And then he'll start doing an AoE attack. But then the next stage, he'll start doing both of those. And then he'll keep adding and adding and adding, and they'll start doing more and more stuff. So it feels really intense. The intensity just keeps building. And you do get that satisfaction kind of, playing a Souls-like game where when you defeat the boss, you're like, man, I had to handle a lot of stuff to come away actually defeating that guy.
The dopamine hit. You said every character has a dodge roll. Do the dodge rolls have iframes on them?
They don't have iframes. No, it's more so helping you get out of the way of an attack before it hits. And another thing is that in PoE 2, the audio design is really good. You can just listen to the audio tells of the fight and you'll know when to dodge based on what the audio is doing.
What about the optimization? How's the game running for you in early access?
It's running great. Yeah. I know some people are having crashing issues mostly with DX12. But it's running super smooth. I haven't had any frame drops, no issues. It's been really, really smooth for me.
So I think the real question here is, we see you already have a lot of hours, although according to the community, that's a lot, 60 hours.
60 it came out last Friday.
When Monster Hunter comes out, do you see yourself still playing this?
I'm not gonna play anything when Monster Hunter's out, except Monster Hunter.
Okay.
I'm not gonna play anything. There's a game that got its announce date at the Game Awards, which we'll talk about, and that one's up in the air of when I'm gonna play it, and that's what I'm really, really, really excited about. I do want to keep playing the game because, there are some other classes that are not out yet that I'm interested in, so I can't even try them yet because they're not here. And I want to try the different ascendancies for the class that I'm playing and see how that plays. So I definitely want to keep playing it. It's just when Monster Hunter is out, I'm only playing Monster Hunter for a while.
So at $30, do you feel comfortable? People would you recommend it to people at this point in time, or would you say wait till the full release?
100% for $30. So it's the way that they do it is $30 is the least amount that you can pay, and then there's more and more ones that give you more things. But if you spend $30 to get access to the game, they also give you $30 of MTX money And the way that, if people don't understand how Path of Exile does their monetization, you pretty much are just buying like stash tabs, so inventory management based things, so you have more space for your loot and stuff. That's pretty much the only thing that you're paying for. There's no pay to win. There's some skins and there'll be like a pet or something, but that is it. So you pay $30, you get access to the game, and you get $30 worth of the MTX. So it's a super good deal. I already have 60 hours. I'm not even at the end of doing the campaign runs yet. I haven't even made it to endgame. So I would say that even if you don't delve super deep into the game, you could easily get like 150, maybe 200 hours before the game comes out.
That sounds good for the people always complaining about the length of a game.
It's worth the price for sure.
Time on that one. I have a couple more questions, and you kind of touched on the whole $30 versus free stuff. Do the developers, after the game comes out for all the brokies, are they going to introduce more things for the people that actually pay for the game on top of what you're already going to get, or do you know?
It'll go free to play, and then you can play for free. You'll probably want to spend some money at some point to get the stash tabs, because in the end game it does get more important. For the people who have already paid, obviously you get the game when it comes out. But there's nothing, I don't think there's anything extra if you're like the $30 tier. If you're one of the higher tiers, like they even have like t-shirts and hoodies that they send to people, like physical stuff. So the $30 one, I don't think you're getting anything extra as of right now.
Okay, and then this skill forest again. Anybody looking at this, it's very overwhelming. But how do you even know which path to go? Because it's already hard at Diablo. But how do you even start to navigate this skill forest?
So the forest is actually, it looks crazy, but when you're in there, it's not that bad. So the forest is for every single class. Every class uses that same forest. So there's going to be 12 eventually using that same thing. So you're not going to get all of it. And then every class starts in kind of a quadrant of the forest, and it will have things related to that class. So for example, if you're playing a ranger, it might have like evasion or bow skills and stuff like that. And that will be in your quadrant. So you're not going to need like hammer skills. I mean, you could go all the way to hammer skills because any class can use any weapon. It's just about what stats you're running.
That's cool. Okay. All right.
Yeah, you can do everything. That's why the build diversity is what gets people really excited, because you can choose to use anything. You can use any of the other classes' abilities, skills, perks, weapons. You can use all of it. Armor, all of it. Just depends how you build your character out. But in Path of Exile 2, there is a search bar. So for example, I'm doing a poison ranger. I just type in poison, and then I just go towards the poison. And like, now I'm okay, I feel like my mana is a bit of a problem. I type in mana and I go pick up some mana stuff, or I'm dying a lot. I'll type in like evasion. So it makes it really easy. You just have to know what keywords your build is using, whether it's a mace, a hammer, armor, health, whatever it is. If you know the keywords, you can just type those in and follow it. And every skill that you have will have those keywords. It'll have like the damage type, whether it's an AoE, whether it's a persistent buff, it'll have all of that information in there. So as long as you take a look at that, you'll be fine.
All right.
Not that complicated.
All the gameplay I've been pulling up, it's been one person on the screen. Is this game co-op?
It is, yep.
And
it is co-op.
Have you been enjoying it co-op more?
It's also
or solo?
crossplay.
Oh, she's good.
Yeah, crossplay. It's on all the consoles, which shout out to that, because early access, like console players normally never get to have early access to anything, but on Xbox and PlayStation, you can get early access. I haven't done co-op yet. I think I'm jumping into co-op tomorrow, actually. But the way that they do co-op is it's harder and you get better loot if you're playing with people, and it scales up to that.
Okay.
But I've enjoyed it solo a lot so far. I've been having a lot of fun. It's really good.
Ethos, why you ain't play this game?
I got too many games I'm playing. I don't got time to play this. I'm sorry.
What you playing right now?
It's a big game.
You know what I'm playing right now. The next game you're about to talk about.
You said too many games. That's one.
Yeah. Metaphor. I bought that game. Helldivers.
Wait. You bought Metaphor?
He went back to Helldivers.
I went back to Helldivers. They just dropped the update.
So how you enjoying it?
Drop an update.
What, for Helldivers 2?
No, Metaphor.
For Metaphor? Bro, I'm still in the prologue. I've barely touched it. I
Just
barely
keep getting
touched
exposed.
it.
Keep getting
I'm
exposed.
still trying to beat Wukong. I'm still trying to get done with that game for the.
Oh damn, you beat Wukong.
I literally
Wait,
got.
where are you at in
You got a
Wukong?
little bit of a backlog.
I got like 6 hours in a Wukong, so I don't know how far that is.
6 hours.
If
I got
it
6
Lord.
hours.
if it makes
Lord
you
have
feel
mercy.
better, I told my girl the other day, I was like, because I did a video on stream of all the games I'm excited for coming in 2025. And there were 40 games that I was interested in. And of those 40 games, like 15 of them were in the A or the S tier, which are games I definitely want to play. And the other ones are kind of like if I have the time. And then the Game Awards happened like 2 or 3 days after I did that list. And we're going to talk about that later. The Game Awards announced like 8 games that I saw I wanted to play. So I told my girl the other day, I was like, yo, I'm not going to lie, 2025, you're losing me. And I was like, and I said, on top of that, I said, I might have to become a fraud gamer. I might have to be a taste tester, a little bit here, a little bit. I was like, I don't know how many of these games I can beat. I'm getting too old. I was like, I don't know, man.
I'm playing that. I went back to Total Warhammer because they just dropped DLC for that. I'm playing Indiana Jones. I'm playing Frostpunk 2. I was replaying Fallout New Vegas earlier this year. Bro, I can't do this.
I didn't even put that on before we even get into
I still haven't
Marvel.
played Life is Strange. I haven't even got to 16 yet.
What's the word on Indiana Jones? I didn't even know. I forgot you was playing that.
I've heard it's really good.
Bro, I was just
played
playing
a
it
little
before
bit,
the podcast. I just got
Damn, JG playing too. Y'all should have said something. I want to put that on the notes. Give me the 441. Both of y'all.
I'm mad Microsoft didn't market this game well. It genuinely is like when people were like shocked when I put the nominations up for the GI Awards, people were like, "Why is Indiana Jones there?" I'm like, "Y'all need to play this game. It's really good." Like, people when Harrison Ford he walked out there and was like, "Bro, killed it." No, that game literally feels like it's like if it was a legit movie and it was inserted in between, I guess whatever their franchise is. I guess people told me it was between 1 and 2. It fits like perfectly. Like. I watched like 2 Indiana Jones. I'm not like a huge Indiana Jones fan, so like, but I do like Tomb Raider. So like to see like kind of the god, the grandfather, the one that created that inspired Uncharted,
the OG,
inspired the OG, yeah. To see him being turned into a video game, and the game is just graphics good. Optimized like crazy, good optimization, doesn't drop 60 FPS. It's made by the same guys who did Wolfenstein. You get to beat the crap out of Nazis and fascists. It's fire. Like it's got Mussolini in it. You can whip people's guns out of their hands and weapons. The melee's satisfying. It's got this like meme where like if you uppercut them, it has the whole the music
makes a sound.
Yeah, over time. And then when you knock them out, the animations are all like over the top. When they like it feels like what I've seen in the movies, like the old, like it feels like an 80s movie. It feels like a really like ode to like the OG like Indiana Jones movies.
I would wonder, so I've heard people say that, so even people who are just watching it, they're like, this is my favorite Indiana Jones story that I've seen. Would you agree with that? Because they're like, I'm watching it like it's a movie. It's not my kind of game, but I'm loving it. Watching it.
It's not my type of game. I've never been a huge fan of like Uncharted, for example. I'm not really that much into like very cinematic type movies. Like this definitely is like a more like you could tell like it takes some inspiration from like Cyberpunk's philosophy of like do the first person and like really immerse you and make you feel like you're Indiana Jones, but at the same time it still does these like the cutscenes are still in third person. The way it handles like the cutscenes feels like a movie. And then there's even moments in the gameplay where like you'll go into third person for like platforming and stuff like that. So like you never feel like you're trying to like reach a ledge, and you know how in first person sometimes it's hard to guess a jump. Like usually that's not really it's not really a problem. It's fun. It's like it's everything we always talk about, where it's like I want a game that has a good amount of time on it, but I don't want to put too much. I can't play a 60-hour game. Like after Veilguard beating that, I'm just like I can't do another one of those for like a couple months now. And like this game's like it feels like how we felt about like Tomb Raider, the last 2 Tomb Raiders, where it was just like this isn't open world. It's kind of like there's this open level, and it's kind of Dishonored-y because it has co-op. I mean, it has stealth mechanics in it, so you can sneak around. But then it's also Hitman, so like you can steal people's disguises and sneak into certain places if you have their disguise on. But Indiana still got the revolver on him, so you can still like just just shoot at people. You can knock people out. It has like some immersive sim elements where like you can throw weapons and stuff at people and knock them out in their head, or make them or kick them off or push them off a ledge, and they end up falling to something else that kills somebody else. Like it's like shocking where I'm just like. At one point, I'm just like, I'm shocked this game is as good as it is because before this game came out, I thought a lot of people complaining about this game, and people try to gaslight me into thinking that people don't dislike first-person games, and then lo and behold, that was like the number one complaint when it got announced was, why isn't it in third person? But to see it come out and get like high 8s and even 9s, like I see it. Like I'm only like 2-3 levels into the game, and even I'm just like the quality of it, the optimization of it, the story actually is engaging. Like I feel like I'm engaged with it every second. I was playing it before the podcast. Like, yeah, I can see if someone gives it an analysis as their favorite game of the year, I could see why.
I've heard
Just
that
like,
a lot too.
So
That it's people's favorite game of the year.
yeah, if you're an Uncharted fan, or specifically, I feel like it's a little bit, I wouldn't say easy. It's a little bit like simplified because obviously they were trying to target like movie fans, really.
Right.
If you are a fan of that franchise, I feel like you might end up walking away and be like, yo, this is like incredible. This is like one of my favorite games of all time. So.
I know for me, what turned me off from this game is I'm not a big Indiana Jones fan, first and foremost. Like, that's not my age bracket. But then two, it wasn't the first person. I felt like from the trailers, it looked clunky. So I was going to ask you, like, how did it feel, like the movement? Did it feel clunky or smooth when you played the game?
I mean, JG can tell you, he's played it recently too. I mean, like it feels what you'd expect from a first person, but it doesn't feel like, you know how like Skyrim and Starfield felt, where like they feel kind of not as smooth, if that makes sense.
Yes.
This game feels way more smooth. Like the best way to describe it is like if you've played Wolfenstein 2 or 1, if you played any of the machine games, it feels like that. Like the gunplay feels exactly like a Wolfenstein game. And the melee feels good though. Like it feels very reactive and very chunky. Like when you punch people, like it feels very, you can feel every punch basically. So I didn't really have a problem with like the responsiveness of the game compared to like Bethesda doing that. But those are two different studios, that are working on the different games. So
what about you, Jay? How you feeling about it?
Yeah, Ethos hit a lot of the points. It's a typical Bethesda game. Like the AI can sometimes be a little clunky. It's typical for what you expect. But yeah, pretty much if you play any type of New Age Wolfenstein game, which I love, by the way, then I think that you can get into Indiana Jones. And I'm the exact same way that Ethos and TBH are. Like I don't think I've ever watched an entire Indiana Jones movie. Like that's how much of a fraud I am. So I didn't care about Indiana Jones. But there were people in my chat that were like, oh my God, I love freaking Indiana Jones. This is at Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is the very first movie that came out. So like they were enjoying it. Like it was like they were watching the movie all over again, but it was just in 2024 and you get to actually experience it, as a video game. So I could see people's like overall just I want to play this because I love Indiana Jones and this is my thing and I want to play this as a video game. So I liked everything about it. Like I said, the AI is a little bit clunky, but it's kind of what you expect. That's my only quote unquote criticism on it so far. But like Ito said, like my only nitpick, and they were like, oh, Indiana Jones doesn't choke out people, but I wish I could choke out people and just put them in a corner, but you can't. You gotta grab a weapon and knock them out. So I'm like,
it's
okay,
funny, when you knock them out. Yeah.
It is funny though. Yeah, it is funny. Like you can feel the impact on like everything that you do. So going back to what Ethos said, like punching people out and hitting them with random objects. So it's cool. Like I said, I'm enjoying it. The stealth isn't bad because even if I even when I did get caught, I can at least shoot people. Yeah, I can at least shoot people. So it was cool. I think I got past the first level and I played like a couple hours. But yeah, it's cool and freaking gorgeous. A gorgeous game. So shout out to Bethesda Machine Game for working on this one. I think it is going to be one of those late year sleepers for the people who may have not known, or all the Game Pass people know. Game Pass Bishop, go ahead and download it. Why not? It's free for you, so I would recommend to definitely try it out, even if you're not an Indiana Jones fan.
Also, it is crazy high praise because I had a couple people tell me that basically if Harrison Ford tells you and says like apparently that's like one of his roles he loves, like that's one of the few things
he told them don't fuck this game up.
Yeah, he's like he didn't. I think originally people told me like he wasn't. That's why he didn't do it, because he was just like a video game. He's like they're probably gonna fuck this up. I don't want to put my but they have his rights to use his image, which that's a lot of money to get his rights on in a video game. And to give it off to someone else where he was just like, oh, like if I'm not doing it, then it's probably not gonna be as good. And then to give that type of accolade to Troy Baker and be like, you did so good that even I was like, I should intercept and stop you because you could probably become me. It was like, he
sounds so much like him.
I cannot tell Troy Baker. Like usually I can tell Troy Baker most of the time. Like when I know it. when I play this game, I don't hear Troy Baker. Like, I genuinely think it's Harrison Ford who's doing the acting.
He did a really good job. Yeah.
It was like
They had Alfred Molina in here, bro. Like
Yeah.
I
They
didn't
had
even know.
surprising
Again, that's how much before I didn't watch
Yeah.
Indiana Jones. I didn't know Alfred Molina, Doc Ock was in the movie, the original. I was like, okay, like they had his face in there too.
They have a couple of like Hollywood level. The dude, what's his name? The big black dude who he passed away this year.
It was Candyman. It was Candyman.
Dude played Candyman. Yeah, he's in this. I saw him. I was like, wait a minute. I kept staring because I recognize his face is very recognizable.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my god. I was like, how many like people, like really big people they have in this thing, like facial wise, like the facial animations are really good. When you see the Nazis for the first time, when you see the main villain Nazi guy,
I wonder if it's a cultural thing. Because
It's really good.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, of us three, the thing we have in common is all three of us are black, and we just never seen the shit. When I think about it, I was like, it wasn't. Indiana Jones wasn't really played in my. I don't know anybody in my family that. I'm not saying black people don't like it. I'm just like, I don't know anybody in my family that liked it. Like,
I don't. I think
it might be a cultural
thing. A
thing.
single movie either.
Yeah, I think like a lot of white people love Indiana Jones, or a lot of people who grew up in the 80s, I guess, like 90s, like who are like.
You don't realize how much you live in a bubble until like you're around like different types of people. Because I seen like there's a trend going on right now on TikTok of black people showing white friends the movies that we grew up watching. Like they've never seen Friday or what's the name with Nino Brown. Like there's so many different movies. They're like, what is this for colored girls? So like it might be a cultural thing.
Have you seen the reaction channels who like they're movie based or TV based that they've run out of stuff? So like they've actually go to like they've gotten recommendations from like black fans who are like, you should watch these group of like, so they're watching like Tyler Perry movies that they've never seen in their life, and they're getting like traumatized. And, like black people are showing them like the most traumatized, like you should watch this movie, you should watch this one, and they're just like watching them just literally just like gain the trauma that like us growing up, we like watch these movies and we know what happened. It's very interesting to watch, to see like the culture stuff just like osmosis happen.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
And it is like we watch the white movies too, though, which is crazy thing. Like we watch the white movie, but they didn't watch the black movie.
I
just never. I don't know what it was. Yeah,
I think that definitely is an age thing. It has to be an age thing. Like I think it was just right before our time.
Because I think Siggy watched Indiana Jones, or at least said he liked it. So
I ain't even gonna ask no man probably watched. He ain't
but
Siggy probably watched it.
Dirt Road.
Maybe Nomad. Maybe Flox watched it. That's
maybe Flock.
Yeah. Freaking. I mean, it's free on Game Pass. I told myself maybe if I find a time, I might do like one stream and see if I like it or not. But it's just too much on the play right now.
Bounty. It was a bounty. That's why I gave it a shot.
I didn't get that bounty. I missed that one. I missed the.
I don't think I think I missed that one either.
Yeah, all my bounties are like First Ascended.
It's games you don't want to play.
They still trying to push that damn game.
That anime Counter-Strike.
Yes, I'm like, bro, I'm trying to try it. I'm like, maybe
I would give it a try because it seems funny. But like, I don't want to play it.
The money is always tempting to do those games you're not interested in, and then you realize you always made a mistake when you boot it up. I mean, I don't want to play
you're 15 minutes in and you're sitting there like,
you're looking at the clock. You're like, damn, this is a long hour.
Well, they just start great. I gotta have conversation, bro, because I'm gonna lose my mind if I have to actually like lock in on the
versus.
You spend an hour in the settings and like walking around talking to Chant.
I did a Marvel Rivals bounty the other day. I had the clock going for like 3 hours just because we were gonna play it anyways. I was like, I forgot to turn it off.
I was like, oops, my bad.
Those are the easiest ones though when you're actually interested in it.
Yeah, if you look at my bounties, it's like Lies of P, Sekiro, Ghost of Tsushima.
Games you want to play.
Yeah, when I got Wukong, I was very happy because when I played on stream, I was like, the time went by like stupid fast. I was like, oh, thank God.
That's true.
I was worried I was gonna be like stuck there for a good minute, but yeah,
it is what it is. I mean, since we brought up Marvel Rivals, with the Twitch bounty or whatever, we might as well talk about that now because that's between Indiana Jones and Marvel Rivals, those are the last two major games to come out in 2024. And in case you are not in the know, Marvel Rivals is a new hero shooter from NetEase Games, starring different Marvel heroes. There is a story about basically two Doctor Dooms from different timelines are at war, and it's messing up the timeline, which causes the heroes and the villains of the Marvel universe to compete in some type of tournament of power. New maps in there. It launched with 33 characters, bunch of different abilities, tons of skins, battle pass, different game modes, a lot more content in comparison to the beta. And I know at least us three have been, me, Ethos, and JG have been on it heavy. I don't know if you touched it, Watts?
No, I haven't. I played it in the when it was in beta. But it came out the same day as Path of Exile, and I was a lot more interested in that.
It worked out. No, this worked out.
You know she ain't played no damn Marvel Rivals.
Hey, no, this worked out perfectly. She played the game we didn't play, and then we played this game. It worked out perfectly.
That's why this works.
The art is beautiful. The art of Marvel Rivals is really.
She could take a break after all that yapping about Path. I'm gonna give you the floor on this, Jay. What's the good, bad, and the ugly on Marvel Rivals? Is this an Overwatch ripoff that's gonna die tomorrow?
No, I think Marvel Rivals just it came out like a bat out of hell, honestly. And I know there were some people like Siggy, for example, who kind of was downplaying what the numbers were going to be on Steam alone, and it definitely surpassed what he thought.
He said 20,000. I said, no, you're bugging. Dude.
No way.
Yeah,
10 million in the first weekend.
Yeah, super freaking low. No, once people got, because I remember when we were even playing a beta, so people were like, "Oh my god, I'm so jealous!" Like you got to play it. Like, no, there were people who were legit interested in this game, and it definitely showed once the floodgates came out. So no, I mean it's pretty much just building off of what we said during the beta. Like I love that. I love they have multiple other characters now that you can play, so it's not so just as it was in the beta where everybody's playing the same characters. People have their own styles now. Like we've seen some crazy team ups. I find that people are like actually experimenting with different characters and seeing like what type of characters mesh well with each other. So I feel like that's another meta game in itself. Like picking a character is one thing, but definitely when you find the right characters that can team up with each other, then you can have almost unstoppable squad, if you have some competent players on this game. And I just think it has a different feel from Overwatch, because Overwatch, a lot of people, I remember Ethos, you were talking about this, some people literally forgot about how Overwatch, when that game came out, that game was crack. Like
I seen some revisionist history on that game. People saying it shouldn't have won Game of the Year over Uncharted on Twitter. I'm like, all right, I don't like Overwatch, but cut it out. When Overwatch came out, that shit was popping. Cut it out, bruh.
Ethos was the main advocate. He had early access, was telling us how fire it was.
You know how people were fighting for the alpha of that game? Like how bad it was?
Yeah.
Where people were begging the Blizzard to give them early access to that boy when it was the alpha and beta?
Yeah.
They killed a game with their open beta. They literally killed a game with a open beta of the game. Not in the full game. They launched a beta the same day a competitor was going to launch, and they killed it. The same day. That's insane.
It was the same, man. It was the same. So I felt like they definitely built on some of the things that Overwatch did. So Overwatch walked so they can run, and then you see Overwatch trying to come back, and it's like, hey, we're bringing classic mode and all this stuff.
We got Avatar.
I think it's too late, man. Just the IP alone for Marvel just already hit the nail on the head. Like obviously you can see some of the similarities with characters, and we'll talk about a certain individual hating on it, but I think this game will last for a longer time just because of the IP alone, and just I think it's easy to get in, but definitely hard to master. Again, you definitely have to play well as a team, and again find that other meta, dive deep into what each characters can do and all those synergies, aka team ups, in order to actually master the game. But we've been having a lot of fun. And I think this will be a good multiplayer game, and there's obviously crossplay there too. No cross progression yet, and I hope that they do add that, but there is crossplay, so you can play with your console friends and vice versa. So again, it's easy to get into, and again hard to master once you start getting up there in rank. So they have everything, rank is there, so I know that's always has been one complaint that like a certain sector is like, oh my god, you lost a game, but they only play casual, but ranked is there day one, so you can at least hop into that if you're a pure sweat. So at least it has those aspects into the thing, and then the cosmetics are fine as well. Not so happy about the pricing, but the cosmetics are definitely fire. So if you're, one of those whales, then you could definitely get into some cosmetics. They have some very dope cosmetics. So I'm just very excited about like the roadmap. I hope that they do like release like an actual like roadmap of which characters are coming. So to give us a better idea on what's what we should be looking forward to. But I mean the possibilities are endless on what characters that they can drop here. So it's been a dope experience so far. I'm absolutely enjoying it.
I think the biggest thing I'm taking away from the launch of this game is this narrative of y'all are tired of hero shooters and you're tired of live service games needs to stop. 10 million players in 3 days. Y'all love this shit. As long as it's good. people are going to play it. So please stop tweeting you're tired of these type of games because y'all showed up for this
saying
one.
modern gaming is dying because it's not true.
It's not true, bro.
You're all lying.
You want those battle passes and those skins and the free to play, and you want to play the same game forever.
On the flip side, though, I do agree with JG. The cosmetics are overpriced, but I mean, they got to make money somehow, so we knew it was coming. Yeah. And it's annoying because the cosmetics are fire. But the battle pass is fairly priced. I like the way they're doing the battle pass.
Yeah. They do compare.
You can take your time.
You can actually unlock some of them without paying your money, real money.
Like just playing the game.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a grind, but it is like what made the prices more doable for me. Screw the whole discount crap because that's just a psychological trick. That's what the prices are.
Get you to spend more.
From like a skin that would have cost originally like $15 and by being playing the game, now it's $10. I'm like, oh, this is more. Oh yeah, I'm willing to take 10. Like, don't get me wrong. I day one bought a skin. Matter of fact, I bought 2 skins. I bought the Battle Pass too. I am that person. I am that problem. I had fun on that game. I said if a game gave me fun, it was free to play. I always try to throw them a little bit of money. Shout outs to the Chinese NetEase or whatever it is, bro. They got my money. I'm kind of shocked this game didn't go through the whole Chinese spyware thing that gamers usually always attack every game with that comes.
They only say that when they only say that in certain situations. They don't say that if they're like, oh, it's Marvel and I really like it.
Yeah, I don't know why there seems to be this pick depending on whatever one, because they'll be mad at League and then they'll jump and play this game. I don't know, it's weird, but yeah, I look, before this game came out, I said I had one goal. I wanted to see Overwatch in the ground. As a OG veteran, I feel like a lot of OG veteran Overwatch fans would love to see Overwatch basically bend the knee. It need to get its ass beat because Blizzard hasn't really been pushing the quality of that game and what we felt like that game deserved. They had the chance to make Overwatch literally one of the greatest brands pretty much, and it was for a point in time for a couple of years from 2016 to 18, 19. I would have said like
we were on a heavy.
It was like a huge thing. Like I was playing until Bridget. Yeah. Bridget ruined everything. Once Bridget came out, she ruined it. I stopped playing Overwatch because before they broke her, and that in the GOATS meta was just too much. I couldn't stand it. The question is, does Marvel Rivals fix that problem? I'm seeing already in ranked, people are figuring it out that if you run 3 healers, it's pretty busty. It's pretty hard to kill a team if they have 3 healers. I'm not going to give my tech of how you beat it yet. But I think overall, it's a fun game. I think the big reasons is because off rip, day one, it had rank. Day one, it had a lot of features that like Overwatch took some time to add to their game that they just learned like, oh, these were quality of life things that Overwatch learned throughout years of the game being out. We can just put them in our game day one. Like having your history tracker, a recorder, so you record it, private matches, like all of it's already built to go for like any sort of competitive scene to just naturally happen instead of it trying to like what Overwatch I do, which is try to shove it with like OWL or whatever it is. So the game I think is in like at a good spot. Now there are some demons that exist in this game, specifically Jeff the Shark. I see you, my boy. That's the problem. He's cute. So y'all let him get away with this, but I'm sick of this man's ult. I'm sick of y'all.
If I was playing, I'd play Jeff. I'm just saying.
Jeff is a trap. He tricks people into playing that game because he looks so cute. I'm telling you, I've seen so many people on the TikTok who are falling for this demonic game. Who think, it's gonna be a fun
on the TikTok.
Yeah, on the TikTok. That might not exist in January. We might not be able to use it in January. But I see the complaint of people saying that this character's busted. This character, I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like this game reminds me a lot of Modern Warfare 2, like OG Modern Warfare 2. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's a lot of characters in the game that are just busted.
Everybody's OP for the most part. There's a couple characters I think do need a little bit of tweaking. Yeah, I was gonna say 2, but it's not that busted. It's pretty balanced for the most part.
Needs to get buffed. Hulk kind of,
Hulk
but I
needs
think
a buff.
Hulk needs a little bit of buff, but I think Hulk in the right hands, if you combine him and Iron Man, they are very hard. Like they can just demolish people with the buff. So that's kind of I don't know yet. And then I used to think Doctor Strange, but I actually think Doctor Strange is pretty good now. I think just people have
change your tune, huh?
Yeah,
change your tune a little bit.
Seen the
But for
videos I
all
put in the group chat up.
all those bums that was talking shit about Captain
Be right
America,
back real quick.
y'all have been proven wrong. Through the span of a week, y'all were wrong about Cap. Y'all was saying he didn't do no damage. He didn't do anything. Y'all need to cut him. And now y'all really, when y'all be getting that rank, y'all starting to realize, that Captain America actually pretty damn good.
Oh, is he a good character in rank?
I'd argue to say he's top tier.
I haven't
think
touched it yet.
Genuinely, if you're playing a dive comp, I think he's good. Him and Thor are really powerful. Like, they have powerful sustain. They can stay in the fight like longer, like a lot. I see some people trying to say, why would I play Cap instead of Venom? I think at the end of the day, if you look at the ultimates are the key here. I think that Cap has a way better like survival tank build than Venom does. Yeah, Venom's always kind of like a go underground and I can kind of stun a group of people, but it's very easy to dodge. But Cap can just stay on a point way longer than Venom. Venom has to like run away and then come back. Cap can just like, if he has his ult, he can just run around in a circle for like 5 minutes and the people can't kill him. So I personally think Cap is the better choice. At least ring. I'm speaking for someone who's in gold, by the way.
I've seen a smear. I've seen a smear campaign on this game, like from Overwatch. The people who are still playing Overwatch, it's like, oh, it's just Overwatch. You should play Overwatch. For the people who have not played, yes, this game is inspired by Overwatch. First of all, what's wrong with being inspired by something? Everything is inspired by something. But two,
inspired by Team Fortress.
But
what are we talking about?
it's just very disingenuous to say it's a Overwatch clone or ripoff because there's so much unique shit going in here. The verticality of the game, characters like Iron Man and Storm never have to touch the ground. That's not in fucking Overwatch. It creates a different dynamic. Like when I play Iron Man, you can hide behind buildings at a certain angle in the air. You can't do that shit in fucking Overwatch. So then now you have to pay attention when going up. The destruction of the environments, that changes the game as well.
Yeah,
first of all, like there's plenty of points where like people will blow a hole through a wall, like on some Rainbow Six and like I like to play Captain America. You run through that hole and flank the team, bot people upside that. It creates a different element to the game. It has just enough new to it, to the formula where it's like, okay, this is its own thing. And then you got the team up features and stuff like that. A lot of the characters are unique in my opinion, stuff that you don't, there are some characters like, oh, these are like Overwatch, but then you just counter argue that argument by saying, well, these characters existed before Overwatch. So what the fuck are you talking about? So like, it's not, these characters kits are based off of how they actually are in the comic books, in the movies.
And they're copies of MOBA kits from like MOBA games from a long time ago. So,
and there's just really fun characters in this game to play that I didn't like. I'm not going to lie, like a lot of times I get regulated to playing tank and the shit's annoying because sometimes I do want to play DPS, but like I'm not gonna lie, Captain America might be the most fun tank I've ever played. Like it doesn't feel like, I've had games where I go 30 plus kills, I be going the fuck off flanking with that dude when you learn. So like when I saw that tweet that you had retweeted where people are saying he was trash, I was like, really? Because I was like, I be feeling like he's really good.
People were pushing that like first week of Marvel Rivals. They were trying to say Cap was the worst tank in the entire game, that he needs to get buffed.
Nah, he is stick and move.
I was like, and then when that pro thing came for like the higher ranks where they were like Cap was S tier, people were like genuinely shocked, like, no, that's not why is he S tier, but blah 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 is not S tier. It's like y'all. I think a lot of people, again, I don't know about gamers. They always like jump the gun on too many things. They don't give things time to like marinate. They just immediately like first impression, first 5 games of me playing a character. If I can't like drop 30 bombs on them, they're ass. And they don't even realize like how many things have we discovered on TikTok where like we're sending each other clips and like, look at this. Did you know this? Like, did you know Iron Fist can like block all this shit? Did you know that Cap can deflect this thing? And people don't even know that. So they think they just ride the character off. And then when they see these little mechanics happening, then they're just like, oh, wait, shit, I was wrong. Oh, crap, actually, this character's busted. I think Mantis is a good example of that. I think a lot of people saw her kit initially and was like, this healer is kind of meh. It's just like
I watched some videos on her. I want to learn her too.
Yeah, and then you actually play it. You actually learn how she mechanically works. And you're like, holy, wait, she can actually stop the demonic, evil Iron Fist from like obliterating your backline and just like do a lot of crazy stuff and be like technically a DPS too. I think that's the problem, is like too many people want to play DPS and they don't realize that even in tank and in support, if you're good and you know what you're doing, you technically can still DPS. You can still kill people. It's just about knowing when's the right time to deal damage and hurt people and when's the right time you need to push a point or you need to protect your teammates or something like that. Until people don't realize that, you bums are going to stay in bronze and silver forever.
And I think that's the thing I like the most about this game compared to like Overwatch and other hero shooters, is the fact that like I can play a character like Cloak and Dagger and I can legit do more damage than our actual DPSs on the team. Like if you're good, you're good. And the same thing with the tank. Literally talking about Cap, you could put up a 30 or 40 bomb and literally be the tank / DPS of your team. So don't sleep on these other classes. Like the initial argument was, oh, there are too many duelists, you know, as they call them, the DPS. There are too many duelists, not enough vanguards. And you know, that can be fixed, you know, when other characters come, but still take the time to look at these other characters because again, the main problem is everybody wants to just do damage and nobody wants to stay back and heal, or nobody wants to be in the front line being a tank. But you can play some legit fun characters that can put up a lot of damage too. You know, it may take a little longer, but you can put up the damage. So just don't be afraid to, you know, go out of your, you know, quote unquote comfort zone and pick other characters because they can still put in work.
I do think though that is a fair criticism. There's not enough healers and tanks in terms of like variety. Like the duels, they've been getting too much love. I do think it's a people problem in community. Like the fact that like when you go into like a match, you solo queue and people only want to play duelists. That's not the game's problem. That's people. But I do still think there could be more variety in the Vanguard and the strategies.
But it could be a criticism for the game because Overwatch had this problem. Remember when we all played it back in the day? That was a problem where people would auto lock a bunch of, you know, DPSs, and we'd be like, well, we need a tank. Well, we don't have a tank. We're gonna, or no one's playing a healer. And then Overwatch solved that with the role queue. And it seems like I see already people arguing now and saying, why did this game not have a role queue off rip, at least in ranked? Like, why did people not lock in that capability to say, hey, I'm gonna play these roles or put me in this like area and then queue me with other people who fix the or fit the areas I'm not playing as. So like, I get that criticism where it's like, yeah, like, it's only a matter of time, and I feel like, you know, it was kind of shocking they didn't put a role queue in there. But I am happy to see that, which I don't even think Overwatch, maybe Overwatch 2 had it, and I'm just not aware of it because I barely touched Overwatch 2. I played a little bit of it, but I kind of quit with all the crap it got. But I was shocked to find out that there was a ban system in the ranked mode, but they save it until you reach one of the higher tier of rank.
Diamond.
So it's like kind of like, yeah, so they're kind of saying like, if you're in the early, weaker, or the lower tiers players, because I like when you're in gold, the system told me like I was better than 93% of the people on the server, like globally. Like if you hit gold, you're already better than 93% of the community. So I'm imagining in my head, I'm like, oh, this makes sense in a way that like, why would you? There's no need for a ban system for the lower tiers. That's why some people think this character's busted, this character's busted. It's like, no, they're not really busted. And this is why like you might see like how many times you played a multiplayer game where like you see the tier list or you see the pick ban rate, and you see like in lower tiers like bronze and silver, some of the most like I see this in Valorant a lot. Like a lot of people will ban a certain character and say this character's OP, but then when you go to the highest tiers of people playing, you realize that they all say that character's actually not good because when you play people who are actually competent, they know how to
same in League.
King and Tekken.
Yeah,
King is a pub star. He beats scrubs up, but higher tiers, he's not that great.
Who knows, the technical, you can't do the cheese stuff that you can do in lower ranks. So it's the same thing, and it's nice to see that they kind of have taken that approach where it's like once you play the higher tier, the better players, now they're initiating a pick and ban system because now like you can genuinely get rid of Hawkeye and get rid of Hela or get rid of those really actually like good annoying characters, like people who are really like demons, like Bucky. We just had a conversation today about how busted Bucky actually is, that people aren't realizing how good he is when you could actually ban them and get them out of the way and make people play, you know, where you have to realize like you have to be good at 3 different characters. You can't just be a one-trick pony, which I don't know why that's shocking to people. People get mad at me for saying I play Iron Fist. Yeah, I main Iron Fist. Yeah, I jump your ass in midair. Yeah, you're gonna get mad at me. But guess what? If you check my stat, you see me, I'm playing Captain America. See, I'm playing Mantis. You see, I'm playing other characters.
He's just annoying to play against. But when me and you played together and I was capping you as Iron Fist, he was bodying back. That shit was a lot of fun, boy.
Yeah. It's fun. It's the same with Jeff thing. You love it when you're doing it to them, but you hate it when it happens to you. You despise what happens to you. Yeah.
So this is what it's like to have an actual DPS. Freaking.
Hey.
I will say, besides the lack of variety in the class types, my other main concern with this game is I'm a little worried that it feels balanced for the most part now, but I'm worried we could lose the plot on that because I don't know if y'all saw, there's been like 8 to 10 characters that have been leaked already, and it's cool. They're coming with more content, but I'm like, all right, Can we make sure that, you know, everybody's playing together well? Like, I don't want to just be dropping characters. Because, like, if we look at the Marvel Universe, they could just keep dropping characters and characters. I just want to make sure that character is balanced when they come. Because anytime you introduce something new, it completely changes the dynamic of everything else. And I just want to make sure
it changes up the meta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that doesn't include what they said, too, which is the seasonal idea of, like, when they go to season 1. So all those, like, combinations, right, the team-ups, those will change. So every season, there might be a new team-up. Or like a new bonus. So now like the strategies, that's like the way they're kind of balancing it, where they're like kind of encouraging certain comps, where then it's like, well, if you do this comp, you'll give Hulk extra health, or you're gonna give them like 10% extra damage. But they might say and be like, okay, for this new season, we know we're dropping a character who's busted or gonna be really powerful, so we'll nerf it by Iron Man no longer synergizes with Hulk. Instead, we're gonna pick a new character that's gonna synergize with him, or maybe they're not gonna be the picks for that season. Stuff like that. I do like that. The design wise, they did add these little knobs that I don't think Overwatch has that allows them to fine tune that to kind of help mitigate that like issue season to season as they add more like people to the roster. So.
And that's why I said it's a meta inside a meta. Like you got to actually pay attention to that. And if they're going to switch them up too, you really have to pay attention, because what you were doing, the cheesy stuff you were doing last season won't fly this season. So you gotta look into it.
Yep. How long do you think this game will last?
I mean, the trajectory is going right now. I mean, I just hope they don't make the same mistake that Overwatch did. Like, don't try to make it that you can't play. You know, that you're going to lower the player count and make it lower than what it is right now, or something along those lines. Make it just impossible for you to actually get some decent cosmetics in there. Just get extra greedy with it. So those are some of the things that I really hope that the NetEase is taking a close hard look at. Look at your immediate competition right now and see what they're doing that's turning people off, and please do the opposite of that.
I think, if I'm being realistic, almost every live service goes through a dip. It doesn't matter. It's just because whatever when the new everyone has ADHD, so when the newest hottest thing drops, people are going to leave it. I think that's been the pattern no matter how great your game is. And then the articles come out, oh, this game's dying. They tried the same thing with Helldivers. And Helldivers had, like, I think that's a great example. That game just came out this year. Remember how it was like the top, like that was the big thing to play, and everybody was playing it nonstop.
Fist grease.
And then they had those little bumps they had where like people were yelling about the nerfs. Then there was like the PSN problem, and then like these things started to cause people to leave the game. And then now they come back, and now population's back up again. I wouldn't be shocked if from the 10 million, if half of that's gone within 6 months, because I think what's going to happen is the people who are going to stay are the people who are genuinely trying to get good at the game, and not the people like what Watt said, I'm there for Jeff. The people who are there for Jeff are going to be there for like 2 months.
Oh, my friends are playing, I'll hop in and try it out. Or, oh, I like the look of this character, that's cool. They'll cop out because they'll be like, and
these people are killing me.
I've died a lot.
The matchmaker is not making it fun for me. I'm getting destroyed, and once people start getting sick of getting destroyed, kind of like Call of Duty, right? They get sick. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore, and then they'll go off. Or like you said, a new game will jump, or a new multiplayer game will come out, and they'll all hop ship and go back to there. Do I think Overwatch will ever like recover what it's lost from Marvel Rivals? I don't think so. I think because people are sick of Overwatch. So I think like they're not even going to return Overwatch. I think unless Overwatch does like a complete 180, I think they're going to go and find whatever the new free-to-play thing is going to be.
Mecha Break.
Definitely, yeah. Like when Mecha Break drops, people are going to go, I'm going to, like me, I'm going to go.
Yeah, Mecha Break's fun.
I'll play that. And then whenever, the Sifu, what's the name of that Sifu game? The FIFU?
It should be FIFU, yeah.
FIFU.
It's called Rematch.
Yeah. Terrible name. They should name it FIFU.
It should have been FIFU.
Drops, I'm playing FIFU. Like, it's just a natural thing with live service games that are going to happen. So I think the game's not going to die unless the devs mess up and like they like what you said, mess up the balance, or the game becomes like crashes and it becomes like unplayable. Or like multiplayer wise, like they just don't listen to the community. But overall, I think it's here to stay for at least like 2 years. Like it'll be around for a good minute.
I feel conflicted because like on one hand, I want to say based off like the successes had and just the general hype, because I feel like one, as goofy as it sounds, one telltale sign if a multiplayer game is here to stay is the meme community that surrounds it. The type of videos people upload on TikTok, the pictures and stuff like that. They did it with Elden Ring. They did it with what's the space game you were just talking about that you said you got? Helldivers. Yeah, when you start seeing like crazy memes for a game, I'm like, okay, that's a strong community. It's probably going to be around here. So like I'm seeing that with Marvel Rivals. Like people are posting videos of the various interactions because it's like the little details, right? if you have like Spider-Man on the same team as Venom, they'll talk to each other and have exclusive lines and stuff like that. That little lore stuff, people like that stuff. So I'm like,
that's
all
what
right.
Overwatch had. That was what made Overwatch special.
That's
was
what
that,
they had,
that
yeah.
lore connection. And they didn't make a Netflix series. They didn't make no series, so they lost it all.
They really
And
should
they-
have.
So I'm like, based off of that, I'm like, I'm gonna give it at least a good year. But then on the flip side, it's still hard to tell because with these live service games, in my opinion, you're always one patch away from your game being dead.
And one competitor showing up and sneaking you out of nowhere.
Which
is the same thing could potentially happen to them.
And then also, to be 100% fair, let's not forget there was another game that on launch weekend had like 10 million players as well, called xDefiant, and that shit died too right away.
They have a lot of players at launch, yeah.
It's kind of, so I'm like, I don't know. That's why, because like Ethos is putting together the GI Award show, and he put in the group chat, do you guys think it should be nominated for Game of the Year? I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really enjoying the game, but I don't know. With these live service games, you got to give it at least 3 months, because I might hate it next month, bro. I might hate it. We don't know. So I don't know. We'll see. I think it's in a good state. It just depends on how they continue to support it, and if they take their time and make sure they drop the content correctly and don't price gouge people with these damn skins. I do like what they're doing with the battle pass. For those unaware, if you buy the battle pass, if you don't finish within that season, you can still unlock this stuff at your own pace. So it's very old school. You can just unlock it whenever, just play the game. So I thought that was cool, but them skins is crazy. We'll see. We will see. Moving on to the news section of the show. The biggest thing to happen in gaming the other day was the annual Game Awards. And the first thing I want to touch on is the actual results. Then we'll talk what happened after results, and then we'll talk about the reveals, because I think that's...
Can we let JG go? Can we let him talk?
We'll get to it. Let's get all the...
Can we at least act like we care about the awards for 5 minutes? Because I know the biggest thing is the reveals, but can we at least act like it for 5 minutes, man?
No, let's talk about the award.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Let's look at the subjects that actually matter. Like, let's see. Best action adventure game went to Astrobot. Best RPG metaphor. I feel like I was able to predict most of these when they came in. Like, I feel like, okay, that's correct. Best fighting game, that went to Tekken. That was probably the highlight of the night for me. Because the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero fans thought they were going to win something this year. You guys were screaming Game of the Year. You didn't even win Best Fighting Game. And in anybody who plays games, you knew that was going to happen. So shout out to the fighting game.
We all knew it was Tekken.
Yeah. Especially after that list. Come on now, like Tekken was the obvious answer.
Best, apparently not. Best family game. Astrobot won again. Let's see. Best debut indie game went to Belantro. I think that's cool that they have that now. Best community support went to Baldur's Gate 3. I know they had a bunch of like new mod support. Best indie game went to Belantro as well. Best ongoing game went to Helldivers 2. Matter of fact, they announced some new content that was playable the night that they actually announced it. Ethos was talking about that. Yeah,
that was crazy. That marketing, that was a 10 out of 10 marketing play. I won't even deny it. They killed that. That was really brilliant.
Yeah, I've seen people dropping videos like the night of like the crazy stuff that was going on in that.
Real quick, fun fact. Okay, I'm gonna get a little nerdy with this. Okay, so the lore of Helldivers. So you know about Malevelon Creek. I don't know if anybody, people in the chat probably know. Who
it's Cleveland in the game.
No, it was Vietnam. Basically, it was our Vietnam.
Space Cleveland.
Yeah.
We didn't need to, but we were trying to take control of this planet for so long, and we never could. Like, Jeff was making sure we could not claim that planet. So, the community was like, we're going to get this fucking planet, Jeff. It doesn't matter. So we sent troops after troops. Like, I remember I spent, 12 hours on that planet alone. Like, of all my playtime, I was on that planet the most. So they made a cool, cape for us. And I think they said, 2.5 million Helldivers died trying to capture Malevelon Creek.
Damn.
This new planet Calypso, which was the emergency, there's they pulled the horns out and they said when the Illuminate appeared and they started attacking, they attacked Calypso. So everybody obviously rushed to Calypso because there was oh shit, the new content, we're gonna see what it's like. No one was prepared for the world at war, aliens jumping us, zombies jumping us. So everyone was like, what the fuck is happening? Apparently, we have lost 3 times the amount of people have died on Calypso than in Malevelon Creek. That's just why people are doing lore journals and articles about how this new threat has killed more Helldivers than it has any other event in the entire history of the game. And that's what I love about that game. That game has true history. It has actual historical record, which is what I felt live service games should like. That's
I was about to
unique
say
supposed
that
be.
is what I want more live service games to be. I know it's really hard because you're creating like on the fly stories that are dictated by your player base, which is not easy. But that truly makes you feel like you're a part of a world and a part of a community, having an impact on the game, which is like the spirit of live service, I think.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead to your category. I just wanted to side note.
You're fine. They want to hear this stuff. Best score went to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Best art.
Was bad. Talk about that one real quick.
Go ahead.
People in my chat were mad. They wanted Stellar Blade.
There's two in there that deserve. Stellar Blade deserved it more, and Metaphor.
I would have picked Metaphor.
Yeah,
Metaphor was
too.
dope. I understand Rebirth because there's literally like 240 songs, and like a lot of them are new ones. And of course, it's Final Fantasy music, so obviously it's great.
I was gonna ask, like, was a lot of it like remixes of like original, or is it actually like brand new?
There were a lot of originals. Yeah, there were a lot. Obviously, there were some remixes as well, but there was a lot of remixes.
I felt like
I was telling my chat, bro, like Final Fantasy is a juggernaut. Like y'all talk about how you literally have orchestra. Like you have people go to orchestra. Exactly.
I went to Portland to go watch the Rebirth orchestra.
I was like that. I'm like, that's a tough out. Like that's a juggernaut in that category. I understand that other games here, in our personal opinion, would have been a winner. But I was like, I'm not mad at Final Fantasy winning this one. It's a super hard out. So
it was the industry plan. I feel like they didn't want him to walk home with nothing. I'll be completely honest with you. Look at what they want. They want nothing. They walked away with music and score. They didn't win narrative. They didn't win game direction. They didn't win art direction.
Music is always gonna be like up there, right? No matter how people are thinking about the game of Final Fantasy, people are still gonna be going to those orchestra shows way before like they stop.
But I mean, they do that for everything, right? Like Elden Ring had one.
They had one in LA.
Elden Ring has one.
Come on now, come on. I see what you're doing.
Had one.
They be doing Sonic Symphonies over here in LA all the time.
They do Sonic.
This is 20 years of world tours.
I don't care. I don't care. Look. Believe me, watch. I've always said.
I voted for Stellar Blade. I understand.
Yeah, believe me. I love Final Fantasy XIV. I think it has the most incredible. I'd argue it's probably my favorite out of all the Final Fantasy. It has the best music. But it's kind of cheating because you get a decade of crazy music from different, with Sozin and Sozin's on the beat, and he goes crazy on all of them. But and to be fair, in the GI Awards, 16 did win Music Award last year.
It better have.
Yeah, it won last year.
I would have been mad.
But I listened to all when this got announced, I just locked in and I listened to all like their tracks on YouTube. Astrobot was a troll. Don't get me wrong. That shit's hilarious. But me listening, I'm like, I could not listen to this like for like 7 hours straight.
I disagree. Astrobot's music was fire. Within the first level, I was humming every level I played. I was humming that shit. I love it. I disagree with that. If anything, I don't want to hear that shit. I got a hot take. If anything, I think the category that proves who plays games and who doesn't the most, at least for this year, is actually this music one. Because you notice nobody, if you really played games, you would. I know. I agree with JG. I saw a reaction in the chat as well. What? Metaphor should have won. Astrobot, Stellar Blade should have won. And it's because if you played the games, you actually get to hear the music and you hear that influence. Versus like I feel like with the game of the year, that was a lot of eye test shit. What? You like that kitty shit?
But that's different because, like, in my mind, like, there's a separation between audio design and score and music. Like, audio design is not only the sound effects, but it's like how they're implementing the music. The shit that makes you feel something, right? Like when you play that Metaphor scene and that music is just perfect with what you're visualizing on the screen, and that's why it's like it's
how much Astrobot did you play?
Right. It's serious. Well, no, that's why I'm not gonna say Astrobot's bad because I didn't play it. So I'm not gonna sit like these idiots on the internet and try to act like, oh, Astrobot is a bad game. It's a kiddie game. I'm not, because I saw 5 people stream it. I watched Cammy play it. I watched Siggy play it. And I was like, I can see why people like it. It's just not my type of, it's not my tea. It's not my type of game.
I would say the score was good and they cleverly implemented it with, I hate motion controls, but they cleverly implemented it to where like certain aspects of the level, you use the motion and it would go to the beat.
See what you said? What? Yeah, but what you're talking about is audio design. That's where I would agree with you. That's where I would have said.
So you think they should break the category up?
Well, it is broken up.
It's broken up.
It's
audio design.
If we're talking about a score, I'm thinking of like, I'm in the whip. I'm somewhere outside of separating me from the game, and I'm just listening to it. And if I'm doing that, Stellar Blade is bops. Okay,
Celebrate
Yes.
bombs.
That's
I got you.
I
got you.
Music.
metaphor. That's some bops,
Exactly.
my boy.
Yeah.
I was
Some
disappointed he
bangers.
wasn't there. You should have flew
He
that
should have
man
been
out
there
with
live.
5-star
He should
treatment.
have been there. Like,
I mean,
that's
imagine
some
him being in the orchestra like medley thing that they do for Game of the Year, and he was there. That would have been amazing.
Yeah,
But here's my thing though,
Banger.
and I was again telling my chat, I'm like, it says score in music, not just music. So I'm like, if you're talking
Yeah.
about the entire score, like I said, it's super hard to go against Final Fantasy. They have an entire score. It's an orchestra. It's an arrangement. That's why I'm saying I'm not mad at Final Fantasy winning. It is.
Look,
what it is.
JG, if Chief Keef can have an orchestra while he does Finito,
Come on,
any of the
bro.
rest of these motherfuckers can have an orchestra and do their theme music, okay? That's not an excuse. I'm not giving that. I'm sorry.
Oh my
I can't believe.
God.
I can't believe. No, I want you to understand. I have not played Stellar Blade. All these games I'm listing are games I barely touched or I haven't played. And I'm just saying, just from a vibe of me like separated from like the connection I have. I did play a little bit of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, just a little bit. I was waiting for the PC. Thank God it's coming out in January, so I'll be able to play that. I'm not gonna lie. I just think it's just because they had 200 songs and they were just like, there's so many of them. We feel bad if they walk away with nothing. Let's just give it to them. But then we can get into the deeper conversation about how Stellar Blade got cheated by Black Wick Wukong. We can talk
It
about that.
did. I agree with that. Let's talk about that. We'll get to that.
Pushed to the side.
Yeah.
Yep, it did get pushed to the
In
side.
my opinion, it's unacceptable that Stellar Blade only shows up
Twice,
checking right now.
I think it's
here
twice.
and Best Action
score,
Game.
music and action.
And
yeah.
Wukong shows up.
You could put Stellar Blade in best art direction.
Yes! The models were
Absolutely, you could
amazing.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, you could
The
have.
way
But
y'all
see,
was
and that's like
salivating
true.
over
Like
them
Watts
lips, absolutely.
salivating over. Yeah, like Watts literally talked about the outfits, my guy. The
outfits were fire. Yeah, that
were.
definitely could have
Outfits
went in
were
art direction.
amazing.
That's
She
good
said, "Go
art
fishing
direction.
for that outfit."
Yeah.
I did a lot of fishing. Hours.
That's good art direction. That means someone was good at the art direction. If they got Watts out here fishing for outfits, that's good art direction. I think
Yeah,
Black Myth
I mean,
Wukong,
I
what?
get it.
You got to wear a mask and some cool drip on you every once in a while with different types of pole colors. Like, come on, man.
I mean, they were
Come
nice.
on.
I'm not going to
They
lie,
were.
but
They were.
yes,
I'm not gonna
they were
deny
nice.
they weren't cool. But I'm just
But yeah,
saying is,
Stellar Blade did get put to the side. I agree.
and this is I hate to say this. I haven't even played. I plan on playing this game when it comes to PC. Unfortunately, I know these degenerates are gonna. I'm kind of terrified when it comes to PC, but I want to play it on PC and really enjoy it.
You should play it.
I'm excited. I will say, based off of how when Watts was talking about it, you all were talking about it, because I thought I'm gonna expose myself here. When y'all was talking about Stellar Blade months ago, I really was like, y'all just yapping right now. I feel like in 6 months when all these other games come out, y'all will forget Stellar Blade. But then when it got to the late game, and even like JG was like, this still might be my game, and Watch was also like, this also might still be my game.
That's
And
what
I'm
I'm
sitting there like,
It's the
I
better
don't
character
have-
action game of the year.
I was
It's
like, I
I don't
the
have
combat
revision
is
this
better.
history. I don't let
I'll have to
because
keep it.
the year goes by, and we're at the end. I don't try not to forget about the games that came in the beginning of
well,
the
JG,
year.
the Yakuza coming for you, bro, because you didn't say Yakuza, so you might get
No, Yakuza. I know that I know that Yakuza wasn't going to win anything. Realistically,
Very
that's why
niche.
I just don't. Yeah, it's
Stellar
very
Blade.
niche,
I
so.
agree. Stellar Blade is a better action game than Wukong.
It is. The combat's better. The level design is better.
The
The bosses are
optimization.
better.
Was
The
better,
optimization.
Optimization
It was buttery
perfect.
smooth.
There was nothing wrong. I know that it was like obviously helped with Sony a lot because they put a ton of money to make that game.
No matter
happen.
how we
was
got
only on
there, it was
PlayStation,
better.
but, like,
We paid
was
$70.
and the score was better. The music was better. The soundtrack was better than Wukong.
The only thing was bad was did Wukong have a better story? I'm guessing, yeah.
The story wasn't great in Stellar Blade.
It was
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
would
was
agree.
okay.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was his lowest point. Is the
Yeah.
the story was
It was
kind of
all over the
forgettable.
place.
But man, the
Alright, sorry,
experience
I'm done
from,
ranting.
from
I just
start
had
to
Oh, no,
finish
you're fine.
was
You're
like,
fine. You're fine. The people like this shit.
a good experience the whole
Best narrative went
I-
to Metaphor. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Very engaging. Best game design went to Astro.
If
Some people
Wukong had
like,
got that, I would have called them frauds for the rest of
I
the
would have called the
eternity.
cops.
I would've- if
There's
Wukong
no
got
way.
that,
There's
I
no
would
way.
have called the cops. Yeah, I don't know, 100% say, sir, there are some frauds in this building. You need to get them out. There's no way you're gonna sit here and tell me.
if we're-
Even compared to Elden Ring, it's like DLC. I was like, you guys have lost your minds if you think Black with
Yeah,
Wukong
there's
is the
no
best
way.
game direction. That's the one where I feel like it
there.
doesn't deserve to be in there. I really don't think
it's a
deserves to be
very
there.
straightforward, watered down action
Yeah.
game. I'm like, I don't know what we must not play the same game, or
That's me
y'all
from
don't play.
7 hours in. I saw exactly what y'all were talking about. When y'all brought up the map and shit, I was like, maybe
they have a map in the game now, by the way. Thank
God, yeah.
Okay.
I don't play it. Yeah, but yeah,
Too
when y'all was
late.
saying, I was like,
That's not what I
maybe
played.
they're over exaggerating this, but yeah.
Yeah, struggle. I don't know why they copy and pasted game direction of Game of the Year though. To be honest, they could have again put some different games.
But that's the thing though. Like, is the pattern whoever wins game direction usually always ends up winning Game of the Year?
Kind of, yeah. You rarely see any others win one but not the other.
At all the games
take a look
on this list in terms of like best game direction, Astrobot 100%. It's one of the most creative games I've played in a while. Like the level design was immaculate, very fun, very heartwarming. Yeah. It made sense why it won this. And then of course Game of the Year, it took Game of the Year. I personally I had Astrobot at number 1 until I played Metaphor. So I have it at number 2 right now. That being said, I understand why it won, and I don't like this argument I'm seeing on the internet of people saying this stupid ass kiddie game. What is this? Who played Astrobot? I've even seen some people say an exclusive should not win Game of the Year because not everybody has access to it. By that logic, then no game should win Game of the Year because you can't play all these games because they all $70. Like, what are we talking about here?
Like, did you even play the ones you could play?
Right.
Probably not.
Nah.
Come on.
You know what's wild? Like, it's like a 180. Remember when Ragnarok lost to Elden Ring and they 180 that argument and said it didn't win because it was exclusive?
The Elden Ring is on. Yeah, Elden Ring you can play it on anything, but you couldn't. Yeah, you couldn't win God of War.
I feel like that argument ages even worse now. Like y'all really thought Ragnarok's gonna beat Elden Ring?
It's terrible, bro.
Most people agree 2018 was definitively better than that game. It just
It's just terrible that people are just using this whole exclusive argument about why a game won or why it doesn't deserve to win or something like that. Like, if the game is good, the game's good. Zelda won. Do I agree that look, I'm not the biggest Breath of the Wild fan. You know, it won. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, because it was on a Switch, it didn't deserve to be nominated because a bunch of people
can't play Wukong on Xbox. It's still not on Xbox.
I mean, there's not a lot of things you can't play on Xbox. So that is what it is.
Not exclusive, but
it's
locked out of a.
Yeah, maybe they'll get their Final Fantasy games finally. But I don't know. I just think it's stupid. Don't get me wrong. Like, I get. Look, I'll be honest with you, I wanted full chaos. I wanted Balatro would win. I just wanted people to lose their fucking minds that this pixel art card game beat, you know, all these other games, and everyone would have. I think that it would have been worse than Astrobot. If you think Astrobot's reaction bad, I think if Balatro had won, I think people would have just like been jumping off of the top.
I think the disappointing thing about Balatro is like when I saw it got nominated Game of the Year. The first thing I went to, I was like, admittedly, I was like, yo, I'm ignorant. I don't even.
Try this game.
It's very hard. It's very rare that I don't know what a game is. Like, it flies under my. I at least heard of it. I didn't know what this was, but I bought it on a Steam sale. I'm like, if it got nominated for the Game of the Year, it's $12. I'm gonna try it out, bro. But it was like the opposite reaction. What the fuck is this shit on the internet? I'm like, God damn, y'all are frauds, man.
I mean, it should go the opposite way, right? Where you're like, oh, that was nominated. Okay, I gotta go check that out.
Yeah, but they did the same thing. They did the same thing with Baldur's Gate. Remember that? They saw Baldur's. What the fuck is Baldur's Gate? Nobody knows.
Spider-Man didn't win. Yeah,
Spider-Man didn't win. Like, it's
turn-based.
Yeah, it's like a pattern. I don't know what it is. Something about this generation of gamers, bro. Like, their minds are so fried that whenever they see something that's getting like some kudos, it's not, oh, maybe I should check that out because, you know, that's what the game is all about. Trying new games out. It
has to be that typical PlayStation exclusive, third-person, over-the-shoulder camera, cinematic type of game. If that doesn't win Game of the Year, to them, like, they're like, that's garbage.
That's why I'm not mad at Astro by winning. Now, if this had been another third-person shoulder cinematic game with stealth elements that they've been doing multiple years, I'd have been like, oh, okay, yeah, fine, whatever. You know, I'd have been a little bit more annoyed. But it's Astrobot. I watched this shit. Not my type of game, but the shit was fun. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't see one stream from people I watched. I watched like 3 different people stream. I didn't see one person playing that game not with a smile on their face, except for Siggy. But Siggy
turned into something else. I don't know.
He's always like this. The first half of the game he hates, and then he'll turn it around the later half. Like, this game's actually really good.
He claimed he hates it, but he beat it.
Exactly.
It reminded a lot of people of why they got into gaming in the first place. It was one of those games where it kind of had the old spirit of gaming of just like, this is a game that's just made for you to be fun. They're not trying to keep you here forever. They're not trying to keep you in the game for 100+ hours. They're just putting together a really well curated experience for you to have in a contained game.
So you're saying it brought back the feeling.
And it wasn't woke.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, if you ain't got a robot, I don't know what to tell you.
I think it.
And hey, Bloodborne was in Astrobot, so Bloodborne won.
Yes. And
Finally.
we're never gonna get the fucking Bloodborne.
It's never happening.
Honestly, with
I
everything
thought it was this
revealed,
year.
I thought it was when
I thought it
they
was this
showed
year.
Witcher and Elden Ring, I said, okay, anything's possible. We might actually,
Especially with the 30th anniversary, like Bloodborne final game. I was like, yeah, it's happening this year. I've never been so sure in my life.
That's some cope. That's some cope. I don't know, man.
I
We're gonna talk about
I
it.
was
It's
confident
coping,
this year.
It's
I
coping.
accept the scope. I accept for
Astrobot
this one
needed
for
to
it.
win to remind people that games are supposed to be fun. I think it's good for the
agree.
culture. Hopefully, like other studios were looking like, hey, maybe we need to stop making so many over the shoulder third person cinematic action games with too many fucking puzzles, boring puzzles that are not contextual to anything going on in the goddamn game.
Yeah, we don't need
This
to be
is
so
why-
serious. Yeah, take
That's
ourselves
why
so serious.
people
all
got
the time.
mad that It Takes Two won. Same.
Yeah, they won in
argument.
2021. Yeah,
Yep.
Takes Two was
Same
good.
argument.
That was a good
Yeah,
It was
It's
a
one of the
great
best
game,
games
yeah.
played in the last 10 years. They
But-
get the fuck out of here with that
For
shit. I'm
them,
excited for his new
yeah.
game.
It's a
Yeah,
kiddie
exactly.
game. Yep. it's a
But there's
kiddie
women in that
game.
game.
Yup.
It's not a single man you can play at.
I'd argue a lot of you gamers need to play It Takes Two because it talks about healthy relationships, which a lot of you lack.
Or having a relationship with a woman.
yeah, okay. Sorry.
It's about
Oh,
getting
shit.
divorced, which you probably won't know.
You
Oh
wanna-
my
You
god.
gotta get
How
married.
do we
to
feel
get
about
divorced.
Elden Ring not winning anything?
That doesn't bother me.
I'm fine with it.
When you're great, you don't need awards. We knew it was good.
But
We
you
knew
remember
it was
people were
good.
mad. Again, that's another thing. They're like, oh my God, DLC is nominated, and not only for these other categories, but for Game of the Year. How
But that's
dare
what I
you?
told
How
him.
dare you do this?
I kept telling people, I was like, you guys are over exaggerating this. I was like, if you are so scared that don't get me wrong, this game scored a 94. If you look at Metacritic, if you look at the scoring, critic score, it is up there. It is like one of the top games with Astro and stuff like that. And this is a DLC expansion, which is as long as a full game. I was like, if you're worried that this game is going to beat out full games, maybe you should be looking at why their expansion is doing that well.
Ding, ding,
Like,
ding, step your
how
shit
they're-
up.
Yes, maybe
That's
you
what
need to
I'm
ask why
saying.
are other people not stepping this shit up, and that they didn't. And I saw people trying to like do the whole thing. I'm just glad Elden Ring didn't win. I was like, like at the end of the day, it getting nominated was already a statement to say that this thing was so good. Now, granted, as a Cyberpunk intruder, I feel like Phantom Liberty deserved it.
I know,
too.
I know. Yeah.
They got robbed last year, but I'm hated they started this year. But I'm fine with expansions that are. Well, I think we all agree they have to be big. Like if they feel like. If I could stand alone this, does it feel like its own big game? And if it does fit that criteria for me, I'm like, I'm fine with it being nominated. If people love it, let it be nominated. And then let it fight against other games to prove that it deserves to be that. And like we saw tonight, it didn't beat them. Now, don't get me wrong. Is Wukong better than Shadow of the Erdtree?
No.
No.
Like, definitely
like
not.
all the competitors that play again is I would argue it can go toe to toe with all these. I'm happy that Astrobot won. I'm not mad at it. I think people would have been mad, if it won Game of the Year, but Elden Ring deserved to be up there. I get how you can say it took away from, I guess, maybe Stellar Blade, which I'd been like, yeah, that's fair. I feel like, I would
And
been
Silent
fine with
Hill,
Elden
a lot of people wanted Silent Hill to be
Silent
in
Hill
a lot
got
more
hoed.
I
fun.
think Silent Hill only had
Yeah.
one category. I think
Or even
it was-
Space
it
And it
Marine
was
too.
action
music.
adventure.
They got narrative.
Weird.
No, they got narrative.
Oh, they got
And
I think it
narrative.
was
The
another
narrative
one.
was
Okay.
really good too.
I
they
mean,
got audio design, which
Yeah, there was a
like,
narrative.
that's
Yeah, there was a
good.
narrative.
the counter argument
I
to
do
that is
understand the
few.
argument for sure. It's just
Yeah.
I eventually thinking about it so much. I was like, yeah, ultimately, if a DLC, which is normally cheaper than a full size game, ends up being as good as those brand new games, then
Let it fly.
nominate. We're not going to see. People were worried we're going to start seeing like seasons of games be nominated, and I'm like,
No,
it's not going to be that. It's got to be like a really standout DLC
Yeah.
to make it there.
exactly.
like if you want a Stellar Blade there, shit, blame Black Myth. That's the one that stole the spot because
That's what I'm saying.
I stand on. I don't think it should have been. The motherfuckers is mad it didn't win. I don't think it should have been nominated. To be
Like
honest,
you're wrong. You're looking at the wrong enemy. It's not Elden Ring.
it has like an
You should be
80
looking at Black-
Metacritic, and it's not
Yeah.
even an 80 in my opinion. That game is a 6, a 7 on a good, like at its heights, it's a 7, but on average, that game was a 6, bro. It was not that damn good.
You're looking at the wrong enemy. One game has over a 90 average across the board. The other one does not. So you're looking. at the
Also,
wrong enemy.
another reason as an Elden Ring fan, I'm not upset that it didn't win anything because I'd argue Elden Ring fans did win that night with that announcement.
We did.
Oh,
You know what's
yeah.
crazy? My friend.
We might get nominated 3 times in a row, baby.
One of my friends is an Elden Ring hater. Like not a hater, but like he's just sick of people talking about Elden Ring about how good it is. So when it won, when it went on its like whole victory lap in 2022, they were like, okay, thank God, this game is done. We never have to hear it. And then they popped up the DLC, and he said, oh my God, I gotta listen to these people still talk about Elden Ring 2 years later. And then like he said
Has
the
he
game won,
played
he
it?
was just like, But he's one of those people that doesn't like Souls games. So like he'll never understand. It's one of those things like he'll never get it. He'll never get it. So it's like he'll never understand why. But like he was just like, oh, like watch, Elden Ring's not gonna get nothing. I was like, yeah, probably might. Well, not. He's like, it should have never been nominated. I'm like, yeah, maybe not, maybe so. I mean, I don't really care. I think it deserves it, but I'm not. If it didn't get nominated, I'm not about to cry about it. It's like it is what it is. But then, we sat there, and then the fire showed, and I was like,
I know, dude. From the first scene, I was like,
hold on. When they saw Bandai Namco, I was like, this can't be FromSoftware. And then when I saw FromSoftware, I was like, these guys are fucking liars. They told us twice. Twice.
No more Elden Ring.
They said we aren't doing no more Elden Ring. Then they dropped Shadow Train. Then they
said they're not doing Elden Ring 2.
Oh, I'm sorry, they're not doing Elden Ring 2.
Technicality. They
said they had plans for Elden Ring, just not for Elden Ring 2.
Maybe this DLC will be the thing that gets him into it because it's co-op. He can't hide behind it's too hard. He can play with some buddies now.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that this standalone, I can finally convince some of those people who've been, I don't want to torture myself. I'm like, come on, buddy, I'll help you out. We can kill the Nameless King together, and maybe we'll see White Glint from Armor Core show up, and then we'll really get murdered. Like, I feel like it's perfect to kind of, and I think Watch, you brought it too. I was like, it reminded people of Monster Hunter 2, which I think the two have always had that like kind of like cousin relationship. So it's kind of like it's like, okay, now you can like kind of gets people into it. It's like, okay, Elden Ring has seemed kind of overwhelming for some people or too scary to try. It's like, okay, well, let's, chew a little bit at a time. Try this with me, and then once you feel confident enough, then, dive in and play Elden Ring by yourself and see if you like it. So.
Assuming that it's not too hard, because I have a feeling that difficulty is going to scale like a
bro.
I think it's going to be hard. They've said that they're not making it any easier. They were like, no, we
might
trust
get a
our
boss
players.
worse than Radon.
That shit about the memes though, they're already doing with Elden Ring. It was like the DLC ain't even. We don't know nothing about it. These motherfuckers are showing Nameless King JJK edits of him being like, hey, I'm back, and like I know you two haven't played 3, or maybe JG played 3, but Dark Souls 3. Nameless King was like a secret boss of 3, and he was
crazy hard.
You know how the people get mad about the 8?
Crazy.
Like it's that times 5.
I've seen people talking about him, yeah.
And half of it isn't really because he's like mechanically difficult. It's just he's big as fuck and he fucks the camera up. Like he is the camera boss. Like he's the one that fucks the camera up. So like to see that they're bringing him back, and it seems like they're gonna buff all the bosses because now they're being designed to be able to handle multiple co-op friends fighting him. It's like, I'm ready to get tortured.
We're gonna be in for a time, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be in a time.
Can I talk about what it is a little bit? Because I initially saw it and I was like, I like the solo Souls experience, right? Of like 1v1 kind of figuring out bosses. But the more I learned, the more excited I got. Because this is a roguelike co-op game in the Elden Ring sandbox. So when I was thinking about like, you think about all the spells that are in Elden Ring, all of the weapons, all of the buffs, all of the everything. Every run, you're going to be putting together an on-the-fly build with Elden Ring's sandbox.
Yes,
and that is exciting. And there's a Dark Souls 1 boss in there. There's a Dark Souls 2 boss. There's a
Battle Royale circle.
There's a VR circle.
I was like, it's like Fortnite. I was like, really? I was like, dang.
Yeah.
You really
wall running. Deflecting,
running. Yeah.
I'll tell you, nothing mattered that trailer. When I saw my boy run up the wall and he deflected like Sekiro, I was like, that's all I had to see.
I was like, the deflection with fire.
They got Wolf in it. I'm good. That's all I need.
It's really, really cool. I love the idea of, and they also said in the PC Gamer hands-on, because 6 people in the world got to play it, which is crazy.
Bullshit. Why didn't I get to play it?
I said that so Margit is supposed to be an end of day boss because it goes on this cycle of like the circle's really wide and you go and loot and then it gets smaller and then at the nighttime a boss spawns and then you rinse and repeat until you get to the 3rd day. They said Margit invaded their game during the day on one of the cycles.
And chased them
and
then
the whole way.
This is gonna be peak fiction. I'm telling you. Look. You talked about it when you're streaming. I brought it up too, also in your stream once, where people are like, I saw some people who were just like worried about like, oh my god, it's like Battle Royale. Oh, this isn't like a Souls like game. It's gonna be like a spin-off type thing, and it seems like they're disregarding the lore and da 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 da. I'm like, bro. I was like, I remember back in 2019 where they revealed Elden Ring. Y'all said this is not going to work because you're going open world, and they're doing it to chase a trend. Everybody was doing open world, so now they're chasing it, and it's going to end up probably screwing up the design of the game. Then they proved y'all wrong. Now we're doing the same thing. They're trying something different that, again, has elements of things that are very popular. Why y'all not have faith? When you, like, I get Miyazaki's not directing, but I feel like, this is what I think. this is my conspiracy theory. This is a trap, okay? This game is a beta test for them to test potentially other things that they're going to do for whatever their next big project is. I feel like they're going to insert different things, experiment, and be like, you know what? They heard the complaints about asking people like, please add co-op to Elden Ring. They now are testing the network. Like, what if we can get it to work now in an open area, and instead of like trying to cut off areas of the map? Now you can run around this whole map. Can the network uphold this? Can we design bosses that can actually mechanically handle multiple players, and it's not like you can just cheese them? Like, I think they're cooking. I think they're cooking.
I was saying the same as I was getting towards the end of like the video of them explaining everything. I was like, this sounds really fun. Good. Like, I can only imagine being with your friends. You've all separated to different parts of the map to get loot, and you're like, guys, help.
they're definitely they're definitely beta testing something with this, because there was an article that came out and the CEO had said something along the lines of like, we're working on like 20 different projects right now. Obviously some are further along than others, some are pre-production, but like I think this is a test for one of them 20 projects that they're working on that's coming down the line.
Yeah, I'm like, man, if we get like a spin-off experimental game while we're waiting for like the next big huge FromSoft thing, I'm so down for that.
We used to have like 4 or 5 year gaps of nothing where we just have to wait till they announce a new thing. So I mean, like, to have this where this is the thing though, I have to say, like, it's insane to me that a studio has become this efficient that they're able to, like, think about that. Like, they dropped literally arguably game of the decade, or if not in the top 3 game of the decade, probably one of the greatest games of all time. They make Elden Ring, right, by taking all the experience that they learned from the previous games. Then, like, under 2 years, they drop another expansion that's already like highly, like, probably rated on like one of the best expansions like ever. So now you have back-to-back, like that's a back-to-back. And now they're like within the same year, they're just like, hold on, wait, we can still do something else.
I was like, there's no way. Like,
I was like, what? And you have other projects, and that we already know they're working on whatever. I don't know if it's like, I'm assuming definitely we could say probably an Armored Core is being worked on, because that game sold the most they've ever sold for Armored Core. So it's like, they know the interest is there for Armored Core. We don't even know, like, will they ever go back to Dark Souls? I don't think they ever need to go back to Dark Souls. Bloodborne is Sony. We're never going to see that shit. I gave up on that shit. We're never going to see that.
I think Miyazaki said that for the next like big games, he's interested in deepening the combat of like Sekiro and Bloodborne into a game. So
I'll go.
I have an answer to your question of how they've been able to do all this so efficiently. You want to know? No? You remember an article came out, they gave their employees raises. Yeah, they pay their employees. You see what happens when you have happy employees?
Well, this is the other thing too, on top of that. Like, it's a lot more normal in Japanese companies for people to just stick around forever. Like, the person who's directing this new Elden Ring thing, he's been there making Dark Souls 1 bosses. Like, he's been there forever.
Your core. Yeah, you keep
your core. Like, everyone knows how the engine works. They're really efficient at working together. They understand how everything goes, and you can make things a lot faster when you're not having to teach people how to do everything.
Devs. That's the key. Don't listen to these idiots. It's not the woke shit. The reason why they're doing it is it's because they're sticking together for long periods of time.
Stop laying off your actual talent.
Exactly. You're missing it.
Yeah, freaking. So I think we're all excited. We went on a whole tangent about Elden Ring.
I'm sorry. Was there any other?
Hold on. So let me dial it back. Let me dial. No, I did. Let me dial it back. So are we all cool with Astrobot winning Game of the Year? Are we cool with that?
Yes.
I'm fine. Whatever. Y'all have y'all fun. I may actually play it. Maybe I'll play with my daughter or something.
Friendly reminder, whoever wins these awards, it doesn't affect your ability to have fun. But, one person who didn't have fun with all these awards going on is actually the CEO of Game Science, the creators, the developers behind Black Myth Wukong, because they released a statement to the public, and it was pretty long. It was like 2 pages long. But there's one specific quote that's been going viral because he was a little bit critical of the Game Awards in the translation. There's been some drama around, is this translation accurate? Is it not? I don't know. I'm just going to give you what went viral, and then we could debate that. I know JG got some things he want to get off his chest, but specifically the quote that's been going viral is, the games nominated this year were all excellent, but I really didn't understand the criteria for this year's Game of the Year. Felt like I came here for nothing. Ultimately, we took home Best Action Game in Player's Voice, especially when in Player's Voice was gratifying. So, he was thankful that he won the Player's Choice Award, but he didn't understand why they lost Game of the Year. Let's say there's no way to confirm, because I think Watts was saying earlier, we need to get better translators so we can figure out if this was accurate or not. Let's just hypothetically act like this is a thing, right? Why do you think he feels this way, Jay?
Yeah, this is a tough one to fully understand, and this kind of goes to what I've been saying about the Game Awards for a long time. This is our Grammys. This is the Grammys of the video game industry, because there have been a lot of award shows. This isn't the first one, and it certainly won't be the last. We have GI Awards, which I have to pay attention to as well. Shout out to Ethos, but this is what people actually care about. This is the mecca of video game awards. So for them, being a new developer, this is their first game coming into it. I can understand why you don't understand the criteria, because to be frank, we don't understand the criteria. This is still new. We're only a decade into the Game Awards, and Jeff Keighley hasn't been a laughing stock, but he was also always known as a Mountain Dew and Doritos guy. So we didn't really take this serious when it first started. But now he's the big player in town. So more and more people are taking that, we literally just had this whole argument on people getting upset at whatever their favorite game is, not winning the Game of the Year, or them not understanding or knowing about this particular game that's nominated in this category because they don't play games because they're frauds. So we have all of these different elements in here, but we still don't fully know. And I don't think we'll ever know, because the Grammys still, for music, people complain every single year about what wins the album of the year and stuff. They're like, well, what is this committee doing? Why do they put these particular things in here? And who decide? Yeah, who are they? So that's going to be a thing. So that's what I'll tell you right now, Game Side CEO. We don't know. So I don't think we were ever going to get a clear answer on what game gets nominated and why a game wins a certain category. But what I will say is, first of all, you sound very bitter. Again, hypothetically speaking, if this translation is true, you sound very bitter at this, because I don't understand why you first of all won 2 awards. There are some people that didn't win any, so be grateful for that. First of all, be humble, because this is your first game and people were anticipating it so much, and we didn't even know if he was going to come over here. That's how much we didn't know until we started seeing it polished. So be thankful that first of all it was hyped up to the high heavens, and second of all that you had a game that was decent enough and at least playable enough that everybody got to experience it. You shouldn't focus on Game of the Year. I understand that you may be disappointed and not winning it, but we literally just had an argument that you knocked Stellar Blade out of here. So again, subjectively, there are still going to be people that are mad. So I don't want you to focus on that and sound utterly bitter that you didn't win that award, but you won 2 awards. And it's very weird to come off in that way, because it does sound like you're just hating on everything else, under the guise of I don't understand what the criteria is, because I don't know what criteria that you're thinking of, but we can we've already named some things that if we're going off of this metric, all these other games in this category are arguably better than Wukong. So let's just keep it a buck. A lot of these games that are in that category are arguably better than Wukong. So, let's just keep it at that. And I hope that you learn from this and don't take this shit seriously. That's the base. Don't take this seriously. You came in, you won 2 awards. Be happy that, people revered your game, that they thought that, you should have won Game of the Year, though that a small group of people, which I don't understand why, but there were some people that did think that. And just, go home and work on your new game. That's it.
Yeah. Also, too, I think in that a translation the longer version, apparently they broke down crying, and apparently he wrote a victory speech 2 years ago. So almost it came across as entitled, he was expecting it, but
sorry,
wasn't
I forgot. I think Watt's been here or something. Didn't was it Alana say that
Alana Pierce
Awards, that was actual upset?
Yeah, so she was because she was a part of Sony Santa Monica. She was with all of the
she worked on Ragnarok,
all of the nominees. Yeah,
the Ragnarok.
Where all of the nominees are at the front. And she said, she was just saying this during a stream, not hating on him or anything, but just when they announced it, the game science guys were crying, and they were and people were saying, was it just overwhelmed. What kind of crying we talking about? And she's like, no, like upset that they didn't win crying. And she's like, look, I'm not saying anything about it. It's just the first time I've ever seen that. So there's nothing wrong with them being like disappointed that they lost, right? Like I totally get being disappointed, but I do think that having that mixed with the statement that he put out makes me wonder if some of the translation maybe is more true, because clearly it was a thing of like, I think I'm gonna win. Like if I'm nominated for something and I don't think I'm gonna win, I'm not gonna cry when I don't win because I'm like, I'm just happy that I got
happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here. Yeah. So I was like, there's something going on. I know it's probably a lot of pressure from China, to be honest.
That's what I'm thinking. I think it's a culture thing. I think
pressure.
I don't want to sound racist when I say this, but I feel like it's a culture thing where I'm just like, I feel like for them, like think about it, right? Like this is their first, like they got the country.
It's their first time on the world stage.
It's the first time China has ever been at these awards, like a Chinese studio. So,
and you know, like historically, how China, like Olympics, everything else, like they take great pride in like this isn't just you as a studio. Like you are representing us as a nation.
You are China.
You are China. You better beat those American pigs. Like you better beat them.
Man.
So, you know what I'm saying? So like
that's when you lose, though.
Yeah, that's when. So when they get the shock, they're just like, you know, I mean, this happens in the Olympics, where like, you know, sometimes like, you know, American competitors will just, or other competitors will just be like, you know, oh, like suck or be a little upset by it or something like that. But then like you'll see from some other countries that, you know, it's full on like a meltdown over it. I think this is the greed they talk about in the Bible, bro. Like it for me to go to a game award on a global stage and walk away with 2 awards when there are people on this list that went there getting nominated for only one character. Yo, boy, you got nominated for like 7 different areas, bro.
Yeah.
Like for
and
me,
you
it
won
won't be like
player's choice, and that's out of more games than what is nominated at the Game Awards. Exactly. That's like a list of a lot of games.
A lot of games, and you were able to beat them out in a multiple. Like, I'd be happy with that. I'd be like, well, you know, this was a small group of critics and potential like other judges who are like in the industry that all voted on this. I got my takeaways. I know the standard I have to beat to get to Game of the Year. I've seen what it is. I just got to make a cute little guy jumping around and going Astrobot. That's what I just got to make Wukong into a robot. That's probably what he's going to believe. But
that's unfortunate if that's what he took away from the situation.
That's what it seems like. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll give you a great example. Like Kojima, right? Kojima goes when Death Stranding comes out, right? He loses Game of the Year. He didn't go out crying. He didn't like everybody thought he was gonna win, right? Everybody thought that year that Death Stranding was gonna win. It didn't win. I forgot what won. Was it Last of Us? I forgot what came out that year. Something else beat it. But I remember a lot of people before it had happened, everyone was convinced Jeff Keighley, obviously for obvious reasons, he's gonna make sure Death Stranding wins. And yeah, Death Stranding walked away with like 2-3 awards, but he didn't get the big one. But I didn't see Kojima go on Twitter complain about it. He never complained. He never cried about it. He was just like, I gotta lock in. I made something that was different and unique, and it resonated with some people. Some people didn't really mess with it, but it was something I wanted to make. And, you know, I'm going to make the next game, and I'm just going to keep doing what I do. I respect that. That's a man that says, I have a vision.
Yeah.
I accept that not everyone's going to like my vision. But for the people that do like my vision, I'm going to keep making stuff that they like. And for people that don't like it, hey, you know, maybe they'll like the next thing. I'll mix it up a little bit, see if they might like this version of it. That's what you're supposed to do.
That's the thing. I think maybe they just went in with like the wrong mindset, right? Of
unrealistic expectations.
You are the first Chinese game to make it here. You won Player's Choice. Like the world, like a lot of people love your game. Just like come away as like, this was our first game that we made, and we went nuts for our first game. So I'm just gonna
try and compliment it. There's room for improvement.
Also, you set yourself up for failure. You sabotage yourself the moment you said 2 years ago, I wrote my game. You already sabotaged. By setting yourself, you had already self-sabotaged yourself. You shouldn't have done that. Like, you should always go into it never expecting, like, I think everyone has said this. Like, I think when Baldur's Gate, I think they had to, like every Game of the Year person, I think, has, like, talked about their game in retro. I think not any of them had ever felt like, from the very beginning, that they were out to make the game of the year. Like, they're like, we are going to make. I think maybe the only exception might have been
make a game we like playing.
Yeah, we like
literally.
The only exception I can think about is maybe Cyberpunk. I feel like that's a pretty like the expectations were astronomically high, and they out of the gate were just like
I think also these other studios, they play each other's games, so they at least I know why this person. I have a suspicion that the CEO of Game Science didn't play the other games, because then it wouldn't even be you crying. Like, you would at least understand why I lost. Because like I would say I've seen some people, I put a tweet out and people were saying, oh, subjectively, I hate when people say, I said objectively it was the worst game. And let me break it down for you people. Objectively, it's the worst game because from a quality standpoint, Black Myth Wukong almost blew up my PlayStation 5 on 3 different occasions. The screen tearing, the game constantly crashing. The performance was just awful in comparison to every other game nominated. Now, if the game was buttery optimized, because even Stellar Blade that wasn't nominated was buttery optimized. If it was buttery optimized, then after that, I would say, okay, you can argue it's subjective. But because it was objectively the worst optimized game on the list, it shouldn't even have surprised you. And if you would have played those other games, you'd have said, all right, maybe I don't like this game, but look at the way it's running. Also, it has this cool mechanic. I could see why. I think it's a cultural thing. Maybe they just got to pay attention also to the competition. But I agree with you.
So, my boy, go. This is what you got to do, bro. You got to go into the lab, take a couple months off, buy all the games that got Game of the Year, and play them. Yeah. I'm joking you. Like, most of the people who got Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate did the same thing. Like, all of them do this. I think for Baldur's Gate 3, they said the same thing. The CD Projekt said the same thing about, like, when they were working on Phantom Liberty. Like, the best people, the way they work is you look at your they're not really like rivals. Like, it's just they're your
peers.
Your peers, yeah. You look at your peers and you say, what are they? What's inspiring them? What's ruining that? Yeah. The best games that have come out that have been Game of the Year is because they were inspired by other games that came before them. They were just like, I love this game, but I wanted to do this thing, or I wanted to make this game, because none of the games I've played does this thing perfectly, like what I want to do, but they have elements of the things I love, and then they end up creating whatever it is. Once you do that, like, you just happenstance just accidentally create Game of the Year. But if you go into the expectation, day one, I'm about to make Game of the Year, you end up with high expectations. You end up like Cyberpunk issue, where you have so much expectations and you're trying to do so much to be like, we got to do this and this and this and this just to prove we're the best game and da-da-da. It ends up crashing on you. Every single time it ends up crashing. But if you just take your time, ace yourself out, bro, relax, breathe, enjoy yourself. You beat out a lot of people, bro. Be proud of that. Stand proud.
You just had a learning lesson, pretty much. Yeah. Just in context, 2019, the GOAT Sekiro won. So again, makes sense. Yeah. And they battled against Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and the Outer Worlds.
That's a tough category.
That was a very tough category.
You know what's funny? I had that thought earlier. I was like, not even on asshole shit. I don't think it would have won last year, the year before. It ain't winning next year. Like, it wouldn't have won any year in the recent, probably last 5 or 6 years, Game of the Year. Like, it was just a cool game, but it wasn't that damn good.
It's a cool game.
Yeah,
and it's a fantastic first game.
Yeah, and there's
2022, you ain't beating Elden Ring. Fuck out of here. Like, come on, 2021, maybe. Maybe it would have had it.
Nah, it ain't beating it.
It want to get Deathloop, Metroid Dread.
I think it could have.
The Resident Evil Village.
I think it would have been more competitive, but I still would pick It Takes Two over Wukong.
I agree.
Over Wukong.
Yeah, I agree.
But I feel like the graphics and stuff, like the visual, like of compared
I got you.
In that category, I think it would have been like second place or close to beating It Takes Two, just from
and then going back to the translation again, it's loose, and we're just hypothetically speaking, but like I was seeing things saying like, I wasted my time coming here. Why did we come here? We traveled all this way. The next Game Awards should be in China. I was like, what the fuck?
You know what? I want to be shocked if China's so upset by this that they just say we're gonna make our own Game Award.
No, that's what
they're gonna do. We're gonna make them come to us, and it'll be the biggest show because we'll have everyone.
Game of the Year, Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, Wukong,
Chinese games. Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, not being like trying to be like not on some racist shit or something like that, but like. Unfortunately, there is that secondary effect of, China has the biggest population. So, like, when you're winning the player awards, let's be honest, like, probably a lot of Chinese players, which is, like, the biggest market, all went and voted on that poll. Mm-hmm. Or on top of that, then you have the culture war bullshit, too, that was also pushing it. So you have, like, two different sides for different reasons that are kind of, like, they're hyping you up. They're gassing you up. And then maybe they gassed you up too much, and to think that all these people are right, but they all have their own agendas and reasons why they want you to be the golden boy, right? And when it ends up blowing up in your face, then you're just like, then you want to question the methods, then you want to question because we're going to talk about it. We already saw what those dumb woke dumb idiots, all the rationale that was going through their brains about Wukong and all the other games, like basically getting blown out.
You mean the game they don't play?
Yeah.
Right.
Anywho.
True.
We can move on.
Actual facts, though. Okay.
But I mean, pride of your country that doesn't fly here. Like we don't really care about that stuff. So
Americans hate our own country. We hate ourselves.
I know, right? Exactly.
Right over here.
Look at what
Just
we're dealing with,
make a
China.
good
Come on,
game.
man.
We got no love for ourselves right now.
Again, your game is not terrible. Don't be disappointed
not bad.
that you didn't win Game of the Year. You came home with 2 awards.
It's going to drive
so
more
that should
sales
be-
being
that should be
nominated.
good enough. Yeah.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing, man.
Shout out to adding that map. I appreciate that. I'm about to play your game.
And the
tonight.
map looks pretty good too.
All
Like
right, well,
visually, the map is like
I need
it's
to boot
not
it back
just
up so I can.
I'm gonna play
it's
it
not just
tonight.
a basic. They added a boss rush mode and they added a map. They added some other stuff, but yeah, the map actually looks really good.
Less invisible walls for the next game. You guys gonna go open world?
Ooh, that was
Fill it
such a
up.
struggle.
They did make a joke. See, he made a joke about that with his acceptance speech. The one time he got to talk, he was like made a joke about invisible walls. So
Oh, I didn't
They
know
know.
that. Wait,
They know.
which award? So he went up there? I must have stepped away.
yeah, he went up there. I think it was for action. I want to say.
Oh, I
was when
remember that.
They let him
Yeah.
go up there.
He's speaking Chinese the whole time. That's why I probably forgot.
And there was like something
translation
like, "Thank you for not putting an invisible wall in my way as I walked up here."
Oh,
So like,
okay, that's a good joke.
here's-
That's a chuckle.
and so I was like, I appreciate. I came away from that and I was like, okay, he knows. He's making fun of himself
Of
and
himself.
what they did.
So on the
That's
flip
good.
side,
They're
then
going from there to crying.
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
And
If
then
you knew
they
your
went
game
from
had
that to
issues, why are you so upset?
Well, that's why I'm like the crying thing is because obviously
Weird.
the translation it could be wrong, but the crying thing. I'm not saying it's bad for you to cry because you're disappointed. It's just weird.
And
It doesn't
make sense
match
that
up.
Alana Pierce would make this up out of nowhere. It just doesn't. It just.
why would you say that? Like,
Yeah,
it's
why
just-
would
it's
you
just
do
a-
that?
it would be
And
a
bare
weird
minimum.
lie.
No reason.
You got nominated, you won a couple awards, and also you got to come to the States and network with your peers. Like you won. You won, bro. There were things to take home.
Get some trophies.
Look at the Stellar Blade dev. He's hanging out with Neil.
He ain't getting
hanging-
nothing.
Yeah, South Korea. Come on, China,
Hey,
South Korea, not tripping
Yeah,
out here.
He ain't getting nothing. He having
Freaking yeah, so that was the actual results. There were a bunch of reveals at the Game Award. That's another reason people watch. And I got an article I put in the show notes for things that were revealed. There was a bunch of games that I was interested
There was a
in.
lot.
Let's see. I'm scrolling through the article. The first one that caught my eyes, there's a new arcade soccer game from the makers of Sifu. Is it called Rematch, I think?
Rematch, yes.
Yeah,
That's
they're
Fifu.
calling it Rifu. This one's actually
Fifu.
having
Fifu, bro.
Fifu, like
FIFA,
FIFA.
my
It's
bad,
Fifu.
Fifu. They're having a beta for this one. I think it's open registration right now. This one looked really cool. I know EA is sweating right now because I know the last FC Soccer did not review very well, and this just looks like simple fun. It looks
The
like
people are hungry for like just a fun soccer game, and they have not been able to get that for a long time.
Yep. I've seen some people say that this game, it looks like, it was like content creators. It looks like Rocket League, but on foot. And I'm just like,
Rocket League with the people.
am I getting old? Like,
No, but that's
It's like
funny
the
though when
physics
you think
thing, I
about
think.
it.
The
Yeah,
map?
because Rocket League
Yeah.
is literally
it's soccer with
soccer
cars.
with
I'm like, so
cars.
it's soccer. Like, what are you talking? It's football. What are you talking about?
Like, oh, it looks like Rocket
It's
League.
flipping.
Yeah, I get
I
it.
don't know about that one. I know. Ethos was creaming his pants for the Witcher 4 reveal.
Oh my god!
That looked fire though. I don't even play the Witcher. but that
Wait,
looked
whoa, no,
fire.
the internet said it was woke. Whammon. Y'all
Siri's
know.
ugly now, obviously.
She's
What-
beautiful.
Did they change her a lot? Because I don't.
No!
She's
No!
got a scar on her
No,
face.
like,
Like,
Legit,
Go-
if you look
JG,
at the Witcher
Google-
3,
Google Siri Witcher 3. Just Google it. Just
All right.
Google what
Yeah.
she looks like.
and if you look at the Witcher 3 trailer with Geralt, he looks very different to his
Yes.
in-game actual model.
He looks
So-
bulkier in the cinematic than he does.
He
in
looks,
his-
yeah,
yeah.
he's got a bigger face.
Yeah.
so why are
way
people
more
so upset
shoulder
about
pads.
this? Like, why weren't they selling? I thought people would be happy. One of the greatest games.
Well,
of the
this is the
generation.
thing. It's revisionist history because people loved playing as Ciri when you could
Yes.
play her in The
Yes.
Witcher.
I remember
loved
enjoying
it.
playing as her. She was really fast.
They said it was the best part of the game. They said it was the best part of the game.
Frauds, huh?
Her action sequences were awesome.
So now they don't want to play it because
No.
now
Whoa, they're frauds.
She's ugly.
They didn't play the game. They're bullshitting. They are bullshitting.
I was genuinely
trailer-
confused by this because I was like, she's a contextual character. You can't say that they just put her in because she was a woman. Like, I remember I only had 20 hours on the game because my PC blew up when I spilled water in it. But I got to the part where you got to play as her, and it was fun. And she fit into the story. I don't get it. I don't get it.
She's arguably the main character of the book. Like,
yeah, I thought that y'all were saying that y'all wanted to play as her. Like,
they
I
were. They did.
don't be doing, bro.
Well, I should say people who played The Witcher did. I don't know
People
about
actually
these
cared
guys.
about it. Yeah, people actually cared about it. Not anybody else. They're tourists, as they say.
Well,
These motherfuckers are tourists. They didn't beat the fucking, what is it called? The Griffin.
the Griffin.
They got to the Griffin fight and they stopped playing it. They did not pass the prologue of the game. If you
Griffin,
played
bro,
that game, bro, that was literally the first. That was the original. What is it called? Armor Core helicopter test. That was If you can't,
that was
pass
the first
Griffin,
wall.
Yeah, that was the first wall. If you couldn't beat the Griffin, most people like just they're just like, oh, I don't like this game. They turned it off.
That's
but
funny
like,
as hell.
if you beat that game, if you actually play that game all the way through, there should be not a shock in your mind that Ciri, 1, would be the protagonist, and that 2, the story was setting it up from like the whole point of Witcher 3 was there's the critical height of the game where the whole purpose of the game is you as Geralt is trying to find your daughter, is finding Ciri. Ciri's always like one step ahead of you the entire story. So you're always playing catch up the entire game. So once you actually reach her, there's a cool little moment in a hut. You have this really great conversation because you've been waiting the whole game to find her. She's been the red herring the whole game. You get to her and she talks actually about Cyberpunk. Like she was in Night City and stuff like that. Like you learn so much cool stuff in that span of time and her powers and stuff like that. The whole purpose is to basically have Geralt come to the understanding and acceptance that he needs to step aside and let Ciri do what she needs to do, and that he needs to stop trying to be overprotective of her and let her become the main character. That's the whole actual
and
story.
one of the endings is literally giving the weapon and being like, go Witcher. It could not be as obvious as him just saying like, you are now the Witcher. Go forth, Witcher.
It's literally like, I think they said like from a polling of after people beat the game, I think it was the most popular ending was that people said like there was one where she could become the Empress, but I didn't like that ending. There's the one where Geralt goes and retires, and he's got his wine and stuff in his vineyard. He's relaxed, and Ciri basically takes the mantle and says, "All right, well, since Geralt can finally take a rest, since that's all he's been doing is fighting his whole life, he's just tired. Yeah. It's like you can take a rest, old man. I will carry the mantle and I will carry for it because most of the Witcher schools are gone by that point. There's not a lot of Witchers left.
You know,
she's going to take the mantle.
One of the things that I've learned, I think what it is with this game is like they say at least in the States, the average adult reads at a 7th to 8th grade level, which is not just reading the words, but like comprehending. And I think that also translates to media literacy as well. As I get older, I've come to the conclusion that a lot of people watch and play things like these different forms of media, and they absorb the content on a surface level. And an example is being like, I don't know if y'all remember the screenshot I put in the group chat, our other group chat, Watts, for somebody made a video talking about Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals beat the woke agenda, and in the thumbnail it was Wolverine, and I'm like, I clicked don't recommend channel. I didn't watch the video, but I'm like, yeah, that's a media literacy issue, because I'm like, that's the worst character to put as anti-woke Wolverine. The X-Men, the entire X-Men is about equality. Like, what are we talking about, bruh? Like,
is Wolverine like bi too? I think.
Yeah,
like
he's bi too. That's the crazy. But the actual premise of the X-Men is fighting against humans who are fucking racist against the goddamn mutants and trying to kill them, bruh. But I'm like, I was like, yo, do these people just watch it and it's superheroes to them? Like, they don't get it. So I think it's probably the same thing with this.
These are the same people that said Mass Effect 2 wasn't, like, the original Mass Effect trilogy wasn't woke. Like, they don't understand that even, like, the original OG trilogy of Mass Effect was super woke. For its time, that even came out in 2007, this was one that got on the news that Fox knew. I think, if I'm correct, I think Mass Effect 3 was the first ever mainstream game to actually include like a gay character in the game. I'm trying to think if there's like one
probably.
Before that. It's 2013.
If it wasn't, it was another BioWare game, probably.
It was 2012, and I think Last of Us shows up after, but I think Last of Us doesn't really show Ellie as being lesbian until the DLC, which I think was like a couple months or a year after.
Yeah, because the original game, they did. It was a DLC.
Yeah, it was like a year after that. But I think Mass Effect was one of the first ones to ever do it, and I remember it got flack for it originally. I remember they were like, ooh, we're pushing it a little bit here. We're gonna see how people react to this. You clearly, imagine if those games, and I think which is I think is interesting is imagine if a lot of the games that we played back in like 2015 and before, like 2011, 2015, how many of those games, if they had just re-released and they had never come out and they came out now, they would be called woke or garbage.
All of them.
All of them. I feel like all of them.
That's why the list was made. You remember that long list of all those games going back to like 1980s?
Spyro is woke. Spyro is woke.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, but it's just very stupid.
So, on a more positive note, what do you feel like The Witcher 4? What do you think The Witcher 4 needs to do to stand out from 3?
Ciri has a very different like outlook on things than Geralt did. So I think that would be really interesting. She's like, everyone's a monster, kill them all.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that.
She's a little too gun happy.
Well, the thing is, she's definitely matured because this is like God knows how long of a period. They did
She's
say
gotta be
Geralt
like 40 at least, surely.
Yeah, they said Geralt is in the game, and I think Witchers live longer. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, technically they die because they die to their profession most of the time, but I think they expand their lifespan because of the mutations they take.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about this yet because I'm thinking about like they said that it was going to be bigger than Cyberpunk and Witcher 3, which has me a little like, whoa, like that's kind of crazy because Cyberpunk was massive, and I'm like, how are you gonna outdo yourself with Cyberpunk? And I remember the big thing about that game was like how big they made the city, and obviously you can't transfer that with Witcher's like world. So I'm like, do you make the world bigger? Like, what do you mean by this? I think if there's anything, if I could give a criticism, I think the criticism a lot of people give about Witcher 3 is the combat was not as crazy and as in-depth as something like FromSoftware or that Monster Hunter. I hope that because the years have gone by, it seems like Cyberpunk after Phantom Liberty's update, they kind of, they got it. Like they understood like how to make the combat click a lot better. And so I'm hoping is with that lesson learned, and I'm just telling you, look at this CD Projekt. I know you guys are fans of them. Look at FromSoftware. Look at Monster Hunter Wilds, like look at how they handle like melee combat, like see how they do those type of systems and try to do it with Witcher, because Witcher's combat was like I enjoyed it, but it was nothing crazy. That wasn't really like the main pull of the game.
It was the one downside that people always bring up, right?
Yeah,
so if you can make that banging, then people, you know.
It was never the story. Y'all was always A1 on the story. It was never the open world. It was never the quest. Like those things they already nailed. They already killed that. Like that's what made Witcher 3 really good. It was just the combat was the one area that was kind of lacking. So that's where I want the game to be a lot cooler. Like give us more flexibility, make us do builds for Ciri. I don't know, something. That'd be nice.
Gotcha. Let's see. Elden Ring, we talked about that already. Went on a tangent about that.
A little bit.
Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth coming to PC. Ethos touched on that. I'm sure people excited about that one.
I still got to beat the first one.
The Outer Worlds 2, that got a new trailer. I'm excited about that from Obsidian. I like
that trailer was good too.
Yeah, it was a really good trailer.
I enjoyed that trailer. That was fun.
Just here, we all liked the first game.
I did.
Okay. There's been some revisionists. People said that shit was ass. I was like, I thought
everything's ass now. Everything's ass.
I thought it was a good game. Some people were saying
it was a short game, and I'm like, I don't mind the games being short, man. Please,
I remember people were shitting on Fallout and saying, "Oh, you know, Outer Worlds was so much better than Fallout." And
they were saying that.
Yeah, now it's like we 180 this. Like now we don't.
Wow. Outer Worlds is the first RPG I ever played where I got to kill every fucking body, bro, and I still somehow beat the story, and it came out completely different from everybody else's. That's great to me. I got to play my way, baby.
Yeah, that's great. That's
I like that freedom. Split Fiction, that's the new co-op game from the studio behind It Takes Two. This will be their third game. This one's about two ladies who are story writers and they get trapped inside their books, which in my opinion is just a bullshit story for them to do creative level design, which I'm not mad at. It looks like a lot of fun.
It looks insane, yeah.
Yeah, so their thing is like you're supposed to go into your own story, but they ended up going into each other's story, and one is like a fantasy story and one is a sci-fi. So you're playing through like fantasy with dragons and stuff, but then you also have sci-fi and all that. So I was watching it and I was like, he was super cocky about it. And as the trailer kept going, I was like, all right,
like the Wukong tea. He said, "This is fire."
And I was like, you know what? He's right.
He's 2 for 2, and on his second game, he won Game of the Year, so I can't be mad at it.
It looks really good.
He did. This is like a rookie game for him. Like this is his junior year. Yeah, I mean, you can talk your shit. Like, he got a dub. So
they also confirmed that they're sticking to their business model. So if you purchase one copy, you can play with a friend for free. You get 2 copies basically.
So just really quick, this is how you know the people who were saying like it's woke, it's gonna suck, are not fighting for your industry, our industry. Yep. Because this is a company that has no battle passes, no microtransactions, but not only that, you just have to buy 1 copy of the game to play with your friend. This is like exactly what we should want. And that's why you will never see any of these people actually talk about things that make the industry better. They don't play games. They don't care about games. And that's why I love the way that the Monster Hunter community interacted with them. They were just like, nah. They didn't argue with them. They just said, nah, you're weird. Don't argue with them. It's not worth it because they don't care. They just want to get paid by Elon.
There you go.
Anyway, sorry. Okay. It looks great.
It looks great.
Day one cop. Steel Hunters. Which game was this one?
That's the mech game.
That's the mech
one.
Oh, which people were excited about.
Yes, it's out.
It's in like a beta thing, right? Is it beta or alpha or?
I think beta. It's some sort of playtest. Yeah.
People were excited about it, and then they saw that it's by the people who do like World of Tanks and stuff, and they were like,
"Yeah, I don't know."
Less excited.
That's what lost me. Yeah, no, thank you.
I had access early, and I was testing. I was doing some consulting with it, and I was like,
"Okay, oh, okay."
It's a game.
It's a chance with E3, so I give them that, man. They hit that party. I'm like, it's a different game.
Mecha Break's more like fast-paced arcade. This one is more like
Mecha Break's
more moving slow. We're being more tactical and.
I'm a mech. I want to fly fast.
You ain't gonna be doing that crazy.
Borderlands 4? Anybody? Borderlands 4?
I mean, you show me a larger trailer. I'm still not really excited.
Looks like the last few.
Yeah.
I think I've just kind of lost it after 3. I don't know if I'll get
Borderlands
into 4.
fan. I don't get it.
Like I beat it and I was just like, I didn't feel the satisfaction as I did when
they say this game was woke too. I'm guessing.
Oh yeah. I have seen a little bit of it. Yeah, I've seen.
Oh yeah, there is like a black woman in the game, right?
There's like one white guy as a playable character. The rest are not white.
Now we're going to start looking at the character.
What's the ratio? Does it have to be 2 white men to 1 woman or gay person for it to not be woke? Like,
I would like an answer to that. They're just gonna say we just don't want it to be forced, and I'm like, well, what is forcing? This comes down to Ethos's whole video that he did talking to someone about, well, when is it forced? I don't know.
Get an answer.
I didn't even explain it.
That's why it's not worth interacting with them. Just say, nah, you're weird. You're not gonna get any actual answers.
I love calling people frauds. It's great.
Yeah, I love getting the content out of them. They're great.
Remember we used to call people frauds back in the day, and we kind of stopped. I'm glad we
well, so this is another thing is way back in the day, before everyone was online, if you were with your friends hanging out in real life and that like Witcher trailer came on and one of your friends was like, I don't know, Ciri is looking kind of ugly, you would get roasted by your friends and you wouldn't continue thinking that. But now that everything's online and you can find that pocket of people that are like, yeah, she is ugly, they don't get checked on.
Yeah, my first thought would have been like, why does your brain instantly go to whether or not I can fuck this character? It's polygons. What's wrong with you, dude? Like,
you'd call it. They would get called out, but they don't get called out anymore.
They haven't seen or interacted with real women in real life because they don't go out and touch grass.
I agree with Khalif. I believe we can be in a world where there's ugly women and then there's hot women like Stella Blade BBL. I don't mind. I don't mind having both. I do not care. We can have people. We have women that are not attractive.
Most y'all mothers ugly. Like,
I just want a fun game.
I don't care, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah, both.
What are we talking about, bro? I felt like the crowd went mid on this one. Clive, I couldn't even remember his name. I had to look it up. Clive from Final Fantasy 16 got announced.
He looks so good in Tekken,
for Tekken 8.
He looks so good.
His kid does look insane. I need to see that when it.
And then it plays. It's got like the Final Fantasy 16 music. When he wins, it plays the victory theme. Like it's great. Torval's in there.
How does this compare to Noctis? Because I know Noctis was in the last one. Is it like very similar, like in the like what they're doing?
Not the way that it was looking in that trailer. No, they do not look the same.
Nutty.
Noctis was doing a lot of teleporting in his kit.
Right. Okay.
The crowd. I definitely checked Twitter for this one. It didn't really seem like people was too excited. Everybody wanted Tifa, and they gave us Clive.
Well, he looks great.
Like, Tifa, but
I don't know about that one. Splitgate 2. I feel bad for this game.
I think it's going to DOA, bro. I gotta finish it. I think it's going to DOA. I hate it,
man, because it actually I actually like the concept of this one too, with the classes and stuff. So, but
wrong place.
We'll see.
If you guys are gonna release the game next year, I highly recommend probably July, August would be your best bet because it's a stack year.
The moment I saw it was like hero shootery, like a little bit, like class based stuff like that, I was like, oh, they're gonna hate this. I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna get like, because I know the Halo fans like to play that, and I know they hate hero shooter stuff. I was like, oh, I don't know if that's right. Like, if it's not pickups on the map, I don't think they're gonna rock with this. So we'll see.
I was excited about this one, Virtual Fighter 6. We've been getting rumors for this for a while, and it's been a long time since the OG, the original 3D fighter, came out to play. But I think they've seen the success of what's going on with all these.
Wrong.
FGCs.
I was like, Yakuza?
You thought it was Yakuza?
Yeah, we were sitting here. I was like, is this Yakuza?
No, I had to learn. I had no clue. I had no clue that RGG worked on Virtual Fighter, and they said, they said they worked on Virtual Fighter. I was like, okay,
that
makes sense.
Cooking. They're like
Tekken,
three
it was
games
Virtual
right now.
Fighter.
Yo, ask them where the fuck is the new Judgment game, JG. Hit them up.
But this Project Century too, because they had a double whammy here. I was like, huh. I was like, yeah, they got a new IP.
This looked like a Yakuza game, like set in the past or something.
It does, yeah.
This one
it's in 1915 Japan, which is pretty cool. I like that. I like the theme.
This could be Judgment as well. We don't really know.
They're gonna say it's woke. The game's not gonna like white people in it.
But yeah, I think Judgment might still be in limbo, bro, because of the main actor. I still haven't heard anything going.
What's wrong with the actor?
It was something going on years ago, like right after 2, that his agency would not let him like do anything. Basically, like he couldn't go out, he couldn't promote. It like I don't know, it was weird. And they were saying that Judgment 3 might be in limbo because if he can't do anything, if he can't be outside and promote himself,
to be outside.
I'm like, bro, this nigga locked up. Like, what y'all doing?
What kind of contract he signed?
Yeah,
and I still haven't heard anything, so I don't know where we stand with it. Like, I wish I could talk to somebody from RGG and be like, what's up with this?
I'm not gonna lie, I've been staring at Lost Judgment on my bookshelf for a while, and I'm like, I'm gonna play you one day because I beat the first one, like I promised you.
Man, this shit gonna end up being like Hunter x Hunter, bro. Like you might as well just wait on it because you might not get a continuation. Who knows?
I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, should I just like not play this until they actually announce the third one, then go and play Lost Judgment?
But they were doing a crossover, which gives me hope because there were some characters in Judgment that did pop up in the latest Yakuza. So I'm like, if y'all were teasing this, then maybe
was the main dude in there, or was it like side characters?
No, it was a sidekick. It wasn't a main character, but still, like the fact that he popped up, I was like, okay, like maybe, yeah.
Freaking, this one actually surprised me. Talk about a callback, but a new Turok was announced. Haven't seen this since like the N64 era, I think. Turok Origins.
Third person.
Yeah, and it's not first person anymore. I think it's co-op too.
They wanted Dino Crisis instead.
Does this interest any of y'all? It looks somewhat interesting. It does.
Yeah, Turok. Yeah, this Turok looked actually all right.
I'm not mad at it being third person, especially if it's co-op. It looks like it could be a lot of fun. That's one of those ones. It depends on when it comes out. Warframe 1999. You were talking about playing this.
The demo's out right now, and it actually looked cool, man. Like I said, I'm gonna go back and play it. I want to try this one out.
Oh, this was the one that everybody was going crazy. Like, I wish you was in the chat and in the stream. Like, the chat was going. I swear, it almost felt like we didn't even care about Onimusha. The chat, and we were just happy that this man finally got what he's been crying for, a new Onimusha game. Go ahead, get on your soapbox and talk about this.
Call him a fraud, because he wasn't even there to witness it. He wasn't even live to witness it.
Right.
That bro was
Capcom finally came through. He wasn't even there. Yep. And then we text the group chat. He thought we was lying.
Yeah, he thought we was capping.
Y'all being for real?
I'm sorry. I was in the middle of a party and y'all kept blowing on my phone. And I was like, what the hell is going on? This nigga Ethan was like, JG. He said, Onimusha. I was like, y'all dead ass?
Dreams have come true.
I said, you dead ass? Nah, it was great. No, shout out to y'all because, again, I feel like I'm one of the only advocates for like Yakuza and Onimusha. I've been talking about it on this podcast for a very long time, and I ended up hitting the cult moment. I was telling the chat, I was like, look, we got an anime. Nobody talked about it. I didn't think it was the best, but they tried, right? Like, it was like, okay, it's a little sliver of hope. And then they brought out these surveys, after the Resident Evil. They're like, which IPs do you want us to possibly remaster or remake? And Onimusha was on there. So, some people start tweeting me and they were like, okay, I see this survey. Maybe there's hope. But then I had people like, man, they ain't never coming out. Just give it up, JG. Just give it up. He ain't never go get it. And I was like, nah, man, there's a little bit of hope left in me, bro. And I saw Power Stone. Okay, Power Stone was in this latest collection. I said, y'all are trying. What might happen here? And again, I still had that little bit of hope. And I said, at the very least, remake, not remaster, but remake Onimusha 1, I will be happy, okay? But for me to get a new one, I'm like, okay, I won. We're here. Like, it's a very new. It's been 18 years, people.
Been 18 years.
Just put that in 18 years since Dawn of Dreams came out. I thought that they were never going to make another one. I get it. So I understand, man. But like I said, I want to use, my platform to constantly talk about it. I'm like, I ain't forget. I came to a point where I was like, it's World War Capcom. I'm not playing none of y'all games, bro. Dead Rising came out. I was like, I don't know who asked for that remake, but I wanted to buy it. I was like, nope, I'm gonna stick to my morals. I'm not playing that shit. I had to hate on Monster Hunter because I'm like, y'all gonna keep doing this Monster Hunter, Resident Evil, Street Fighter shit. I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm at a point where it's gonna be World War Capcom until y'all give me what I want. So I'm here to say today, where my sword at? Hold on.
Oh no,
what a dweeb.
Where my sword at? Look, I'm laying down my sword, okay? I'm laying it down.
The Puerto Rican ninja over here.
We are having a truce, Capcom. All right, we are on a truce. Okay, I'm not gonna hate on y'all no more. And I told Watson Homeless on Twitter, I said I might play Monster Hunter now.
Yep, he's gonna play Wilds now. He's free.
I'm gonna play Wilds. So you hold me to it, Watch. Let me know. When it comes we're gonna play, okay? But I'm gonna say this. It's a truce. I ain't saying I'm fully off for y'all. It's a truce. Because Resident Evil fans, and you know,
yeah, they ain't shit for that.
Resident Evil fans, I'm like, come on, bro, really? Like, y'all saying when it's Capcom news and they're not Resident Evil, and they're like, no, JG, I still want Resident Evil 5 remaster. I still want I want another. I'm like, come on, bro, y'all been eating for so long. Please.
Almost every year you got like something new.
Capcom went a little wild when it came to the remakes, okay? They saw that the first one everybody liked, and so they're like, okay, here comes 2, here comes 3, here comes 4, and I'm like, bro, please, just give me one of these, discontinued franchises that y'all are just leaving dormant, and I'm finally going to get it, and I just pray to God, like I said it on stream, I was like, I don't care if this is the worst game ever, at least just play it. Because if y'all do, then at least show them that, hey, if y'all at least have a little bit of interest. Obviously, I'm hoping that it's great. Like, I'm hoping that everybody gives it a chance.
I feel like you just sabotage it. No, I feel like Capcom's going to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to give it to you, all right?
I trust Capcom.
I think
it looks good. It looks good.
No, it does. It looks good. I just need to see how it plays. I can't wait for the preview to come out because I know who knows if they're going to make this Souls-esque. Like, are they going to make it like Neo? Or are they going to keep the survival horror action element? I don't know yet. So I'll have.
I think they'll keep the. I think they will keep the the soul of it for sure. I think Capcom's pretty good at doing that.
But like the originals were top down, so I'm like, this clearly isn't going to be top down anymore. So. Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah,
there's like still that horror element too, because he did mention how like the more I change, like I don't feel like myself. There's like something at the end of the trailer where he says something.
The movement looked a little soulsy to me though.
Yeah,
it might just be because it's a third person like action game and you have a sword that you're kind of feeling that.
It's all Sekiro to me. Everything.
Exactly. So I'm like, we're in 2026 now. It's
2026. Yeah,
it's gonna be 20 years at that point. So
it will be.
Like I said, it's gonna be tough. So we'll see. But like I said, I'm excited finally, and I think that now with this being announced, now they finally, like I said, maybe the surveys work. Maybe people did watch the anime.
You're welcome,
and I just don't.
They do listen to surveys.
I signed it for you. I literally signed it for you.
Thank you. I told people, I was like, bro, just fill out the survey. Just fill out the survey. So I said maybe they did listen to it, and like I said, now that there's hope, because I seen people that was like, no, it's still F Capcom because they didn't give me Dino Crisis yet, and they didn't give me a new Power Stone. So I'm gonna use my voice. I'm gonna use my platform on here to advocate for y'all. We're not done. We won the battle, but not the war. We still need Dino Crisis and Power Stone. So for all my people, we're looking for that.
Let me go ahead and add one more to the list. That's not it. Capcom need to bring back Beautiful Joe too.
Also, yeah, that's a third one. Beautiful Joe. I love that.
That's based off of Platinum, right? Like, because Platinum made that. Isn't Platinum own that IP?
I don't know. I just know Capcom.
Dang, I have to look it up.
There was like Clover, right? Clover was the ones that originally
Clover. Yeah, we need to talk about another announcement, and then I can talk about Clover. And
which one you wanted to talk about? What?
We did also get Okami though.
Okami, Okami is getting. Okami.
Before we get into Okami, real quick, I just want to know, now that JG has officially ended his truce or started his truce with World War Capcom. Is there anybody else in the podcast that has a world war they want to start or has one currently brewing that I'm not aware of?
It's always World War Bethesda over here for me. So
okay, yeah, he's still Bethesda.
Yeah,
Watts, do you have one that I'm not aware of?
I don't have
Anybody
one.
need a boycott?
Really?
All right, okay.
I'm saying they
Just
listen
making
at
sure.
some point, so that's like I said, I'm
Oh,
gonna be
and
happy about that.
If you want to play Onimusha, you can play it on Steam. As soon as they did the announcement for another Onimusha game, they did a Steam sale for Onimusha, so you can play it for $10 if you want to get into
Onimusha, Onai.
ONI.
ONI, then Musha.
Musha.
I like I said, I remember when that remaster came out and people were telling me, I was like, I don't want this though. I want a remake. If you're gonna remake Resident Evil, then remake Onimusha.
We
I'm
got
like,
to
okay,
see some
but
gameplay too,
No.
which like
All
we
right.
didn't see any gameplay from
Not
this.
No.
Onimusha, the
No,
other
sir.
one, the one you were talking about, Watts, the one you were about to talk about.
Okami?
Okami?
You can also play that on Steam.
Okay,
You can play that as well.
AMI. Yeah,
I
Okami,
bought
yeah.
this game and I just can't figure out what platform they bought it on.
But
This
I was
game-
happy about that too, though.
This announcement is actually so obviously like having Okami come back after damn near 20 years again is huge. But the biggest, more exciting thing just in general is that you have the original creator of
Yeah.
Okami. He has made his own studio again called Clovers.
Which
And
was
he's
the-
working with Capcom, which is like the original studio. But also, this has been like Capcom has come out and been like, yeah, we're now looking at our older games and we're looking at remaking like a bunch of our classics. So Dino Crisis, that all of these games are absolutely uplit. Like
If-
this is Capcom reaching their like peak again, which
Remember
is
Capcom used to be ass. Remember they just like wouldn't listen and they
There
just
was a
kept
For a
point,
while.
yeah.
They were like Sega.
Yeah.
They were on the same boat
Yeah.
to me as Sega.
Yeah.
I'll say this much: if they're remaking Onimusha is very believable, but if they're remaking Okami, anything is possible in their IP. Because not to be an ass, the last time I looked it up, Okami's lifetime sales was like 200,000. Like that's a very niche game that came out during the PS2
it is
era.
niche.
A lot of people did not play that game. It was a critical darling, but it sold terribly. So if they're remaking that, anything is possible in the Capcom catalog.
Yeah, it was like a big kind of show of Capcom being like, okay, listen, we've got our, like you said, Street Fighter, we've got Monster Hunter, we've got Resident Evil. Those are kind of on
Subsidizing.
lock. We're good, we're chilling. It's like now we can bring in all of these old studios and these people, OGs who used to work with us on these games, and we're gonna start pumping out this other stuff. I think that's how we got Kunitsugami. Because Kunitsugami, they definitely didn't expect that game to be like a multi-award winning, crazy selling game. But they're able to make that because of how well everything else is going. I'm very excited.
Game, they dropped Dragon Dogma too. And remember, the original was a cult classic too.
Oh
The
my God, be
like
quiet.
Okami.
I'm surprised that game got
Just saying.
nominated for anything. You know, it was
Just
the
saying.
worst part of the show too when they showed The Last of Us Part 2 remaster for the PC. Yo, y'all need to ban Naughty Dog from showing any more Last of Us on any platform, bro.
That's it.
Just
No
drop
more.
the game.
No
We
more.
don't want to see it no more,
Stop it.
dude. Neil
No
Druckmann.
more.
Sonic Team
Nah, but
Racing
yeah, to be
Crossworlds.
there.
Anybody new
I
Sonic
mean,
Team?
I love Sonic Team Racing.
I thought it was
That
really
shit's
good.
bad.
The last one.
Yeah, I remember we played it. Like we played it together. It was fun.
Oh yeah, running me off the road, JG. I'll never forget you.
Mafia: The Old Country. It was just a CG trailer, but I mean, we know it's
I'm
coming.
excited.
You know,
I'm
It looks
excited.
good. It looks good. Looks good. Got to see. Some
I was
gameplay.
telling the chat, I was like, yeah, we probably ain't gonna get no sequels of the last Mafia anymore. We're not getting that. That's gonna be way too woke.
All that complaining they did, they should be praising the Mafia: Old Country. We're going straight white men, man. White men
No more
doing business.
Lincoln.
They're
man.
Italian, not white enough.
their skin's a little olive. I don't like that. Oh my
Speaking
God.
these foreign languages, what are you talking about? You know?
We got some premium gabagool, but I guess that's not enough. Oh, and then the big announcement towards the end. This man, Jeff Keighley, almost started crying. Was Naughty Dog. They revealed their new game. It's called Intergalactic: The Herrick Prophet. You guys should think about changing that. That's a long ass name. Just call it
That's a long
Intergalactic. Jesus Christ. It's a space game starring a chick. I can't really tell what else is going besides it's a chick in space.
Okay,
go
so the thing that got me excited about this game. So I watched it and I was like, I like the vibe. I like the vibe of what's going on. But right away, I could see what the inspirations were. And Neil Druckmann did end up saying that he's highly inspired by Akira and Cowboy Bebop.
Mhm.
And that is vibes all over that. And then there was something today that came out where it was like, it's something to do with it's a fictional religion, and you're like kind of exploring like I can't remember.
She's stuck on some planet that she can't escape. And
she's stuck on a planet. She's doing like bounty hunting stuff. She's got a laser sword. That's cool. Yeah. But yeah, something about like that they're introducing just a made up religion and what it's like when you kind of put all your everything into this.
And it ends up backfiring on you.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I don't normally even really like Naughty Dog games. Yeah. But this, like the inspirations of where this is from, I'm in.
And they said like finally a different type of vibe.
Yep. And Neil Druckmann said it was going to be the most complex gameplay system, which has always been my complaint. I've always been like,
it's going to be a Souls like. Let's go, baby.
Like, well, you know, that's what he said in interviews when
inspired by Elden Ring.
And remember how people were like, "What are you doing?" He's like, and look at it because remember he was talking about the environmental storytelling, and he was talking about like that grudge or like hardness, that like the feeling of overcoming the odds. And it kind of fits the narrative.
It fits with this, right? If you're like a lone person on a ship,
is melee. Like, she's fighting with a melee
inspiration from like, other games.
And you're mind you also think of the setting too, right, Watts? Like you're going to a place after the effects of everything's happened. That's been every single Dark Souls type of storytelling has been. You're always there after everything has gone down, and now you're trying to patch together what happened. I mean, like I said, it's wearing it on sleeve. I see the Akira stuff. I definitely saw the Cowboy Bebop thing. The music I remember me and TBH were talking about, it sounded like straight up Mass Effect. Like if I closed my eyes and told me that was Mass Effect 4 just listening, I'd have believed you. I'd be like, this gives me those strings and vibes that like Mass Effect gives me. I'm a space sucker. Like I agree with you. It's going to be insane as a person that has not always been the biggest fan of Last of Us and Uncharted and all that stuff. It's going to be wild. The 180 I'm going to have to do where I'm going to tell old me that I'm going to be defending a Naughty Dog game in the future because I already know, we've already seen it. This game's going to be tormented to hell and back before we know anything about it. Before the game comes, they are going to crucify this game. Before this game
they already got started, bro. Yeah. They already got started.
They're very mad at it.
You think Dragon Age Veilguard was bad? My boy, this is the original demon. This is for them. This is Satan's most powerful soldier, bro, on the line for the gaming industry. This is the Antichrist.
I'm not playing no game with no bald-headed black bitch. I'm not doing that shit. Yo,
they
this
are
shit
going
is. It's so crazy to me because my mom used to have hair just like that woman in the game. Like she cut her hair and like so like when I hear people say, "Oh, that shit's," I'm like, "What's wrong with y'all, bro?" Like it's people that
military women also cut
the
their
first
hair.
thing that I thought is like, yeah, if I was in like some kind of post-apocalyptic thing alone on a ship, I would prefer to shave my head. Where am I getting
take care of my hair? Yeah,
where am I getting conditioner?
She's not worried about how she looks.
Flying in space and blocking my vision because of the space. And,
it would piss me off. It would piss me off, and I'd end up shaving it.
They like, oh, she ugly. I looked it up. I was like,
she's
gorgeous,
when I saw the trailer,
I was like, oh, she was on You, and I was like, I didn't recognize her because she had braids.
Very good actress.
The Witcher, yeah. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
She's very good, and she's also beautiful.
Fuck her in space if I can't.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing too. If you look at the trailer, like if you had just paid attention to the trailer, it's like there's a picture of her with the group of her, whatever her group or squad. I think she has hair, and I think in that picture, so like obviously something happened. And
it makes sense. This is the thing, right? It's like if you had a perfect woman with her makeup done and her hair done in a world where she is alone as a bounty hunter on a spaceship, that's bad storytelling from your character and the surroundings and environment stuff. It makes no sense at all.
It's supposed to be like some hard sci-fi, so like I feel like it fits perfectly. I need to see more. Obviously, I need to see what the gameplay is like. Basically, what I'm hearing and what the way they're describing it, I'm definitely engaged. I'm hoping the game is gameplay driven. I'm hoping it's not going to be kind of like what Uncharted and Last of Us have been, which have been kind of more, we're trying to be a very cinematic movie type game. Like I'm hoping when he's talking about we're pushing the gameplay to like to the edge of what we've ever done for a Naughty Dog game. I'm hoping it's that. Don't get me wrong. I always got a little bit of war in my heart for this man because of Jack 4. In my heart, I'll always want Jack 4 deep down inside. I've kind of, at this point, accepted that I don't think they'll ever return to Jack. I think they're just going to leave that in the PS2 era. If this means, like, with this announcement that they're never going to go back to Last of Us, maybe, I'll take it. If that's the sacrifice I gotta take,
if I
never have to see if I never have to have a discourse and talk about the words Last of Us ever again, I'll sacrifice it. If I gotta sacrifice Jack and Dexter, I'll pay it. I'll pay that cost every single time. No hate towards people that love Last of Us. You know that's y'all favorite. It's not that I hate y'all game. It's just I'm tired of the discourse of that game. Every time I see an image of that game, I'm like, here we go, bro. Here we go. I don't want to talk about that. I just want that game to be just lost in time. I just don't want everyone to talk about that game. That game just lives rent-free in too many people's heads. And it always causes an argument and people getting mad at people. And I'm so tired of it. So I like new IP. I thought we were supposed to be always happy about that. New IP. It's not a remaster. It's not a remake. And for all we know, it might end up on PC, in a year or less. So I'm all on board for this. Well, we'll see when we see more. But for me, as a space person, as a Mass Effect fan,
and
why would I not be excited? And I love Cowboy Bebop. Why would I not be excited about this? If you like those things, you cannot tell me with a straight face, this shit gonna be ass, bro. You ain't even seen nothing, bro. It looks cool. So
it looks cool.
I'm in because it's space. I got that space bias, obviously, because of the Mass Effect stuff. So, at bare minimum, we haven't seen any gameplay, but at bare minimum, the game's on my radar. I'll say that much. But I can't put it past it's on my radar to I'm excited. I gotta see some gameplay. And the reason being is I'm about to piss off the fucking Naughty Dog fans. They've been making the same game for the last 15 years. Between Uncharted all the way through The Last of Us, the difference is the zombies, but it's the same third person over the cover shooter sneaking around. So my concern is are they going to try new gameplay systems, new loops, new mission structures? I hope that they push themselves creatively. Yeah. If they do that, this game has, and they have the potential to do it because Jack and Dexter 1 is one of my favorite fucking games. I can still play that game to this day. Fucking great. They got the potential to do it. Will they do it? Or will they relapse and create another cinematic, over-the-shoulder, third-person cover shooter? But this one's in space. If it's The Last of Us in space, I'm going to be mad.
Yeah, I don't think I'll like it if it's the same type of pattern and way the pacing and the way the game plays. And don't get me wrong, when I played Last of Us 2, I like the gameplay of it. I feel like that's the best part of the game is I really like the game. It
is very polished. Don't get me wrong. It is polished. It's just not pushed. They haven't pushed any boundaries. The way they talk about they talk about Naughty Dog like they're fucking FromSoftware or even Respawn. I just don't think they're pushing boundaries right now. They've gotten content.
Yeah, well, Last of Us sold a load of copies.
People kept buying it over and over. Two more generations that you
TV show.
I don't know the sales comparisons with other. Obviously, it's probably never going to be as big as those because Cyberpunk, Witcher, FromSoftware games, they're multi-plats. They're on almost every platform under the sun. Yeah. Big hype and stuff like that. So naturally, those games are always going to get a higher amount. And we already know based off of we've already talked about it with the PS4 numbers. They're frauds. They don't really buy their games. We've already shown that multiple times. They don't really buy their IPs, their exclusive games on their platforms compared to their player base. The percentage of people who buy their Last of Us 2.
It's the reason the games are coming to PC so quickly.
Yeah, it's not even close. I think even half.
It said till this day the franchise sold 37 million. Collectively, so
what all of what?
It's a collectively probably wanted to. I don't know if they're counting PC and all that stuff, but
I thought that number would have been bigger.
Elden Ring today had said that they just hit 26 something million.
Yeah.
So. But that kind of proves the point, right? You're saying, compared to the other
just to put it in perspective too, for the people listening, Elden Ring came out in 2022. Let's not forget, The Last of Us is a PS3 game. I was like, that's good, but I thought it would have sold more.
So is that figure just the franchise as a total of how much they sold, or just one?
Yeah, it's in total. I'm trying to see what it sold separately. Because this is in 2023, so it could have been more now because it was on PC. But say Last of Us 1 20 mil and 2 10. So. Then somebody's guessing it was probably 26 and 11 to 12. So
it went down.
Yeah. So like I said, this was last year. So
more like a DLC.
But Last of Us 2 was only 10, and the first game was 20.
Yeah, and double that.
I thought, okay, I'm sorry, my reality just got shot. I thought Last of Us 2 was sold a lot more. I'm actually shocked by that. I didn't know it actually did worse.
Yeah,
It
no,
was
it says
on
nope. It says
PS4,
10.
right?
Yep, it
It
says
was on
10.
port,
Yeah.
right? It didn't. Like, it was like,
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
this is-
two. Yep.
You got
It was
that
a
doesn't
game.
surprise you. Remember before, like 2 weeks before the game came out, remember the story leaked and people were pissed.
Oh yeah, that's
Mm.
right.
That could have affected the
Yeah.
sales.
That is.
And then when the
Yeah.
game did come out and there was other things people saw with like Abby and they didn't like the ending, I could see that affecting the sales. Not
And
saying
then
it
people
did,
didn't
but I
buy
could
it.
see how
Okay.
that happened.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
I don't know.
crazy,
Maybe,
yeah.
maybe it's all the remastering stuff. I was like, why are you keep remastering? Like this thing must have sold like hotcakes or something like that.
Yeah, it
I
said
didn't-
2 sold 10, and then they said in comparison, the remaster of 1 sold 18 million. So yeah, people were pissed at 2 then. That
Okay.
makes her,
Yeah,
that makes
wow.
Wow.
more sense. Yeah, people were
So
mad.
one is hard
Yeah.
carrying the series. Interesting.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I didn't know
Interesting.
that. Okay.
We'll
Well,
keep
yeah,
an eye on that.
hopefully, and I think we had the conversation when we were live where I was like, this is kind of exciting, but I feel like, and I think we all agreed, we were just like, you could have honestly interchanged any of those three. Like, you could have done Witcher, Elden Rings, or Naughty Dogs. You could have interchanged where you place them anywhere in the show, and I think it would have still had the same, like, kind of like crazy effect. Because I think
Yeah.
like those are like the biggest. I think out of everything that they showed, those are probably the 3 big, like, whoa, like. I agree with the leaks. Before the show had happened, people were like, "There's gonna be 2 things." And
Yeah.
you're like, what? Like,
You're right at
yeah,
the beginning. I was like,
those-
well, there's the 2, like right there, and then there was
Decent
more
off
than
rip.
2.
I was
so.
like, bro, if you're off rip
Yeah.
starting with Witcher as your star,
And then
Oh,
the
I
next
didn't see
one was
Onimusha
Elden Ring.
coming.
yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck are you holding?
And
for the last
Onimusha,
thing?
Okami, freaking
Yeah,
new
that
Naughty
killed
Dog
me.
game. I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
All
I was
right.
like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm like, they got an A. Like, they actually, they
That-
didn't
with
hit you over the
that-
head with indie games. They hit you with some
Yeah.
really hard hitting AAA titles. So
With that showcase, that beginning is like, you got to understand why someone would be like, okay, Bloodborne might be possible, because it's like, what else?
I
How
was
else
saying
could
it's
you
possible.
top that? Yeah, how could you top
I'll
that?
chill
as,
off
like,
the Doritos
Especially when
Mountain
Jeff was
Dew
about to
jokes.
start crying. I
Jeff
was
did
like,
his thing this year. He did his thing this year.
This is his best show. I think of
It
all
was
the,
good.
this might be his best one.
they
Yeah,
had
bro,
like
we
the
still-
game changer award as well, where we got to hear the guy talk who got like 3,000 jobs
No.
with free resource. That was
Oh,
good.
man, I seen some controversy on that
was
one.
cool.
Yeah, I seen what Ethos.
I
was
seen
talking
people do
about.
think pieces on that too.
People doing some bullshit.
It was
Twitter
cool.
threads about that shit too, bro. The motherfuckers never happy, bro. These are the same people who
Like,
ain't doing
geez.
shit.
Was there anything else that you all were interested in? Ninja Gaiden coming back was.
Oh, yeah.
Ninja
being a
Gaiden
2D.
with like a 2D was really cool.
Yeah, you
actually.
see that? You seen it though?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's being made by the Blasphemous devs doing Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
yeah. No Tamu is
I heard that Blasphemous game is fire, so yeah.
Thickest
Blasphemous really
Thieves.
good.
Was anyone interested in that one?
Which one was
It looks
that?
interesting.
yes.
It's like a
That would-
multiplayer immersive sim kind of.
Yeah, it was kind of like everybody trying to like steal something.
Oh, that's
and-
that Assassin's Creed kind of multiplayer looking game, right? I think.
No,
That's what it looked like
no.
to me.
Oh, it's like Deus Ex.
Ah.
Warren Spector is the godfather of immersive sims. He's the guy that was the brainchild behind Deus Ex. So all Deus Ex, Dishonored, like those type of games, they all came
It
from. the
definitely
brainchild
gave
of that.
Dishonor vibes. Yeah, when I first
There's
saw
that's
it, yeah.
another game I'm thinking of that they showed. Then there was some other multiplayer game. It was
Yeah,
You're
like
they
thinking
was
of like Murder House or something.
they were like
It's called
sneaking
it, where
around,
they're in the
killing each
dark.
other.
Oh,
Yeah,
where everything's
dark
dark.
shit.
and
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what I'm
You
thinking.
can
of.
play. I think it's in beta demo.
Yeah, it's on
You can
PC.
play it at the moment.
I saw it on Steam. It's on Steam there.
Okay.
Because I was like, oh, I saw like on a Steam site. I was like, ooh, I might get this, but I couldn't get any of my friends to get it. So I was like, I'm not gonna
And
get.
then what do we think about the successor to Ico and Shadow of the Colossus,
That is-
Project
Okay.
Robot?
This obviously we didn't get to see anything of it, right? It was like not much at all. But I thought that the world building and the vibe of it was very cool. So it's like I don't know anything about it. I haven't seen anything about it, but what they showed me, I was like, I was invested in like knowing more. I wanted to see more about the world and what was going on. And
I hated it. I got.
you
blue
hated
balls.
it?
I hated it because like I got hyped because I was like I didn't
The
care if I saw
ending.
Ico. So, don't get me wrong. I wasn't a big fan of the last one because I think like out of all the games, I think that was like the weaker one out of the 3. Like Ico, gas. I played that as a kid. Obviously Shadow of the Colossus. That's like one of the best games of all time.
Yeah.
The third one with the what was it? The dog, the big bird dog thingy. I kind of was like, this all right. It's cool. I was like over the moon about it, but I was mad at this trailer because I'm a mech fan. So when I saw boy getting up in the mech, I was like, oh, he gonna move the mech. We got a mech game. This gonna be fire. And then he tore the head off. And I was like, oh.
You know what was cool though? So you had like this thing encroaching, right? And a countdown timer, and the head
Oh, yeah.
comes off. But
Oh, it's
then
gonna be like a
also it
kaiju
looked like
thing, yeah.
it looked like it was like the head was also kind of taken by it. So I was like,
yeah. Did you notice how after the head went up when the shot looking down? Did you notice like it looked like something was punching the like things were punching, like monsters or something like that? I was like, it does it gives me like Pacific Rim, like Ava type vibe. So I'm like,
vibes are cool.
Cool. I'm definitely hearing out. I hope it's actually a mecha game, like move a mech. It's not me flying around in the head of the whole game. I'll be like,
flew away like Mary Poppins. So long. You thought some shit was about to pop off. I'm out, guys.
Oh, he gonna hold the line. This shit gonna be hard. He gonna fight like some big ass alien thing, and then it was just whoosh. I was like, the mech though.
I was very confused at that.
Yeah,
it wasn't a lot.
I will say, yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm not excited, but yeah.
I wanted to give the show overall a 8, but then I dropped it to a 7.5 because I felt like it got a little long in the tooth towards the end. It started off very top heavy, and then it kind of tapered off towards the end, but it was still his best show, period.
Still give it an 8, 8.5 maybe. Like the reason it's not touching a 9 is because that pacing in the like later third of it, which is like
the amount of
announcements were insane, bro. That was crazy. Like that was E3 good. That was like old school E3 good. Like that was the shit that just get you. Like you remember when you remember that year where it was like I think it was like 2013. Remember when like they were starting to shift to the PS4 and Xbox? Like they were just about to reveal them, and like all the publishers were like showcasing like this is what next gen's gonna look like.
You remember the year we were there and they showed Jump Force? You remember that?
No, that wasn't that. No, we don't talk about that, bro.
Yeah, you remember how hype we was for that?
Oh,
man.
Yes, you were. I was sitting next to you. I'm not going to lie. I was hyped for Jump Force, and you were too. We were jumping out our chair. And then that game came out. That shit was ass.
I didn't buy that
I'm not going to lie. I'm not doing no revisionist history. We was hyped with
I didn't buy that shit. I didn't buy that shit, though. I didn't buy that shit. What I will say, when that happened, I think we were at home. Maybe we were there. No, I think we were at home when that happened. But, like, just remember the year where it was like they showed Titanfall, they showed Destiny, like that feeling, like that's what that felt like tonight. Like this felt like
this was like the future, right?
Yeah.
This was games like a little further away. Yeah. This is like the next kind of big.
This
thing
generation's finally getting it together. The PS5, the Xbox Series, like you guys are finally getting it together.
We're nearing the swan like song period of this gen, right?
It's
like,
year 5 next year.
Year 5, you going into year 6? So
PS5 came out in 2020, my boy.
Yeah, because remember the Xbox 360 and PS3 there went way too long. Like it should have never gone that long. How long did PS4?
It was like 10 years.
8.
Yeah, well, PS4 generation is still going because they refused to upgrade.
Yeah. Anyways, those broke boys. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I feel like all the games they showcase except for Elden Ring. Obviously, Elden Ring isn't gonna like graphically push the barrier or be something like insanely that we've never seen before. Like, obviously, it'll be very similar to how we felt with Elden Ring, but like. Witcher 4, I mean, God knows after Cyberpunk that, like, God knows what that's gonna like look like when we actually see it playing. Fun fact about that. Someone told me they were using the unreleased RTX card to
at the bottom of the screen it said
the 50
well,
series
it just said unreleased NVIDIA graphics card.
So I'm like, because they had that relationship since Cyberpunk. Like, NVIDIA been low-key fighting them shits be like, hey, bro,
don't get too excited about that graphics card. Next year, them tariffs coming.
Never mind, I'm not excited. Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to run Witcher.
That bitch gonna run over $9,000 for that damn graphics card.
They're making up 4090 for less than like $12 million.
So, yeah, I mean, like the Naughty Dog game looks really good visually. Like, it looks definitely like some next step forward. But I mean, Last of Us 2 looked really good too. Witcher probably gonna look fantastic. What was the other games they show? I'm trying to think all the
Naughty Dog games probably gonna look good.
Yeah, Naughty Dog games gonna look good.
The Capcom games are probably gonna look pretty freaking good. Like Wilds is looking great.
They're actually trying to push these systems, man, leaving the PS4 players behind.
I feel like tonight or that night just showed two things. One, the Go Woke Go Broke crowd. The industry's not listening to you. There were so many women protagonists that entire night, like they almost lost their minds. And two, anyone that tells you that modern gaming is boring and there's nothing good coming out, there's no good games, they don't know what they're talking about. They're either not playing good games.
Don't listen to them.
Don't listen to them, bro. Do not let these people. I'm telling you, the amount of people in the comments of my last video where I'm just like, I felt sorry for them. I wasn't even upset. It's just like I feel sorry for a lot of them. Where it's just like them just posting comments on like, gaming sucks now. I play retro games. There's nothing good to play anymore. I'm sitting there like, have we been like playing the same are we in the same reality? Like
that's why they think Astrobot is a sham. They didn't play it.
Do you just play Call of Duty every year? Like, what's going on here? Like, what's happening? Like,
it genuinely is really sad that you can't see these announcements and go, "Oh, a new Witcher! Oh, a new," like, you know, being excited about.
Why are you even watching?
Like, you're hate watching. You're literally hate.
You
watching.
are hate watching. Yeah.
You are the source of your own fucking misery.
Yeah, you're being miserable, bro.
If you hate the industry, go find a new hobby. Pickleball's popping right now. Go play pickleball, bro. Get out of here.
That's crazy because my friend is actually playing pickleball.
More and more
He
people
got off
yeah,
of
playing it
Rivals
now.
yesterday. He said, I gotta go play pickleball. I gotta go beat up these old people.
Yeah, that shit is tennis for unathletic people.
I'm gonna tell him that next time.
So yeah, that was the Game Awards. Other news we got for you, GTA 6 related stuff. This one kind of made the rounds. On the Kind of Funny podcast, Jason Schreider, which is a renowned reporter, he was basically saying that he's got some inside info that GTA 6 might not even come out in 2025. It might get pushed to 2026, which is interesting for two reasons. A, that's going to make a lot of people upset because people are looking forward to the game. If it turns out to be true, it's all hypothetical. But also, there's another report that came out. There's word around the industry that publishers are afraid to commit to a release date in 2025 because GTA 6 still does not have a definitive release date. Which I think
that's why they're all committing to February and March.
I think there's truth to that because when I did my list of games I'm most anticipated for, like more than half those games didn't have a release date, and I'm like, we're almost in January already. So I think a lot of people are waiting to see what GTA 6 does, because if you come out the same month as GTA 6, you're going to get bodied. It doesn't matter what game it is. It's a game that speaks to a lot of different demographics, and people want to make sure that they can maximize their sales. First of all, how are we feeling about the potential of it being delayed, Jay? And then we could talk about, are people afraid? What you think?
I mean, definitely sounds believable. I mean, you already delayed the game because somebody leaked all the early footage. So I would not be surprised in any form or fashion if this gets pushed back to 2026. Am I going to be upset? Absolutely not, because I will have a ton of games to play. Because again, I am a real gamer. I am looking for GTA 6 as my only game to play for another 10 years. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. So I can wait however long that it needs to be. So Jason Schreier, he could be, hit or miss with his news. But even if he didn't say it, and other rumors came out from other, or reputable sources, then I would still put some credence to this. I think it probably is more true than not true.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm just gonna go ahead and bring up this. Y'all won't be able to see it, but they'll be able to see it in the podcast. If GTA 6 gets delayed, I won't care. You know why? Because in 2025, we got the new Doom, AC Shadows, Ghosts of Yote, potentially the new Gears of War, Mafia: The Old Country, Skate, 2XKO, Fatal Fury, Exodus, which is that new space game made by some former Mass Effect devs, Pirate Yakuza, Monster Hunter Wilds. I mean, I could keep going. It's the new Pokemon, Fable, Judas, Dune Awakening, Avowed, South by Midnight, Wu-Chang, Mecha Breaker. It's too many goddamn games, bro.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
I didn't even read the whole list, by the way. I didn't even read. That was like half the games. I'm just giving y'all the idea. If GTA 6 doesn't come out and you're really into games, you will be okay.
2025 is like another year for me where I'm like, these are like all my favorite things coming out. And not just things that I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have fun with it. These are going to be like some of my favorite games ever.
Ethos, you're a game dev. Would you move your game to the side if Grand Theft Auto 6 was released?
Yes. I want to go near that game. I want to go 2 months near that game, bro. Like, it's just like Elden Ring. Remember when people were like scared of Elden Ring when they were like, this shit's dropping, everybody get out of the way, or when the DLC got announced, it was like, when are you dropping this? Because I remember, what was it, Final Fantasy? He was like, we're gonna push our DLC forward because we know y'all want to play this and we aren't about to interrupt that. A lot of people just, there's certain juggernauts where it's just like, if you see that motherfucker coming, like Call of Duty or the rest of them, you get the fuck out of the way. You do not touch that window. Whatever they pick, you move around them or figure it out. Else, you most of the time you end up DOAing your game.
Don't be ashamed. I mean, it happens in the music industry too. You see those juggernauts and you're like, no, I'm gonna push my release date back. Go ahead.
You hear rumors of it, you pick a different month. My guess, I think this is gonna be true. I'd be shocked if this comes out holiday next year. I'd really be shocked. Like they say September 2025. I'd say that's getting delayed. There's no way. they just haven't shown enough. Like we haven't even got like a gameplay overview of this game yet. I don't feel like there's enough marketing. They don't need a lot of marketing time, but I feel like the longer they make people wait for it, the more people are going to want to give money. And on top of that, I'm not really excited for it because I know they're going to hoe us. They're going to make me buy this on my bum ass PS5, which I'm not going to want to do because the best version is going to be on PC. So I might just say, no, I'm going to wait just like I did last time with Red Dead. So, I don't know. I might wait because I've already heard rumors that this shit's not going to run at 60 FPS on PS5 and Xbox. I heard like it's going to be that crazy. Like it won't be able to handle it. If that's true, my guess, just a guess, either it's going to happen February of 2026 or September of 2026. That's going to be my guess. One of those 2 months. That's when it drops. That'll be my bet. My parlay. I'm locking it in.
How you feeling about it, Watts?
Like you guys already said, I don't want it to come out next year. Then WoW's can win Game of the Year, and we can have like really, really amazing games at the Game Awards for Game of the Year. There's going to be so many. Next year is crazy. I think it is pretty likely it's getting delayed because, like I said, we haven't seen any extended gameplay. They haven't set a date for it, and we're almost in January. And it's not like they're avoiding anything. They can literally just put a date. So if they're not putting a date out, it makes me think that they're not super confident about a date yet. And I think 2026 makes a lot of sense.
So
I don't even know if I'm going to play it in general, to be honest.
Some people, what? So,
right.
I don't blame her.
Freaking.
I'm not mad at you at all.
Yeah, I've never been a big Grand Theft Auto fan.
I played it when I was a kid. I was in the mafia cars, rocking opera music on the radio. It was cool.
Freaking. I think the next question is if they delay it again, do you think this game can live up to the hype? Do you think you would have that problem?
I don't think that there could be. I mean, it would take a lot for people to not be hyped up about Grand Theft Auto. It's just that big. Like if Grand Theft Auto 5 can get milked for over 10 years and get to again another 2 generational leap, then there's nothing that's going to stop or anybody's hype for GTA 6. They can delay it to 2027. People still be anticipating.
Well, no.
And making up rumor videos.
It's gonna sell regardless, like hotcakes. I'm talking about when it comes out. Will it be able to live up to what people expected? Almost like a Kingdom Hearts 3 situation.
Are you talking about people's expectations?
Yeah, expectations. Yeah. Because like if we want to be real, people have been waiting like 10 years for this game. Like
the normies, I think, are going to be satisfied. Whatever they drop, they're going to act like it's the greatest shit since God's given gift to Earth. I think the more hardcore fans, I feel like there's been this sentiment. I've been testing this sentiment. I had this like hot take about GTA 6, and I've been like testing it in front of people just to see like what's the reaction I get. And it's been like consistent that a lot of people, I haven't heard anyone who's like, you're crazy about it. And I kept saying, I was like, I feel like with GTA 6, and it seems like that Jakey video that he did about Red Dead a year ago, I feel like that kind of like, I've always felt that way about those games, Rockstar games, and to see like someone who was big also pushing that same type of agenda and seeing it being like received positively and not like you're hating on it, they have to change the formula. I think that they've gotten away with murder way too much times with this like very simplistic mission structure with their games, and they've been copy and pasting it too much. Like Red Dead was a really big egregious example of this with Red Dead 2. I think GTA 6 needs to actually, kind of what you said about the Naughty Dog games, it's kind of like Naughty Dog. They need to push the envelope. If they don't push the envelope, the normal, like just the normies, the guys who play 2K and whatever it is, they will act like this is the best game ever created. But if they don't push the envelope somewhere, whether it's the design or where I think it's going to happen, which I think is going to be when they hired the modders for the that role playing stuff that made GTA 5, when if they overhaul their online and they make it into this sort of like living experience metaverse, if they do that, and it's like everything you do in this verse is all going to be connected, and you're going to be living your own life as your second avatar and stuff like that. If that's how they push it, it seems to be why it's taking them so long. Then I think that'll be what pushes it over. If they nail that multiplayer, it'll get Game of the Year. I don't think there's a damn game, even a game that I love. I don't think FromSoftware could make something the greatest, Dark Souls game ever, and I don't even think it could beat GTA. I don't think there's a juggernaut in the world that could beat GTA. It's way too big, it's way too popular, and it's too normal, like normie wise, that people who don't really play video games, that it just has too much good presentation money put into it, so that presentation is over the top, that it just can't lose. It's impossible unless they fuck it up. But no, that doesn't even matter. They fucked up GTA 5 at launch. It didn't even fucking matter. They still said it's the greatest game. One of the greatest games ever.
Oh my god! Don't remind me.
They can fuck the game up and it still won't matter. The game could be broken for a whole month, 2 months, and we'll get mad about it, and they still won't care. They'll still say it's the greatest shit ever. So
yeah.
But that's my take. My take is for me to be happy about it, for me to even consider a game of the year, I gotta see some change in the design. If I don't see it, and they just kind of feels like GTA 5 but better graphics.
It looks better, yeah.
More like
different story.
I'll kind of be like, I've kind of played this game before, and I'll.
And we've had that conversation before too. Yeah, about like what needs to change in this game.
Man, put basketball in there. I'll never get off.
Oh my god! Please, God, don't put basketball in this game.
Yeah, please.
Do not do that.
Put basketball in there. Let's create our avatar. Go 5v5 in the park and shit. That'd be lit, boy. Freaking.
And wasn't they gonna do that in Fortnite? Wasn't that we were all gonna play Fortnite if they had done that?
Yeah. I remember we did hear those rumors.
If Fortnite added, I might download it.
Yeah, Fortnite doing everything, so they may have basketball.
Try to ball. I don't know if it could ever live up to the expectations of what people want or expect it to be. Because like there's also that thing of like open world fatigue. You see a lot of people saying that they have that with a lot of different games. You know, I mean, we talk about it all the time. I'm tired of these 100-hour games. That they just come out and it's got better graphics. It's in Florida, but it's still the same format. Go talk to this NPC, hop in the car, go drive to the other side of town, shoot this guy. I think there will be a portion of people who'll be disappointed. Like as you say, the normies, yeah, I would agree. They're gonna suck it off regardless.
They're gonna love it.
I think it has potential. I think that's why they're delaying it. They need to get it right. They need to find some way to push the boundaries to get people like super excited, gameplay wise at least. But we'll see. We see. We got a couple games that got shut down since the last podcast. Well, this one's still alive, but they're basically sunsetting it. Rocksteady's Suicide Squad. They announced that the last character coming to the game is Slade. And then after that, the season 4 content, basically they'll be sunsetting the game. I think they're shutting down the servers next year. They said they will be keeping the store open, so if you guys want to buy something, you know, you can. And you also will be able to play the game single player, so you'll be able to still purchase the game if you want to run it single player and just enjoy the story. But the online aspect, they are shutting it down. I mean, for obvious different reasons. JG, I know you were a big fan of Rocksteady's Suicide Squad.
I'm a big fan, right?
Big fan. How are you feeling about this announcement of their sunsetting the game?
Man. Whoever's still playing this game, bless your heart. Like I don't understand why they haven't took this game in the back. Like I don't know. Like it has to be Warner Brothers like behind them. Like nah, you're going to finish this one out. Go ahead and do this last season, and then we're done. And then by that time, then maybe we'll have some news on this new Hogwarts or something, because there has to be something else going on in the background. Why this game is still doing seasons? Because it boggles my mind at this point. I don't know if Ethos, you have any insight on this, because this is a weird one. I have no clue.
For what?
Why this game is still going? Why they're on season 4 before they're actually about to be done with it?
Oh, yeah, that's simple. They probably already did all the work for it.
No, yeah.
That's my guess. It's probably they finished the game at a certain point, and you know how it is. You know, they probably already, before the game was out, had other people still making, you know, because that's all you have to do, right? Like so that you don't get screwed where it's like with live service, you have to already, before your game comes out, already have content ready to go. That's why Marvel Rivals is like, season 1, we're going to be dropping 5 more characters, because they already did them ahead of time. Like they already worked on them during the regular development cycle. So that's probably the reason why, is all the content that we're seeing is stuff that they had already budgeted for. They probably already had paid mostly for, and they're just like, oh fuck it, why let it just die? Might as well just push it out into the game. Maybe we get a couple suckers who will like buy it or buy some microtransactions for. We get a little bit of money off, you know, our big loss, and then we just, you know, let it die. So wherever they need it, if they were done, is they don't have anything else after that. That's after
I don't think any amount of people that would still go play this game would equal what they lost, though.
No. Imagine a world where the game actually wasn't shat on. Like imagine like how hyped that would have been, though, to have like.
I mean, yeah.
Say Slade.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, yeah. Playing Death Row would be crazy. So I don't.
I don't think the game, even though the YouTubers had a hit piece out for it, I don't think the game would have succeeded regardless. The gameplay loop was boring.
I'm saying in the world state, if the game actually ended up being really good.
Ah, okay.
Just imagine we were sitting here and be like, yo, did you hear they're gonna add you play Slave? And like that any other type of case, I'd have been like, oh shit, that's awesome.
Jokes coming.
Yeah, ooh, and now it's like
what I don't like about this announcement is it says to me they still don't get it, man. Nobody. I think this game would have succeeded if it would have just been a single player co-op action adventure game that was story driven, great story beats that you can play with your friends. When they made it an online live service game, it created a boring gameplay loop where you just defend the computer from purple monsters. Some are big, some are small, but you were doing the same thing. Oh, and 13 brainiacs. Who wants to 100%. Do that? Yeah,
like
they should have just
the
made
writing was actually pretty fun.
It had its moments. It had its moments.
Yeah, like the facial, all of the face stuff. The animation was really good. The story was like, it was okay, but yeah, some of the writing was pretty fun. And yeah, I think, but you know, they're focusing on making it live service, so a lot of that content is put to come into the game later. But if they just had it be like you said, like a co-op single player game, I think it could have been a lot better.
And if it was co-op, then they could have focused on not making it an actual, like every character had shooters. They could have made it to, or had guns. They could have made it to where the characters had different abilities that complement one another, like Marvel Rivals. That would have been a lot more fun, kind of like a prime detonating system like in BioWare games. And then also what I mean when I say they still don't get it with this announcement of sunsetting it, they said that they're shutting down the online server so you can't play online, but hey, we're gonna leave the store open, and just in case you guys want to buy something. The game fucking sucks. Okay, just announce you are shutting it down, and everything in the store, all the skins, you're making it as an apology for all 10 people still playing. You can have the skins for free, because they said they're gonna leave it online if you want to play the story, but like you're still trying to charge people. You still don't get it.
The server down. Can I still play the game?
Yeah, you'll be able to play it single player.
Like, what if I want to co-op with my friends? Can I invite like you and play it with you, or no?
That I don't know. That I don't.
I'm probably gonna say no.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So like, yeah, if you want to pick it up for $5-10 on Steam, on a Steam sale, you'd be able to play a single player.
It was given away for free. If you
it was like $1.
Amazon Prime, it was free, and it was $3 on the Steam sale.
If you really wanted it and you don't have it now, you missed out on it, but maybe it'll come back around.
Maybe we'll play it like the week before the game closes. Maybe I'll play it.
I think that would have been like some good PR for them. Be like, hey, all the skins are free. They'd be like, you guys are like, you guys want to buy it? No, we don't want to buy this shit. That's why it failed. Another non-surpriser in my opinion is, since the last podcast, xDefiant shut down. Their servers are getting sunset as well. It's starting now. Nobody can register new for the game, so the only people who can play are people who already had accounts. But June 3rd, 2025, the servers will be 100% shut down. This comes in the midst of all the Ubisoft drama going on. They're having issues with money. It's also crazy too, because a rumor came out like a month ago. They said that the game might shut down if they don't get it together by the end of season 3. And then Mark Rubin, the main director of the game, came out and said those rumors are not true, but here we are, and it turns out they are. Ethos, why do you think this game fell apart, man? Big xDefiant.
Come on, dog. Why you go?
I gotta get.
Watch. Why do you think this game?
Watch don't play competitive first-person shooters.
I know.
I played xDefiant.
Oh,
okay. I played it. So I enjoyed my initial playing of it, which I think was the beta, and then I played it a little bit when it came out. And I was like, I was having a good time, shoot stuff, it's cool. But the thing is like, there's nothing that keeps me there playing it, right? There's no reason for me to go, I'm gonna load up xDefiant over loading up any other game. So I don't know why other people maybe don't want to keep playing it, but for me, there was just nothing that really kept me there. It was like, yeah, it was fun to hop on and play a little bit in the beginning, but
wait, watch. You're telling me
the
no skill-based matchmaking didn't make you want to keep coming back?
I didn't want to keep coming back. I liked it though. It was fun. I liked the no skill-based matchmaking.
I'm being facetious.
I liked that part.
It's a placebo effect. I don't think it's actually real.
Freaking, I'll tell you why it failed. Battle Pass was terrible. No anti-cheat. They never did nothing about the hackers. The lack of content. And also just wasn't enough unique about the game to make it stand out long term. It just felt like a half-baked idea. Oh yeah, the hit registration was terrible too. That was actually the main issue. It's a shooting game and the shooting didn't work. So why would I play it?
It's a tough game. Them servers suck. They always suck.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. Are you feeling sad about this, Jay? You look pretty sad.
No. I'm not. Well, actually, no. I take that back. I am sad because I like competition always, and until Battlefield comes back and gives Call of Duty a run for its money, which Black Ops was actually pretty good this year. The way it's gonna just be Call of Duty every single year. Like we need competition, so I need something else to come and fill my my FPS itch, and unfortunately I had to go back to Black Ops for that, and I'm not mad at it, but still, like it sucks, when we can't get proper competition there. And it was a different type of game. Like they didn't really have a TDM, like it was all objective based modes, but yeah, it was too many little issues. It ended up becoming big issues. I actually asked a question on Twitter too. I was like, what went wrong? Like for all the people who were still playing, what went wrong? Somebody said no Steam access. People are still like, they do not want to go on Uplay. Like people are like, if your game is not on Steam, I'm not playing that shit. So I'm starting
to feel more
weird.
like that, to be honest.
To be fair, at what point are they going to listen? When are they going to listen?
I'm getting more like that because, okay, so they all, Epic, Ubisoft, all of them want to have pop-ups constantly. And like you have to actively go into it and turn it off and make it in order for it to not do that. Steam doesn't do that.
The overlay you're saying?
Yeah,
like
it's just and like the launcher does suck. It doesn't have a lot of features.
It's not
that I'm not going, like if a game that I really want to play is coming out on Epic only, like I'm going to re-download the Epic Store and play it. But I understand why people are like, oh god, it's on that. Especially the Ubisoft one. Ubisoft one, just in general.
Yeah, Uplay is it's one of the worst. I would
Uplay is not great.
Oh, yeah, but it's like I don't know. I never bother me, to be honest. I get it.
I understand why people will be like, "Oh God, why?"
Yeah. So the person said they changed line progression levels after the entire community had already put in hundreds of hours of grinding and released a completely broken game. So again, this is stuff that I wasn't aware of. They said no one who actually played the betas expected the game to come out until mid 2025. This person said they released the game way too early. Somebody else said netcode issues, getting shot and dying after you turn the corner was common. That goes back to TBH's point. Cheaters using wall hacks and aimbots, all before it's crossplay, so console players got destroyed by PC players. I could go on and on. I don't know. Somebody else said the battle pass. The battle pass was ass. We looked at that battle pass. We said, "What the hell is this?" Like that. I don't know what the hell happened. So I agree with that. Somebody said, "No, search and destroy at launch. Terrible classes that made the game unbalanced." Yeah, the classes were
no assassins.
No what game mode?
Oh no, search and destroy at launch.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
No search and destroy. Yeah. So that that's a sentiment from people who actually play it. So I was like, okay, I understand now. I understand, better why what went wrong in this game. So
no assassins in a Ubisoft game. I stand on that. Also, I don't agree with that person said on your tweet. They said delay it till 2025. If it was gonna succeed, it should have been this year, 2025. That shit would have got bodied with all them games coming out.
I mean, but maybe this person is a 1 to 2 game player. Like I like to point these people out. I'm like, what games are you actually interested in? What game do you see yourself playing? It may be a live service person who just plays 1 to 2 games and they're hardcore and knows, but they don't play anything else. So maybe xDefiant was the only thing that this person played. So they didn't know any better because they're like, I'm ignoring everything else that's coming out 2025. I don't know these games. These games don't exist to me. So it could be one of those. I'm not going to fault them.
And then the Call of Duty killer itself, Call of Duty showed up and then just shot it in the back just to finish.
Big Black Ops shit came through.
Yeah.
It didn't even need to. That's a crazy thing. Black Ops didn't even have to come out. I think the game still would have failed.
I just hate that they had to slide on them like that. Like that was crazy. Like you didn't have to slide on them like that, bro. Like this was just crazy. If you think about the past 2 Call of Duties, like how they like marketed them. And then when Microsoft got it, you remember how they laid it out, like they were just like, yo, we're going to go deep dive. We're going to show you this multiplayer. We're going to show you this campaign and we're going to show you this whole thing. I'm sitting there. I'm like, bro, this actually look kind of good, bro. What y'all doing? And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, xDefiant's about to die. Like it's not going to survive a year after I saw the positive sentiment from Black Ops 6 is like,
no skill-based matchmaking is not a selling point. I hope that's the lesson game devs can take away from this. Okay.
It helps. Don't get me wrong. It gets people to like, it's a good headline, but the content and the actual mechanics of the game is what's going to keep you.
Should I hire
it's not sustainable just saying it. Yeah.
Also, I want to say I've always been Mark Rubin's biggest hater. So, because he made Ghost, and I said, what did I say, TBH? What did I say when he got announced as the creative? What did I say
The
on
game
this
was
podcast?
gonna die. That's crazy.
I said the game was gonna die, and I said because he made the worst Call of Duty, and why Ubisoft would give him the keys to make a new franchise based on Call of Duty is worse. They should have called the bald man himself, Vandahar, and told him, Vandahar, we need you to make a Call of Duty killer. That's probably the only dude left. But probably after he got death threated out, I'm pretty sure he never wants to touch a video game again. But that's probably the only like OG head from like the old Call of Duty days that could develop some sort of Call of Duty killer, or at least like get the hype because people believe in Vandahar.
I genuinely believe if it would have had a halfway decent battle pass with some cool skins to buy, that would have held some people on, because once people invest money, then that sunken cost fallacy kicks in. Oh, I don't want to give up too soon. I'll wait a little bit longer. Because, I mean, look at like Marvel Rivals. I mean, you said it yourself. The game's been out for a week. You hopped on. You said day one, I bought skins. You're locked in. Like, you're not going to give up the game as easily as compared to somebody. But if you have a group of people playing a free-to-play game where they spent no money, they're not tied to it. They're going to give it up much easier.
You ain't got no will. Your economy's gonna come.
Exactly. No, I fully agree with that. Like Ethos hit the nail on the head with that video. I'm like, yeah, you spent too much money. You're invested into this game now at this point. So I understand, bro. You spending thousands upon thousands of dollars like over a 5-10 year span. Hell yeah, you're not gonna easily just give that game up. You're gonna keep playing until it dies.
They had them AI art skins in that damn game. I was like, bro, if you'll get that shit out of here.
I was in xDefiant.
xDefiant, yeah. All them skins.
AI?
No, I'm not saying they did. I'm saying they looked like it. All the skins.
Like it is almost just as bad.
That's almost bad.
Like,
who
it
knows?
looks so bad.
It looked like somebody took
like,
them.
Bro, I was about to cook them, bro.
All them skins look like they took a handful of Starburst or Skittles and put it in their mouth and then spit it out. It just colors all over the characters. I'm like, what is this shit, bro? Versus like that. Well, when I saw that Black Panther skin with the fucking fur, I was like, oh my god, how much is that, bro? I was like, yeah, artist drew that shit. That's fire.
And then you know that you can tell about Marvel Rivals cares is like, it's crazy to me that like, for every skin and for every character, when you click on them, like there's an entire animation. You never see that animation anywhere else in the game. It's just there to showcase the skin. That's all it's there for. I was like, that shows it's like, yeah, they know this is what's going to get people to buy money. When you see that, it just immediately like, it makes your brain, makes the light turn on, like neurons activated. I got to buy this. It makes you want to buy it. They understood that. Like we said, it's pleasing to the eye. Like the designs are pleasing to the eye. It's visually.
The art's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a very pleasing game. xDefiant, like you said, what in there? That was my problem with it. Art design wise, art direction wise, what was pleasing looking at that game? Nothing. What was it?
And
it's the same thing that you had about Concord. There's nothing pleasing to look at.
And the worst part is that word around town is Ubisoft is looking for somebody to buy them out and save them, and the top contender right now is Tencent. But the talks have stalled because apparently the Gamot family, the ones who created Ubisoft, do not want to relinquish control. I repeat, they want to sell the company, but they still want to be the boss. The company they drove into the ground.
Time to go, big dog.
Just not to Tencent, bro. Tencent is going to own. They're going to own the world and rule it in a minute. That we got to stop. Please stop letting them get more stake, because they just bought another studio like a couple weeks ago, which I reported on. They're still going, bro. Tencent literally trying to get stake in every single company that they can. It's about to be ridiculous. Like I said, people really need to take a good look at their IPs and
if they
stop
had to
them.
go, what company would you prefer? Take some.
Microsoft.
No, please no.
That's better than Tencent.
So they can fire all of them again? No, bro.
I mean, it's a
I don't think they need to be fired.
I mean, yeah, it's a very limited amount of options. I don't know. It's like the worst of 2-3 evils. Like, I don't know, because you're just really looking at the big three.
What would
you get a lot of IPs if you get Ubisoft. Like you get a ton
Apple
of
could
IPs.
buy them maybe, because I thought Apple was like kind of semi-interested.
It doesn't matter who buys them. They're going to clean house. This always happens when a buyout happens. My concern, I don't want Tencent to do it, because if you think them nickel and diming is bad now, if Tencent gets a hold of Ubisoft games, I predict they will do nothing to push boundaries or fix the company. Instead, they're going to abuse the IP's names, so long as they got they're worth they have some type of hype behind them, and they're just going to put microtransactions all in them, like Assassin's Creed microtransactions. It's coming, baby. That's what I think would happen. I think Microsoft would be the lesser of the two evils.
Is Tencent behind Marvel Rivals, or is that like
that's NetEase?
That's NetEase.
So they're two separate entities.
From my understanding, yeah.
They're the two big Chinese companies that own everything.
I'm about to say we gotta take a look at them too, but Tencent, I believe, is bigger. They almost taking more.
man.
Tencent owns Riot, so that's
know.
pretty.
And Epic.
And Epic.
Yeah, they have a part of Epic too. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who to give it to.
I say, bro, we had none of them. I wish they would have to be.
I'd say maybe Sony, but I don't know if Sony. Maybe Nintendo can take them.
Nintendo.
I mean, they do have their relationship.
They got money.
Yeah, they do have their
Rabbids.
relationship. What they want to buy them is the question.
No, but I mean,
They might want their IPs. Like,
Maybe
legit.
they
I'm not
want
gonna
Mario
lie.
Rabbids.
A
When they
world,
want
You get
a
a lot of
world where Assassin's Creed is exclusive to the Switch might piss me off. I don't want to play that shit at 15. Well, we don't know because the Switch 2 might be good. Because I saw some rumors. I didn't put it on the notes, but there's rumors going around on Reddit. Somebody has one in the wild, and they're claiming it can do 4K 30 FPS. So it might be more powerful than we thought.
Nintendo also has a relationship with Microsoft, so you know they've been friendly. When Sony has been on the side, not wanting to do any crossplay with anybody. So if that did happen, there still will be a possibility they could come on PC.
If Nintendo's got good hardware up their sleeve, then sure. But like, if it's like the Nintendo Switch where it's undercooked, like I don't want to play Assassin's Creed with no anti-aliasing at 15 frames.
Nintendo's your favorite game. Don't forget that.
Yeah, they did say Bayonetta. You're right. But Bayonetta 3 was ass. So at what cost? You know,
But 2 was good.
it was. But 3 wasn't. It's a 50% batting average. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, those Splatoon with the Rabbids, that could work. You know, put the assassins on back.
I
on
never
track.
gave a fuck about Splatoon, and I never will.
Would you rather want Nintendo to get it, or would you rather want Tencent to get it and they make the microtransactions?
Yeah, I would have wanted to go to Nintendo over Tencent if that's the two. Oh yeah, I would definitely.
Anybody over Tencent, in my opinion. That's just me.
I don't know who else fits the mold.
I don't
Valve,
know.
I don't think it has the money to. I would say Valve, I don't think even has the money to buy them. I don't know
That's an interesting verbiage, a different interesting phrase you just used there. Fits the mold. That actually segues perfectly into my next article here. Let's talk about something about what fits the mold of today's gamers. Like, what's actually a gamer?
no.
Because I got an
Here we
article
go.
for you.
You about to cook? Go ahead.
So-
yo.
Go ahead.
A few podcasts ago, we showed an article about how 60% of gamers these days play games that are 6 years or older, meaning only 40% of gamers actually play games that get nominated for Game of the Year. And of that 40%, I think only like 10 or 20% actually are beating the game. So most of you guys are not playing games. And I thought that was interesting data. We got another article that actually backs up that argument. And in the article, it says, new report claims gamers spend more time watching video games than actually playing them. That's according to a new report by Media Research, which concluded that gamers typically spend 7.4 hours a week gaming and 8.5 hours a week watching game-related videos.
It's close.
The research, which Media claims highlights the untapped potential for game publishers to bring video content inside their ecosystems, also claims that 24% of console PC players and 48% of in-game buyers watch game-related content at least monthly, with the latter considered high-spending gamers. This means revenue is left on the table. According to the report's author, with game publishers ceding significant revenue opportunities, especially advertising, to third-party video platforms, and even the games market faces growth challenges. This is also a really interesting thing about the article, right? Because what I got out of this article is half of y'all are fucking frauds, but what they got out of this research is, oh, this means we can put more ads in our games because they like watching shit. What?
Stop it.
No, you want to make it worse?
Go ahead, go for it.
Whatever. I was a publisher, what I would take away from this is what we need to do is we need to buy out and invest in streamers and own them and have them just stream our games exclusively.
Only stream those games.
I'd argue
yeah.
that's been happening.
Yeah, but at a point where
Maybe
it's like,
behind the table. Yeah.
but I mean it as like this
Full
person
blown.
that we have is just like they are like
This is the Bandai.
like Ubisoft.
streamer.
Yeah, like hey, I'm streaming on Ubisoft and I'm blah 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 and I play all the Assassin's Creed games and they just sit there every day. They're just playing through their games, and it's just a marathon, like TV, just watching somebody.
I think the reason that would be hard to work is because you have to disclose when you have some type of sponsorship. So when you do like a one-off sponsorship, people are gonna fuck with it because they fuck with you. Like, oh, we're happy for you. You got a sponsorship and da 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 da. But if you sign on full-time exclusively to stream only Ubisoft games, I think you relinquish that kind of parasocial relationship you have with the audience.
Oh,
now
no,
you're
I'm
just
not
an
talking about a
entity of the
relationship.
company.
Yeah. I'm saying remove the separation. Just hire someone or just buy them out and say, hey,
Like it doesn't even have to be anybody who's already popular. Like it could be like starting from ground zero. Hey, this is our Ubisoft streamer.
This
stream
is
and
our
they're only going to
Ubisoft
play
channel.
this game.
Yeah.
You think they would do
Ubisoft.
that? Like they
Yeah,
pay
you
somebody to
can
be their
stream.
face, and then they also advertise their channel and stuff, like build them up.
Yeah.
Almost like signing a record deal or some shit.
Yeah, or just say
Yeah.
like just hire an employee and say your job is to stream. Oh my god. And they work at Ubisoft and they just stream every day all the games that are in their catalog. They already semi do this. Yeah, they already do this semi. So like imagine like, you know, they already do this already like when there's like beta stuff, you know, as a way to engage the community. Oh, we'll play online with you with the developers. But this is just like a person just 365, their job is to play the catalog, make content and let it hit the YouTube stream, and then, you know, maybe add a little sweet kickbacks like, you know, this person gets like, you know, they're streaming the game a day before, they're playing like the first hour.
They'll have
I had the first hour.
exclusive Twitch drops
Yeah.
where it's
Yeah.
only that
Only
channel.
Just remember how when Valor and the rest of them were they're doing their betas, remember how insane it was to get access, which
Twitch
was like
drops are insane.
Twitch chops, and you have to be in their streams and you have to watch it for a certain amount of time, and then maybe you get a key.
My question
That's
is,
like version 1 of that.
who could, like, I feel like only Satan's strongest soldiers would be able to handle that. Like, imagine, I get you're getting paid, but how much are we talking? Because like, imagine having to stream Assassin's Creed all day.
Are you gonna sit here while we literally know people who literally said they lost their minds because they stuck to one sort of thing, one game, and they could never branch out of it, and it made them lose their mind and their channel died because of it?
The ethos.
Remember that?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Like, imagine
You know
having
the
to.
Assassin's Creed channel.
But imagine.
Yeah.
I guess I'm looking at it from my standpoint. I couldn't do it, bro. Just
I know
all
you
that
couldn't do it
shit
either.
all over the screen
I can't
on
do it.
Ubisoft game.
TBH, walk with me. You got to understand, there are strong-willed individuals who just, you already said there's people that play games and they just turn their brain off. They're not really comprehending what
I don't think that means you have a strong will. Walking away is strong will.
Well, it does, because I can't do that. I couldn't do that for a period of time. You can just find people who, if you got somebody off the street and you said, hey, instead of you working at McDonald's, bro, what if I told you already see the commercials talking about what if you could get paid to test video games? You know that's like a scam. Like, you know how many people are just like, oh, I would pay to test a video game for free. A lot of people do that. Like that a company would pay people for. They would do it for free. You're telling me you can't find some bum off the street that's like, I'm a small up-and-coming YouTuber or something like that, and Ubisoft, my favorite developer and publisher, one of my favorite games, is offering me a
There would definitely be
full-time
people
job?
that say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can find like probably
It probably wouldn't
hundreds of
be
people.
established people that are chilling. Wouldn't be like,
Now, you're not gonna find like Dr. Lupo or you know, someone who's huge to do this, but someone who is like 100 views, maybe consistently averaging. They maybe have a little bit of money, and Ubisoft's like, we'll give you triple the amount of money that you make right now off of Twitch.
It'll be an industry plant. We'll be calling them an industry plant.
Industry plant. Oh,
yeah.
How many people
like
jumped
the
to Mixer?
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about people jumped to Mixer because they were offered a little bit of money. Or whatever the fuck that other site was.
Facebook
gaming. Oh, dang a little money in front of them. They all, I'll jump over.
It's just gonna further reinforce what we be talking about on this show. You got to watch who you watching now. I'd argue that's a thing now because people got agendas. As long as they're publicly disclosing it, hey, you are an entity of the company, then whatever, I guess. But
yeah, they would legally have to do that.
I just wanted to. Why you take the conversation there? I just wanted to call people frauds, bro. I just wanted to let people know y'all ain't playing no games. I said, you know what? I read the article. I said, you're right. That makes sense. Why when I ask for help, nobody seems to know.
Well, this also makes sense as to why, like, when you stream a game day one, there's someone being in there like, oh, you do this, you do this, you do this, and it's like because you watched like a video about that. You haven't done it. You haven't played the game yourself, and that's how you're knowledgeable. Because, like you said, when you ask a really specific thing, that's like everyone will be quiet.
That's also why. And the couple times I've had debates with people about certain games, I've noticed that pattern too, where it's like, I remember this specifically with when I had a debate with The Last of Us thing. I did notice that there were people like in my chat that were saying this, like that were like, that like said they hated Last of Us 2. And at the same token, these people admitted outright they did not play the game. They watched somebody play Last of Us 2 and said they came away and
I just knew I'd hate it by watching
and
it.
even I said, like, I played Last of Us 2 and I was like, hold on. I was like, okay, hold on. We're losing the plot here, guys. Because, like, I get you could dislike something, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's crazy for you to go out there and be like, this game is trash. And then for you to be like, did you play it though? No, I watched so-and-so played the game. I was like, there's so many variables of that. Like, how do you know how do you know game feel? How do you know, like, if the game has different choices? How would you know that? How would you know how the gameplay's trash?
Also, here's one for you, Ethos, too. Not to toot our own horns, but I genuinely feel like in terms of like a gaming group, we are better than a lot of content creators, like besides like maybe those like pro level players that like retired. From watching a lot of content creators, a lot of streamers and YouTubers fucking suck at games, dude. So like if you go and watch them, like, yeah, the game's gonna look like ass because it's not the correct person representing them. They're not even learning the mechanics. They hop on Marvel Rivals, don't even read the kits.
You will see that a lot where if you watch a sponsored stream for like a game, you will see that the content creators, whoever it is, they normally do not show off the game very well because they don't read the stuff that's sent beforehand that like tells them important information, and they don't read the tutorials. So they're showing off the game and it's like, this person's not using like a whole important mechanic.
Think about it. Think about Mass Effect, Ethos. How many people play Soldier Class?
Don't even. Please don't remind me.
When I played that game on stream, the remaster, they was like, you could do that? What? It's like, yo, you guys are like 15 years. How did you play? I played Soldier. I had the pistol.
That in Metaphor, you know how you can like you can lock the camera onto an enemy, so you like
left and right
dart to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They didn't know that.
Yep. There's a lot of things.
Basic camera lock on features is crazy to me.
My favorite are the streamers that they start the game and they don't want to listen to the blabbing, so they skip the tutorial segments and they close those windows, and then 5 minutes in they start complaining about why they can't do.
Oh my god!
I ain't gonna lie, man. Somebody, y'all be doing
that. I'm saying there might be some people in GI that do that.
Yeah, who do that? Hypothetically speaking,
one thing to tutorials. It's another thing to be like, this game is trash because of this, because you didn't understand.
I'm just saying, there's definitely some people in GI that would be like, yo,
I can admit I've done that. But the difference is you can't sit up here and lie. By the time I reach the midway or even the end of the game, I'm always good at every game that I play. Like, I can pick it up. So like that don't even fucking count. But it be people out here that don't learn the game at all. They be at the end of the game. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. I caught you on somebody's stream helping them with their Veilguard build at the end of the game. How you 60 hours in the game and you didn't know how to build an RPG kit? I saw it. Ethos was helping them.
First of all,
you should put it on this stat.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count because they're relatively new to those types of games. Come on now, they're a newbie to those. They're expanding the horizon. We gotta give them a little bit of slack.
Yeah, all right. Now I am going to give them slack. But imagine the people who play games for a fucking living and they do that shit.
It would be insane if I went and watched the stream and Watts was like, yo, how do I build my Path of Exile? I wouldn't believe it. I would be like, there's no way. That would make no sense, right? There are people that are like Watts who say they play all these games. Not saying Watts is one of them, because Watts definitely knows her shit. I'm saying there's people who are like Watts who are like, oh, I know all this, I play all this stuff and that. And they don't know what the fuck they're doing, or they're literally like not following the mechanics of the game. It's fucking insane. Okay, look, those are the biggest frauds out there. I'm not one of them. I just don't play my games. That's different. These are people who are playing the game. Oh yeah, beat.
I'm not playing it and watching the games and going into like conversations online, being very opinionated.
That's always my stance too. I just don't understand why they're so opinionated. Like, it's okay to sit it out.
Yeah.
Why can't you just say, like I always say too? I'll be like, here's my little take about this game, but I'm telling you, disclaimer, I have not played this game, but this is what I've seen from just this small thing. Why can't you do that? Why can't you just be like, hey, I could be wrong about this thing, but this is just my perception of what I've seen from this thing. I don't understand why people gotta go like. It just blows my mind that some people, like what you said, Watts, will go so gung-ho about an opinion. And the thing I hate the most is when you know it's a take that they've taken off of another YouTuber or another content creator. That's the most annoying shit. When, like, you know, someone's hating about or mad about something, and you're like, I heard this take like 5 times this week. Like 5 different people have said the same take by word. Oh my god. When Dragon Age came out, if I had $1 every time I heard the word thing. Oh my, yes, when I heard the word Marvel or HR, every time I saw the word HR, I was like, you're not a fucking...
The writing sounds like there was someone from HR sitting...
No disrespect to Skill Up. He's more
No, it's not his fault.
It's not his fault.
That was his opinion.
That's his opinion. Their opinion. People quote that and say that as if it was their opinion in my chat when I was playing the game. I was like, bro, I'm so sick of y'all, bro. I'm so.
It's
I'm
always
about
the
to start
sheep who
banning
don't
y'all,
think
bro.
they're sheep, bro. You guys are literally the
They're
sardines from
fucking
fucking
sheep.
SpongeBob. Meat.
Fucking annoying.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a little fun statistic. A lot of y'all, I mean, you don't have to, acknowledge it. You don't have to admit it in the comment section. We got the data on you. We're gonna continue to find more data. I think Marvel Rivals also proves that data. That article I read on the podcast one time about how like a lot of gamers don't like to think and strategize in games, because I see a lot of Captain Americas just running in head first with the shield out. You got the most you got one of the fastest characters in the game, most mobility. You don't even flank. It's crazy.
That's why stealth games don't sell.
Because it's a thinking man's genre.
I'm just saying.
This podcast is getting a little longer in the tooth, but I got a couple more topics for y'all before we wrap this one up. We're gonna make this real quick. Social justice warrior section of the podcast. Since I was a kid, gaming has been blamed for violence. In the latest edition of games being blamed for violence, I want to get our social justice warrior specialist here, JG's take on this. And this one, gaming wasn't blamed for the violence, but it was definitely insinuated. So for those of you who don't live in the States, there's a master assassin not named Ezio or Cassandra he's not in the loose, he got captured, who assassinated the CEO of United Healthcare. And they've been looking into his background ever since he was arrested, and it turns out he was an Among Us player. So now they're trying to insinuate in articles because he played Among Us, which is a game about finding serial killers. Maybe that inspired him.
Apparently, he was playing as an assassin in the game Among Us.
How's that make you feel, Jay?
Oh man, here we go again. I'm like, they're trying. I'm like, come on, man, please stop mentioning video game. But people were very, very like mad, but also like just laughing because they're like, this article really NBC News. Like, we can tell y'all aren't gamers because they an Ivy League gamers who play assassins, but then they mentioned Among Us. They were like, what? Really? That's not an assassin game.
I thought he was named Manhunt, GTA, the typical, the usuals, but Among Us.
Yeah, exactly. That's what everybody found, just utterly hilarious. But I'm like, I just don't want this to gain legs because, like I said, and it happens a lot around election time too. But there's always some random governor, some random representative who's like, oh man, I'm blaming video games for this, that, and the third. I would say the last one, which again wasn't a bad thing, it wasn't violence, but remember the whole loot boxes thing. That was a big thing. Which I mean, honestly, that one was kind of needed, but I'll take that one. Blaming video game for gambling, I'll take that one. But the violence thing, I was like, we got to stop. I just hate that this keeps getting brought up and just say, oh, because a person play video games that the video games are altering their reality and it's telling them to go in and commit some crimes or something. Because Grand Theft Auto was one of those franchises that got blamed for years upon years upon years. Mortal Kombat, when it first came out, all the blood and stuff. So I'm like, I just don't want this to continue to be a recurring theme, but unfortunately, here we go again. So I'm hoping that no government representative, takes this, because obviously this is a hot topic, and decides to once again blame video games and tries to get enforced bans in our country. Because I don't want to become like China or Australia, where you can't play anything. The Hunter x Hunter game got freaking banned in Australia because of Hisoka. I'm like, bro. I know. I get it.
He is a little weird.
They like, because he like little boys. I was like, oh, fuck Hisoka. Like, why you do that? So again, when things like that happen, I'm like, oh my goodness, like, come on, man. But I don't want this to happen. But I just found it hilarious, though. I'm like, assassins, Among Us, the correlation there. We know you don't play video games, so I don't know where those two things came up. So
I'll just say this is why people think mainstream media is a joke, because let's do some critical thinking here. A CEO is assassinated from a healthcare company who has the highest denial rate of every health insurance company in the United States. Instead of sitting on television and saying, hey, we don't like this, but let's think about maybe why he did it. Instead, you go, he played Among Us.
He was an assassin assassinating his friends in Among Us. This is where it comes from.
I mean, to be fair, based off of that footage, that is pretty much how I end up getting killed in Among Us. So,
fucking Nintendo is in Japan wondering why Luigi hat sales are up at an all-time high. Wait, why is everybody buying our hat?
TikTok was going crazy when people found his name Luigi. People were literally Googling Mario lawyers and like mailing them and
you
saying,
have a chance to do something.
Dude, the most hilarious thing, bro. Save your brother, dog.
Yeah, no, them memes were crazy with Luigi. I was dying laughing. I'm like, man, we shouldn't be laughing at this stuff because it's a serious situation. But I'm like, bro, some of the things was way too funny.
Yeah, it's like I shouldn't be laughing at this, but why is it funny though? Like,
hey, it's like that's America, right? It's when you have a corporation or something who does not represent you taking advantage of your everyday people. Americans rising up and taking the power back.
Well, class consciousness.
Johnny Silverhand was right, and he be Trump. That's all I'm gonna say.
This man, he constantly be saying that. You're very consistent with Johnny Silverhand.
Every time I'm right. Every time I say it, what happens? His man's right.
For the 60% of people who don't play games, that was a reference to Cyberpunk 2077 because that's gonna fly over some of y'all heads.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
For the people who watch on YouTube, that was a gaming reference.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You guys don't play games. Just Google Johnny Silverhand speak Cyberpunk 2077 and just watch that video. You'll understand what I'm talking about.
And last but not least, what I got for you in the social justice warrior section, have you guys seen these accusations against NZXT, the PC company?
These videos have actually popped up in my recommended, and I wanted to watch. I was like, "What is this NZXT scam?" And I wish I'm actually going to watch it now.
It's a good video.
Really doing my research. Yeah, I was doing my research as we were, coming up on this topic, and yeah, NZXT they.
I'll summarize it for you. NZXT has a program called the Flex program, which allows people to rent gaming PCs.
Stop. I heard enough. You ain't even gotta say no more, bro.
Let me finish it. So these people are renting gaming PCs out, and in exchange on the website, it was promised they were getting high-end parts. So people are expecting to get like 32 gigs of RAM, a 4080 with the latest Ryzen CPU or Intel CPU. But it turns out these people NZXT was shipping out PC with old parts, so it wasn't even a high-end PC, mix and matching the most random shit. And then also they were the APR, the interest on it. It was so high on certain ones that they did the math in the video because it's like an hour-long investigation. You should watch it on YouTube. It's really good.
I'm gonna watch it.
And it turns out some people were paying $15,000 total for these old beat-up ass PCs.
Like bought a PC with it.
Yeah, when you could have just bought a PC.
You could bought a whole office of PCs. Jesus Christ.
So when the video came out, the CEO of NZXT released a video saying that it wasn't their intention to put these old parts in there. It's just sometimes that's all we had laying around. It wasn't a very good explanation.
What
so
about
they're
the
looking crazy.
$15,000 thing? That's just taking advantage of people who clearly don't have enough money to make a PC, hence why they are renting one.
That's crazy because I bought from them. I used their build program like long time, but when the market went to shit and it was like impossible to like pay for it was better to just buy a PC. I used them to build a PC that they built, and I think I recommended to you one year, TBH. I was like, it was pretty good. They built it all together. It came in.
I was shocked. I didn't even know this video. This was going on. Somebody in the chat put me on. He's like, "You heard the NZXT shit?" Then I looked up. It was an hour-long video. Watch that video. It was really good. I was like, "Oh no."
Let me guess. Is it by Gaming Nexus by any chance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love them dudes. Yeah.
Yeah. Very well produced video. You could tell they did their homework. I was like, and you could tell if you watch. It's in the article. If you watch them addressing the allegations, you could tell like he's like, "Oh, we're fucked." Like.
It's funny that Ethos knows. He see the video. He knew exactly who
did. They've been, I think, on like multiple times, like in the past 3 years. Like I think they exposed Newegg one time. And they got Newegg.
That's what somebody was telling me in the chat. They're known for exposing people. I said, let me go ahead and subscribe to them. It's like the tech version of CoffeeZilla.
Yeah, they're very good at when like certain companies, I think like GPU companies, there's like a GPU company that was giving people like faulty GPUs or something like that, and they were like marketing it incorrectly to act like it's faster and it overclocks and but it was actually like the worst board with like a downgraded and stuff like that. I've seen a couple of these. That's kind of how I knew. Yeah, but the moment you said it, I was like, this sounds like Gamers Nexus. I just couldn't figure.
Look up Gamer Nexus on YouTube and watch it if you have not seen the video.
Knock these motherfuckers outside, bro.
Yeah, they were outside.
They went up on him. Yeah,
They pulled up on him, bro, in front of the cash
serious?
checking.
Stay away from this NZXT Flex program. I said, say it ain't so 15.
if they exposed you that bad that the CEO had to respond and try to damage control, then you know you messed up.
Wait, is the ball due the CEO?
No, it's in the article, the response video.
Okay, I was wondering if they pulled, because I know with Newegg, I think they actually had a conversation with the CEO.
You've been warned.
Yeah, I don't know if they got that far, but yeah, the
First of all,
CEO had to make a statement. He put it on the actual channel.
This is like the Huck Tua meme. You're fucking stupid to rent a PC. If you can't afford it or even finance it, don't rent it. That's like renting furniture. It's stupid. Well, I guess renting furniture.
It's dumb too because by the time you pay it off, like in a few years, even if it was a reasonable price, the parts are old. So you might as well just save up and get something when you can. You're paying too
I was
much
like, yeah, are there people that seriously think that like in 2024, 2025, like layaways have come back, like Klarna is a thing.
Oh,
like
no,
there are multiple
Afterpay.
ways to do Afterpay. There are multiple ways to finance an actual decent bill that is, ready to go and is up to date, instead of you renting a PC, which again has outdated parts as far as they're explaining here and exposing and paying it. That's ridiculous. I had no clue about this program.
Tell me why I go to a random part of the video and I see Magic the Gathering cards. What is happening here? Why is he Magic the Gathering?
I just want to let people know what was going on. NZXT looking crazy out here, boy.
Well, I will not be buying any of their parts anymore.
If you got a Micro Center next to you, just go on their website. That's how I built my current PC.
No, you know what? Ooh, let me chill out.
You can build your PC with their it's on PC Part Picker as well with their compatibility.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Ethos had beef with them. Yeah, I forgot.
Oh, what they do to you?
Yeah.
Speak your truth.
Bro,
hey, they did me right. Hey, I built. Listen, bro. I ordered my PC at 9 a.m. That joint was ready at 3 p.m.
Bro, bro.
I went and picked it up. It was a good day for me.
Bro, when I came back, I was out of the country for reasons I can't speak why. But when I got back, my cooler died for the PC that me and JG got. So staring at it, I opened it up and I was like, oh, let's see if I can do this. And I stared at it for like a good 5 minutes and I said, fuck that. So I took it in the car. I went to Micro Center. So for y'all in Michigan, y'all know which Micro Center I'm talking about. There's only one. I went there and they fucked my PC up. So I told them I need a replacement. And, since I knew my shit, I was like, hey, I'm just keeping in mind, since this is a pre-built from another person, I know how complicated that'd be. I have the order list, so I have every single part, so you ain't got to guess. I can give it to you. Oh, no, we know what we're doing. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know you guys are doing, but I also know what I'm doing. Allow me to make your lives easier, how possible. Yep. So I was like, I know what, this is the motherboard. Can you tell me based on the motherboard what... Because it's been years since this PC was built in like 2021. So it's been like 4 years. So it's been some time. I was like, I don't know because I haven't touched PCs in a minute. I don't know what on the market, like what's the new aftercooler? What's the hot new aftercooler? I just know, based on my experience, I know my cooler's dead. I don't need y'all to diagnose this. I know it. So they're like, based off of this, you could use this heater. This aftermarket cooler is the best on the market. It's affordable. It's probably the best rated. We recommend it because most people at Micro Center have their own PCs. Recommend it. I'm like, all right, bet. How much? I pay for it. I give it to them. They're like, oh, pay for that. Pay for the labor. We'll install it. Tell me why. Day 2, I come back. They're like, oh yeah, come back day 2. I'm like, hey, do you have it? So we thought we'd have it done by the end of day. We fucked up. The cooler we recommended doesn't have a black backplate that's compatible with your motherboard. I say, I told you this. I said, you might want to check this. They're like, oh yeah, we'll fix it. So we have to pick a different one. We picked this one. I was like, is it the same price range? It's like, don't even worry. That was cool of them. I will give them credit. They didn't try to charge me. They're like, don't even worry about the difference, stuff like that. We'll take care of it. It's our bad. So I was like, oh, okay. So they replace it. I go in. So this is like 2 days. So 2 days past where I was supposed to get it. I walk back in. I'm expecting to get this thing by like noon. I got, multiple things to do. Y'all was talking about the podcast that same week. I'm like, all right, I got to get my PC. I walk up. They get the PC out of the back. I go, whoa. Something not right here. So I open it up. The cabling, JG, how the cable management was pristine when we got on. Yeah. cable management, not how it used to be. I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, that's something I can clear myself. But I noticed the back panel is barely fully pushed in. I'm sitting there like, oh boy. So I take out the panel. I'm like, something's not right here. Dog. All the hot swappable bays, they're all like, they're all connected right to your motherboard. So then you can swap the bays out and it'll auto connect to your motherboard. They took them out and they handed to me on the table. The wiring. I'm sitting here like, so this wiring was in the computer when I gave it to you. Why are you handing it to me? Well, when we had to install the cooler, we weren't sure if this was going to fit and da-da-da. I don't care. This was your job to make sure it would fit. You have to fit that back
part
in.
of picking the right.
Yes. So I'm sitting here like, I'm not trying to get heated. I'm just like, I'm trying to be I'm not trying to go Karen. I'm just like, y'all fucked my shit up. Y'all better fix. So obviously the person that did the work, he wasn't there. It was somebody other. But even the dude that was taking care of me, shout out to him. I think his name was Jared. I forgot his name. But dude took care of me. He was like, you know what? It's like, yeah. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, this is unacceptable. This is one of their employees telling me, yeah, this is unacceptable. You know what, dog? I got you. We putting you in front of the line. We go take care of all that shit. I will. This is the only reason why I'm not saying it could have just been an off day, or it could have just been some young dude that, bad day for him. I don't know. This is why I'm not gonna like fully sell him off, was because they did give me a keyboard as compensation for it. So like I was like, and it was a nice one too. It was a good chunk one. So that's the only reason I am frying for it, is that they did comp me back for it. But that was the worst experience I think I ever had. Not as bad as that NXT, but Micro Center, they be fucking your shit up too, bro. So I don't even know who to trust nowadays, bro. Find a local mom and pop shop, bro.
That's what I did. So when I added a new CPU to my computer, I had the issue that the i9-13900s did have. And like a week after we got it, it was dead. We took it to a local store. We were like, listen, we've tested everything, but we cannot test the CPU because we don't have like another CPU just lying around.
Yeah.
So they were like, okay, they ran the test on it. They found out that it was the CPU. They fitted it all in. It was great. It was super cheap too.
Take your mom pot spots, bro. I'm telling you.
They were super nice about it. They were like very just listening to what we'd already done, so they didn't go and test everything. And then they did want to test some things, but they're like, because you guys already told us this, we're just going to do it just to make sure. So we're not going to charge you for it because you told us that you already did this. Go to the mom and pop.
I would say.
Oh, you know what's crazy? I'm sorry, I forgot to just mention. Oh, I just totally forgot this. I think someone that works there at Micro Center is a fan of us. Because like when you could tell someone recognizes you.
Yeah, it's always that look. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that look. He had that look. He wouldn't say it, but I was like, I think I walked in there a couple times and bought stuff. And
sometimes they'd be too nervous to say anything.
Yeah, he's like one of those people. I think they're like commission based. So when I see him, I usually go out of my way to find him, and be like, hey, I need to buy like a $400 thing, so I'm gonna make sure I take care of you and stuff like that. So he usually hooks me up. It's not him. He knows he does his job good. But now that he's watching this video, he's probably like, yo, dog, they cooked your ass, dog. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So yeah. Sorry.
Sounds like Detroit customer service to me, because it was great.
They're not in Detroit. They
texted me every step of the way. It can be updated. It was a good experience.
They're not in Detroit. You can't use that.
Dearborn, wherever y'all at.
They're not in Dearborn.
Pontiac, I don't know.
They're not in Pontiac.
That's all I got on the show, though. Y'all got anything else before we wrap this one up?
That is it for me.
I think that's it for me.
All right. Well, ladies first, you got the show floor. Watch what's your closing statement for Game Illuminati episode 161. Go.
It's Monster Hunter Wild soon. It's almost Christmas, which means it's almost January, which means it's almost February. So Monster Hunter Wild soon. I'm very excited to play the game. It's great.
Okay. JG, closing statements for 161. Go.
I am a happy man. Thank you, Capcom. You did the right thing. You really did the right thing. Look, I'm telling you, you're still right here. It's still right here. Don't make me. Don't
on me.
Don't make me do it. I got this thing on me. Like I said, y'all better do right by everybody else, though. Give us Dino Crisis and give us Power Stone. Okay, a proper Power Stone. He did one stealth, but it wasn't the newest. So we need that. Okay, I'm about to advocate for my fellow brothers and sisters who want that. So if you gave us Onimusha, you gave us Okami, you can do it by the rest of the IP. So let's get that. But truce right now. We on the truce.
And Ethos, closing statements for episode 161. Go.
Shout outs to FromSoftware. Shout outs to my boys at CD Projekt Red. They cooking some gas. I'm excited for all the good games. Gaming's awesome. There's a lot of cool stuff to do. You guys just have shit taste.
Okay. And my closing statement for episode 161 is if you made it this far in the show, leave a comment on the YouTube version. Hashtag Detroit customer service.
It's not Detroit. Oh my God, it's in the suburbs. It has nothing to do with Detroit. Fucking hell.
Sure.
We'll never escape this.
My name's the Black Hill Guy. And this has been Game Illuminati episode 161. Let's go.
I got multiple fans sick of your shit talking about Detroit. You better be careful.
I go anywhere I want. We're out.
These niggas talk about they gonna come see you. They gonna come have a conversation with you.
Oh, man, so he gonna hit you with the trick.
I gotta check in. Oh, my Lord.
I'm just saying, I know niggas that I know that are fans of us that say, yo, you better tell that nigga to relax, bro. I'm like, hey.
I'm saying here looking, it take a simple.
I'm gonna be in Detroit. I'm here. Stop it. What y'all gonna do?